Totally ready for PAX. It's going to be awesome.
The Big Ten Invitational was really cool. We got the invitation, and I was like, let's go. We actually met OSU in the playoffs, and we lost to them. PAX gives us the chance for revenge.
Well, we 3-0'd them. First of all, our top laner is so much better. Our jungler is better. All our positions are better.
What should OSU expect from us? Oh, boy. For the crowd, it's definitely going to be exciting.
We're pretty excited. We're not really worried we're going to drop any games. We think we're just going to go in 3-0 them, have fun here.
There's not a doubt in my mind that we're going to win.
3-1 maybe if Michigan finds a good cheese.
We got some Gouda, we got some cheddar, Swiss. We're bringing all the cheeses for sure.
I don't even think we're going to drop a game on MSU.
So OSU is going to be an easy 3-0.
I'm so ready.
Go Bucks!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Big Ten Invitational coming to you from PAX East in Boston, Massachusetts. Now, the BTN Invitational is a collaboration between University League of Legends and the Big Ten Network, the official sports network of the Big Ten Athletic Conference. Today, we'll be bringing you a best-of-5 show match between the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Michigan State Spartans in a first-of-its-kind showdown. We just heard a little bit from the players, a lot of confidence coming out of all of them. Hello, everyone. I'm James Dash Patterson here with Liquid's Mark Zimmerman and William Scarlett. Gentlemen, how does it feel to be at PAX East?
It's pretty exciting. There's a big crowd.
There's a ton of people here.
Yeah.
As you can hear, there's a lot of energy. I mean, the entire venue is packed like sardines.
Yeah, I actually didn't expect us to. Usually when we're on the analyst desk, it's just us and some riders, next to us. But here we see everyone, the entire crowd. And based on the lines that we saw outside, we're actually just going to be packed the entire day.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
My crippling anxiety is acting up. I want to be in a small room.
Deep breaths, deep breaths.
I'll make it.
It's a good point. Back in LA, we're tucked into a small studio. Here's the shots now of the crowd. Everybody very excited for our games today. Well, let's get into it then. I want to introduce these teams starting through the rosters, starting with the Ohio State Buckeyes. Let's run through this one. In the top lane, we're going to have Arun. In the jungle, Nexavis. Mid laner will be Peridot. ADC is strategical, and support Bacon Seeker. So, looking at this roster here, running through its strengths, weaknesses, players that you guys are looking to watch throughout this series.
For me, the big one is Nexavis. He was a big carry. He's the highest rated player in their team. He's had a lot of good performances throughout the year, and he has a couple interesting picks as well, so he's definitely kind of the guy to keep your eye on throughout this series.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I think the jungle matchup is going to be the big decider for this series because the way I see it is this is probably the most jungle-dominant meta that we've seen in a long time. So typically the junglers will have the most impact. Usually jungle position is about like the second or like the third tied for most impactful role in the game. But I think this is the first year where I think that jungle is tied with first, if not clear favorite, to be just the most impactful role in the game all the time. And I think having the highest rated player in that role is really, really big for them.
Yeah, I mean, usually the jungler is able to impact all 3 lanes, so he has a big impact on the game, but this is the first time that they really scale up throughout the game, and they're going to be big damage threats in the late game with like the Kindreds and at least the Graves. So
we'll get some time to talk about meta and how the meta will play into this series in a little bit. We also can't ignore the fact that they've subbed in Peridot in the mid lane, so that's going to be very interesting to see how that develops for the team, seeing as how they haven't necessarily played too many games with him throughout the season. On the flip side, let's take a look at Michigan State University and the lineup that we've got over there. In the top lane, we've got Dynasties. In the jungle, Indian Mama. In the mid lane behind the door, running at ADC, Vanilla Salt, and supporting him, Raifu. So again here, I mean, I have to say that at a glance, I'd imagine you guys are looking at the jungle, as he is also the top-rated player on this team.
Yeah, we had the opportunity to speak to him about like his champs, what he thinks about the meta, and he had some interesting things to say, some things that me and Scara might not agree with him 100% on.
Yeah,
but,
he said one of the picks that we thought was the strongest wasn't that good. So I'm actually curious to see what he brings on this series. Talking a little bit with this team beforehand, they're just like, we're going to see a good series from us. We're going to see some really interesting picks, so I'm very excited.
Yeah, they had some tricks up their sleeve from what they're making it sound like. Another player to watch for is Dynasties, obviously as he's the sub for them in the top lane. And you heard in the intro video that OSU had that as like a big thing that they're interested in, so it's going to be not quite what they had prepped for.
Right, yeah, similar situation, both teams playing with one sub. Dynasties has not played a single game with the team all season, so bringing him in right here at the end, but he is a young player, someone who's going to be with the team for a few more years, so getting him that stage experience, that very necessary stage experience as soon as we possibly can. You know, when we run through these teams, we talk about meta, and the last time we saw these teams play was 6.5. I mean, the last time we saw competitive League of Legends was 6.6 with the LCS team, so we haven't even seen anyone play 6.7, which is what these teams will be playing today. And I'm going to be very curious to see how, for example, in that top lane, we watched that meta evolve. We saw a lot of things change going through the playoffs in the LCS, and then with the Poppy nerfs coming through, what's going to happen there?
I think the only thing big is the Poppy nerfs. So Poppy may have been even like a pseudo-viable support beforehand, and one of the two teams actually has a player who plays a lot of Poppy support. However, after the nerf, I feel like Poppy support especially only works if you're very aggressive and can hit the wall stun, but I don't think it's very good after the nerfs anymore. Whereas top lane didn't really matter too much, but I think better picks like Ryze and Maokai will show themselves in full force on this patch.
Yeah, I think what's interesting too is that a couple of college players have previously accused pro teams of stealing their strats, and so now that it's the newest patch and this is the first time it's being played on, maybe some pro teams will steal some
Right,
things
it's
here.
their turn as young players to show that they know the meta or can evolve the meta themselves. Well, that's enough out of us for a little bit as of now. Before we meet the teams, let's hear how they think this series is going to go.
I think it's really cool that the Big Ten network has invited, the Big Ten schools to come out and compete. It's really hype. We got the invitation, and I was like, let's go.
I've never been to a PAX before. Just looking around and seeing how real it is and how it's being pushed, it's just exciting.
It's going to be really exciting playing for the Big Ten Network on the TV. I think it's the first time that it's been televised, at least on BTN. And I think this is the right direction to go.
So for Big Ten, you really represent your team. I am using the college logo now, and you know it's more official since you're going to be on the Big Ten TV network.
We actually met OSU in the playoffs, and we lost to them. And this invitational gives us a chance for revenge on the big stage. I think they're going to underestimate us, actually, because I think they thought they had an easy time, but with our revamped roster and our new strats, I think it's going to be pretty easy to throw them off their game.
So apparently Michigan got like a new top laner, but I'm not really worried. We're still going to beat them 3-0 like we did in ULaw. I don't think the problem was with Michigan's top laner. I think the problem was with their entire team, and changing the one guy won't really fix anything that they have.
OSU, they just play like cheesy stuff. They play Gangplank top. Who does that anymore? It's all tanks now. Get with the meta.
We have more weight on our shoulders because we're carrying the OSU brand. The other team, they might get a couple kills, but they won't get wins. They'll get L's.
Yeah, we really want to prove that OSU is not as good as they think they are, and that they're really underestimating us. There's not a doubt in my mind that we're going to win.
They might have beat us last time, but we're prepared, and we're definitely going to bring something different to the table.
We're not really worried we're going to drop any games. We think we're just going to go in 3-0 them, have fun here.
Our top laner is so much better. Our jungler is better. Our mid laner is better. All our positions are better.
We work hard, we play hard.
Matchup's not going to be like last time.
Go Bucks! OH!
I know!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our BTN show match. I am Dom Romer, and I'm here to introduce the teams. Now, are you guys excited for this match? Yeah, alrighty, well, joining me first up on the blue side, it is the Ohio State University. And now joining me on stage is Nexavis. Dude, how are you feeling?
Pretty good.
You excited for the games?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun.
Okay, well, it's just going to be fun. We'll see if that actually holds true. Now, this is a rivalry that started in 1918 between the two teams. For the past 98 years, the two teams have played annually in football. How does it feel to be taking it to the next level?
I think it's fun. I think we have more of a friendly rivalry than football, but we're still gonna beat them.
All right, well, let's see if that happens. Nexavis, thank you so much, and best of luck in these matches.
Thanks. Thank you.
Excellent. And now joining us on the opposite side is their opponents. It's going to be Michigan State University. How are you, dude? Joining us to talk a little bit about this is Vanilla Salt. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling pretty good, man.
You excited about the games?
Yeah, I'm really vibing with the games, dude.
Very cool. Well, now, as we saw, they're feeling like they're going to win. Ohio State is feeling pretty good about this. Last time you guys played was about a month ago in the quarterfinals, and Ohio State 3-0'd you. It was a little bit tough. How you feeling this time around?
This time around, pretty confident. We're switching things up, so it'll be an exciting match. So,
Well, let's get that exciting match underway. Vanilla Salt, thank you so much.
thank you, man. Thank you.
Very cool. And now we're just about ready to get into game. Let's send it back over to the analyst desk to get us prepared.
Thank you very much, Dom. Getting a moment to hear from a couple of the players. Men of very few words, but perhaps nerves playing into that a little bit as they're stepping out onto a pretty big stage and fighting for school pride, a rivalry that's existed for a very long time between these two schools.
Yeah, this crowd is definitely bigger than the average even LCS crowd. So if you're not used to playing in an event, you're used to playing in your bedroom, relax, and you're like, you know,
Shoes off,
PJs,
pants
you're ready
off.
to go to bed in a minute.
Yeah.
And like you come into this setting, it's very different to play in an atmosphere like this. So
And both teams are really confident, like cockily so almost. They're just like, we're the 3-0 the other team. It's gonna be a joke. I really want to see if it plays out that way.
yeah, I would think a 3-0 would be a little less hype. I would like to see more than 3-0.
Yeah,
Have it
absolutely.
go back
I
and
love
forth.
close games. Like in a finals, I want to see that exactly.
All
That'd
right,
be pretty
well,
hype.
as we talk about the rivalry, you at home can also talk about the rivalry and let us know who you think is going to be winning this game by tweeting with the hashtag ULOL. Which team is going to win, OSU or MSU? Let's get in now to how we think this series is going to break down. We talked a little bit about the jungle being the jungle where a lot of the heat is going to be between these two teams, both of them being the highest rated players on their team. And I mean, it makes sense. I mean, that's the role that can affect the most or the majority of the map. So who do you think has the edge here between these two guys?
Just based off history, you have to give it to Nexavis. He carried a lot of those games when they beat them 3-0 when OSU won. And he was a huge factor in the early game, getting kills and having huge kill participation. So he's going to have a similar impact in this series, and that's why I think they have the slight advantage.
Yeah, it's even more interesting because he has like a pocket Eve pick.
Yeah.
So it's very different than other junglers. Like it's very hard to play against Eve in general, and especially the champion itself may not be so strong without kills, but being snowballed due to the fact that you can't even ward against her ganks, it's very difficult to see her, and she can go off really, really easily if she gets ahead.
Now, something we haven't talked too much about is the mid laners. Both of these players having interesting, maybe outside of the meta picks. I mean, Ari, a favorite for a lot of the college teams that we've seen, but not necessarily something that you would see any of the international regions play.
Yeah, the strength, like the importance of playing meta picks is a little undefined, I think, because you saw a team like Immortals get 3-0 when they're not playing meta picks, and they swap to the meta and instantly 3-0 Team Liquid. So you wonder if, you know, people not playing meta picks can be an issue, but at the same time, you can argue for comfort because you know exactly how that champion plays, you know its strengths and weaknesses, and you can kind of maximize it versus being on a less familiar but arguably stronger champion.
Yeah, definitely. But especially these two teams, like you have Peridot from who plays a lot of Echo mid, and it's really, really strange because outside of really Huhi, I don't really know many other people who play that mid. And there's even like a viable tank build mid as well. So I'm really interested to see if he plays champions that are really high in his match history, like Echo, like Cho'Gath, Vel'Koz, and Nivea. It's very, very strange picks for this meta right now.
All right, well, a couple things for us to keep our eyes on as we get into this match. It's about that time. We're going to toss it over to Freak and Zyrene to get us into the games.
Thank you very much, Dash. Hello, everyone. I am David Freak Turley. With me is Aiden, Zyrene, Moon, and we are getting ourselves into our first game in this best-of-5 show match, the BTN Invitational between the Ohio State University Buckeyes and the Michigan State University Spartans. Zyrene, what do you got to say about this one?
Oh, I'm really excited for this matchup because last time they met, it was the 3-0 in the Northern Conference in those semifinals.
Yeah,
they're the
conference
number
semis.
2 and number 3 seed. And they actually have a 4-1 record against each other because they split 1-1 in the regular season.
Yep.
And now that we're seeing a substitution in the mid for the Ohio State University and then a substitution top for Michigan State University, it is actually all up in the air right now because we don't know what those roles are going to be able to do, especially since we haven't seen a single game from them in this entire season. We did see Peridot back in the qualifiers, but that was a very long time ago and a lot of patches previously.
Yeah, exactly. So we are getting ourselves into Champion Select. For those unfamiliar with the game, they're about 40 minutes long. We're going to be playing 3 to 5 of them to determine who wins this one. A full best-of-5 all in one sitting. We'll see over the next few hours here. But Michigan State University is starting on the blue side, and you can see already a number of support bans coming out against Bacon Seeker, hoping to get him out of comfort. You're also noticing the Zillion ban is against Raipu specifically, actually. He's been playing quite a bit of that in their recent matches. So a nice target ban from the Buckeyes, and I really do like that. At this sort of level of play, at collegiate level, where they're not fully professional, it's much more about what the players are individually able to play comfortably themselves and less so about sort of following what the professional teams are doing.
Exactly, and we heard them talking about how Michigan State University may try a cheesy strategy. Well, the Zillion or Blitzcrank for Raipu is usually paired with a Mordekaiser from Vanilla Salt, which is something you do not normally see in the bottom lane unless it's set up with the proper support. So I think that ban is intelligent, but it does leave a lot open here.
Certainly does. We can see as the picks have come through now. The first pick, Kindred, no big surprise with Nidalee off the table. However, you can just trade a Graves into that one, and it doesn't make that big of a difference, honestly, as far as jungle power goes. However, lots of top lane is still available. This is 6.7, so it is the nerfed version of Poppy, but they still want that one alongside the fact that Echo's been grabbed for Ohio State. So unless we are seeing Poppy in the support role, we've got a nice Echo mid Poppy top for OSU.
It is actually Bacon Seeker's most played champion in solo queue is the Poppy support, so it could be thrown down there. Echo top is incredibly powerful, so I would not be surprised to see that go to Aaron 1 in the top lane. And then Peridot in the mid lane, though, he does love Echo mid with the AP, and you heard Scar talking about it on the desk about how not many people are playing that. I would be surprised if Ohio State do throw it there and they don't save that last pick for their mid laners to try and get the counter pick.
Sure, certainly worth watching for here. We can see, well, Ohio State definitely have some flex picks for themselves, and we'll wait to see what this competition actually turns into over time. Michigan State, though, 12 seconds left to make their choices here, and the question is what they consider really valuable, and also how aware are they of the Ohio State flex picks with the fact that they can't guarantee any of the top lane or mid lane matchup just yet, but it's Gangplank plus Caitlyn picked up here, so Dynasty, actually his second most played champion in solo queue is Gangplank behind Fiora, and he's going to get that champion for himself. Could go to mid lane, I suppose, as well, still a flex.
Yeah, it could be going there, but I'm glad that Michigan State University did set their jungler up, Indian Mama, who they quote as their best player, up against Nexavis, who is the best player on Ohio State University and possibly the best player in this entire matchup, with an aggressive jungler. I want to see what he's able to do on that, but the Gangplank top, this is a lot of damage threats. They don't have a tank line. You have your mid laner or top laner, possibly depending on the GP, and your support left. Raipu is probably going to have to bring some tankiness to the squad, or else they're all just a bunch of squishies. He could go Janna and be disengaged, but it is going to be very risky, especially against the tanks we're seeing from OSU already.
Totally agree right here. All the engage tools that the Buckeyes have picked up for themselves already. Nice support. Alistair in the bot lane alongside Sivir, I think is great. Love Sivir Alistair as a dual lane overall. Get the big cow into the front line, let him initiate on people. It's going to feel great. The downside, though, is that Caitlyn into Sivir is a great matchup for the Caitlyn. So Ohio State has somewhat counter-picked themselves matchup-wise. It's for the team composition. It's not like it's a wrong choice, but it will make the early laning phase a little bit harder for Strategical to get proper minion kills here.
Yeah, and that would be a good matchup for Vanilla Salt against Strategical, but that means it is going to be most likely Poppy top and Echo mid. So I was actually talking to them backstage, and they were like, well, if we get Echo, it's probably going top lane. It's not going mid, but we were lied to. It's going to be going mid here for Peridot. He's going to be able to pick up his most played champion in solo queue. And the answer here from Michigan State University, I mean, I would be down to see an Aurelion Sol.
I would be down to see it as well. I don't believe we got to see him played in the International Wildcard Invitational, and sadly, we're not going to get to see it here either, as Xerath is now being hovered. So, unfortunately, not going to come through on this one. But as Michigan State hopes to round out the composition, we get a Scion top lane
support.
Support, you're right. Raipu's getting Scion support here. Corki in the mid lane and the top gangplank after all for Dynasty. So Michigan State University, the Spartans have definitely pulled out something a little bit different. I have not seen Scion support in a very long time.
Yeah, I haven't either. I think back to pretty much Trance back in Challenger Series.
2015.
It hasn't been very popular at all, but I want to see what Raipu does on it. He loves tanky champions in that bot lane and the Zillion. So it's like the Zillion, the Scion, the Blitzcrank, things you typically don't see in the metagame, but he's going to play his style, and they love to play around that.
Right, and the thing is, I think that's generally powerful as long as you can make it work properly, because who plays against Scion support anymore? Who knows anything about that matchup overall? Pretty much no one does. And hold on, Anivia gets picked up here, so it's Echo or Poppy jungle, Anivia mid coming through for the Ohio State University Buckeyes here. So another flux over there. It's not the Echo mid after all. It was them getting a jungler, which is the Poppy here. And yeah, Peridot, even though his most played is Echo, Anivia is his fourth. So that's the champion sort of down the list that he's happy to play here. And honestly, it threw me for a loop right here, because I was really ready for the Echo to be mid.
Yeah, I definitely think it threw everybody for a loop here, because Poppy jungle is something we haven't seen in over a month. It's been actually kind of off the radar, and especially with the range nerfs to the heroic charge, it's much harder to get those ganks off and have them actually land.
Right.
100 range off of that is no joke.
So it just depends how well he's practiced on the champion and how much he's played since the nerfs came through in 6.7. It's been a couple of weeks, so if he's been getting enough games in, he'll be used to the range difference. But certainly a number of sort of awesome sort of flexes done in Champion Select. The Anivia coming through because we thought the Echo was going to be there, but it's Poppy jungle after all. The Science board coming through for the Spartans on the blue side there. Just, I'm definitely interested to see how well this plays out. I do think that in this case, there is an advantage to be had for being the team throwing a wrench into the works.
The question is the wrench all those flex picks, or is it the Scion support?
That's true.
We'll have to figure that out, because the Scion support, it actually probably does pretty well in these melee matchups up against another Alistar. So I'm surprised if he doesn't take Grasp of the Undying. I would expect him to take that and try to trade aggressively.
Right. Definitely going to be a concern, and also just depends on who's going to tank the Scion trend, because keep in mind you've got an Alistar and a Sivir there. Both are really great at shrugging off one crowd control ability, so if the Scion Pain Train comes barreling through and Sivir says back off and spell shields it, you're not too happy to be the Scion anymore. You don't really
throw
get
an
much
Anivia wall in front of it.
Right, and he runs into an ice wall. So actually, there are several counters available for the Ohio State University Buckeyes to stop the Scion charge, but we'll see how they can do it. We are getting ourselves into Game 1 of the Big Ten Network Invitational. Michigan State University versus Ohio State here at PAX East in Boston. Ohio had been 4-1 up
to Summoner's Rift
in the matchup.
And both these teams go very far back. We heard Dom talking about it on stage. 1918 is when that rivalry really started. And if you even look at the Big Ten championship game, these are the two most recent teams to win it, 2015 and 2014, with Michigan currently being, or Michigan State, the Spartans currently being the champions. And in most recent years, since like 1990 onward, they've been number 1 and 2 in their conference.
Yep, and these guys are definitely top of the charts in their conference here in League of Legends, and always fun to see esports grows over time. Michigan State looking to see if there was an invade down on that brush. Wasn't the case. You can hear if the Caitlyn Piltover Peacemaker hits a champion, even in Fog of War, by casting it. Knows no one was down there, and he's going to be just fine knowing that he was safe to walk into that area of fog. But it will be a Krug start in the bot side for MSU. We will have mirrored lanes, and in fact, both jungles will be starting top side with the top laners, both duo lanes starting with the jungle camp.
So we've been traveling around. We've been doing the finals for the NALCS. I've not gotten a chance to see that Scion skin in action.
Yeah.
I've not been able to see this in action in any of my games, and Scion is not currently meta in a support role. Some people are playing him top with Grasp of the Undying, but
a couple,
I've not seen it. So I'm excited to see tank on that tank engine.
Oh, Oh, it's going to be fun. Yep, the new legendary for Scion is out. For League of Legends, we get to see how well Raifu can play it. Unfortunately, Vanilla Assault misses the CS. He still gets XP. That's the big thing anyway, because both players missed gold regardless. However, Strategical got solo XP on the Gromp, so he's actually level 2. Alistar's going to be useless for much longer, which will actually hurt OSU's ability to go back in and deal some damage as far as 2-on-2s go. Bacon Secret will be behind for a while. Nice stun. Good combo.
Very nice combo there. Tracking these junglers, though, it looks like it's a full clear on the red side for Nexavis, whereas it's going to be buff to buff for Indian Mama for the typical level 3 start.
Right.
So he's going to be able to be in a good position to actually capitalize on the bot lane or the mid lane being pushed too far forward, whereas Nexavis, it's going to be a little bit of a slower clear, but Poppy does stay healthy during it.
The really big thing, though, is the fact that the first mark of the Kindred did spawn on that bottom side Scuttle Crab, so it's going to be a pretty quick pickup here for Indian Mama. His smite is down, but Poppy's not contesting, so first mark picked up. Very fortunate here for Indian Mama, but going to be off to a good situation to have. Peridot's going to walk over and not see that it happened, but we'll get a Trinket Ward down to the wings. Will spot exactly where Kindred is and knows that he got the bottom scuttle as well with that mark.
Yep, and that's going to signal to Nexavis that his gank, if he wants to execute on the bot lane, he's going to have to hug that right side wall. But it will give a little bit of false confidence to the Ohio State.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Right now, it's them getting pushed into the bot lane. No surprise here at all that Caitlyn is pushing into a Sivir early game. However, you're seeing Strategical will actually be up in CS at the end of these 3 waves here. So can't complain too much if you're the OSU bot lane here, since they've actually been doing pretty well for themselves farm-wise. 4 waves in, 18 CS to 16 isn't too bad to have. Top lane matchup very close as well. Dynasty shouldn't be sad being down. A little bit of CS early on. It's not the easiest on Gangplank. Super early in the laning phase. So we'll have to see if Arun can keep going on to this one. Actually, plenty of damage dealt there. The pass is taking through, and Dynasty very low on health. The shield's going to be up as round. But yes, Indian Mama coming from the counter gank. And this is nowhere for the Echo to go. He can try to fight, but he's got nowhere else to get it. And first blood comes through for Dynasty. Michigan State on the board.
The substitution in the top lane. Tasby subbed himself out. 2 weeks until graduation. He says Dynasty's the guy that they have to invest in, but here comes Nexavis to the bot lane.
An investment in the bot lane. Gangplank comes through, can't do anything about it. Raifu goes down, but here's the teleport in from Gangplank, cancels it. Doesn't have the damage to do. Oh, the trap! It hit up Nexavis, and now Vanilla Saw taking plenty of damage, flashing away the Q. Oh, he's still gonna take it. Not the best flash. Strategical with 2 kills on the board for the team in the bot lane.
In retrospect, Dynasty should have taken that TP to completion, and he would have been able to help them pick up a kill on Nexavis and possibly clean up afterwards. He did just get first blood, and he was able to pick up a Sheen. So that looks like a little bit of a mistake there. He should have been able to pull through and actually help his team out in that situation.
Yeah, just, oh no, and Doors are about past the barrier, the
but here comes Indian Mama.
But yes, Indian Mama in here as well. Peridot does have summoners available, flashes away, but has been slowed.
Kindred.
And yeah, Kindred gonna flash over the wall, put him into an egg, and this should be an easily picked up kill. Bacon's here coming across, but I don't think he has the damage to stop this. Thunderlord's triggers,
it may
goes
give
for the
time,
headbutt, Peridot going in for the Q. Oh, he doesn't get any of the damage through at all, and now Bacon Seeker's in a really bad spot. Science over the wall, another kill coming through, 3 on the board for Michigan State.
It's a little ironic that he's playing Alistar as the Bacon Seeker. He's finding it quite often right now.
Oh,
ends up going down, but he wanted to help. We'll take another look at this really quickly. Nexavis actually walks all the way around. They had seen him in the lane, and then he just walks around. I'm surprised he didn't go after Vanilla Assault there to try to knock him into the wall, but it goes after Raifu. TP comes through. Gangplank is already in base, has HP, and is ready to go. But look at this. We can't even finish that replay.
Back at the top already. Arun gets one for himself. The trade from the earlier first blood in the top lane. And also 37 to 24 in CS is big. Dynasty's teleport is down. They can shove the wave in and deny all that under the turret.
Yeah, and it looks like Arun actually used his TP to get back to lane.
He did.
And just try to shove it out now. And now Dynasty's going to miss a decent amount of CS. Isn't level 6 yet to try and pick it up with his cannon barrage. And now Nexavis is going to walk into the jungle, place down his Trinket Ward most likely, and try to track Indian Mama a little bit, because Nexavis is that player who has the biggest edge in this entire matchup. But honestly, against the Kindred, it's very hard to stay even as a Poppy. So he's going to try his darndest to do so, but Peridot
going into the play again. Of course, there is no flash on the Anivia, but ooh, a great wall slows down Door, can't get him in, but a few more attacks will do it, and the kill comes through. Anivia, Peridot did not need to fight for that ward, gave up a kill that was unnecessary.
And this is going to be really exciting, because both of the players on each team that they say is their best player is fed right now. 2-0-2 for Indian Mama and 1-0-2 for Nexavis. This is going to be an explosive matchup here, because the jungle, like Scar was saying on the desk, is incredibly important in the meta right now. You have such a large effect on the game. And when I got to talk to the Michigan State University team. They said their laning phase is their biggest weakness, and their biggest strength is when everybody's able to dip into these large champion pools, and they have this shot calling and objective control. But Michigan State right now, they're showing that Raipu, he's able to flex this Scion, and their laning phase right now, they are off the ground. They aren't doing poorly at all. They actually have a lead of 400 gold.
Yep.
And now they're over that hump. Michigan State University, we'll see what they're able to do against OSU, because to be honest, based on last matchup, OSU are favorites, and
yeah,
you definitely see why.
I mean, you got to say, like, history has taught me that Spartans can do a lot with only 300, but right now Michigan State up about 300 gold right now, so can't be too sad about how this game is going. Got the sweet references in, I know. We're not going anywhere with these. But Indian Mama heading back to the top lane, sweeps out the brush, sees a pink ward anyway, and that means Arun 1 will have to back out and give him the respect he deserves. You can see that Dynasty is falling behind in his individual laning phase, and it's not great for Vanilla Salt either. So the side lanes right now an advantage for the Buckeyes. Indian Mama and Dor will have to carry the weight for Michigan State.
Yeah, and you look at the item disadvantage here. Vanilla Salt, double dagger versus strategical BF sword, and it's taken. You hate to see it, but look at this.
And here we go, the fight coming across. Indian Mama so very low, is not yet going to pop the mark of the Kindred, doesn't need to. Nexus doesn't have the damage. Paradox gets popped yet again, 0 and 3 on the Anivia. A double kill in, and here comes the mark to keep him alive. A great Lampress fight. Now to trade back onto Arun 1, who wants to fight. Pops the ulti, but now the 3v1, and a triple kill for Indian Mama.
And Michigan State are going absolutely crazy here. Raipu, he got the slowdown, the exhaust.
He's gonna land the stun as well with the exhaust. The trap's gonna get him as well. Strategico's trying to run away. He's out of mana, and he will survive just barely, but what a great engage with Vacancy. You're out of the lane.
Vanilla Salt had his ultimate still. If he was able to land that 90 caliber net, would have been a headshot, would have been a follow-up with the ultimate. Didn't see the spell shield cooldown for Strategical, but still, it is a siege in the mid lane here. After those 3 kills on the top side of the map, Michigan State University have an enormous lead right now. It's only going to get bigger here. It's going to be about 2.5 thousand.
That's a really successful
Almost
situation.
now, too.
Yeah, a significant gold lead now for themselves, 3K. Vanilla Salt puts the traps up, looks at the bot lane. You see this fight in the jungle again, the river, I should say.
And Peridot right now is already off to an 0-3 start, and the communication and the fact that he hasn't played too much with his team is showing a little bit here. Everybody's kind of trickling in one by one, and Indian Mama plays this perfectly. Kindred is a champion that has so much control over the game, and if Kindred gets off the ground, gets those early stacks like we saw on the Lucky Scuttle Crab on the right side early, and is able to get that Devour Rush. 5-0 and 2 for Indian Mama. This is a Kindred dream right now. Indian Mama has the tools to take over the game. And speaking of tools, we see Dor with the package. Dragon is up, but he doesn't have much health. Is he going to risk this?
Well, a bit of damage on an Nexus, though. This Poppy is running low on HP, and the question is, yeah, how risky does Dor feel like being? And looks like, well, just him being around is scaring Oregon State a little bit. Or, not Oregon, Ohio State. Sorry, I've actually watched a lot of Beavers vs. Ducks games. I know. My apologies. My dad went to Oregon State, so that's why.
And now he's
I just keep saying OSU on the wrong. I apologize. But yes, Ohio, though, getting the first Dragon, definitely really good for them here. So pulling that back a little bit. It doesn't quite equate to 3,000 gold, but does at least give them some objective to play for. They've still got a lot of wounds to lick, though. Waiting for Essence Reaver on that Sivir is a really big deal for them. And just also if Arun 1 can actually get ahead of Dynasty in this top lane, they can finally start prying open that side of the map.
Yeah, there was a lot of attention here early on, but Indian Mama is pretty much just going to any lane, sees the champion, kills the champion. And it hasn't been that top lane for a bit. He did end up getting a kill on Arun when he roamed and tried to help Peridot, but it looks like they're just trying to punish Peridot. They're trying to play through Dor. They're trying to get that newbie, the substitution on OSU. Little off kilter here.
Yeah.
Try to tilt Peridot.
I mean, and it was some mistakes from Peridot, to be fair. This guy's actually pretty good at League of Legends. He's Diamond 1 in solo queue last I saw him. And just made some wrong choices. He challenged a pink ward in a 1v2. He roamed in without any summoner spells up and has just been getting a little bit caught out. And you know, it's a player who has played very few games with the team, and sometimes just it doesn't always translate over that well.
Yep, and you always have to factor in the venue.
Yeah,
right?
oh sure. I mean, the nerves on the big stage is certainly a big thing. This is pretty much the first of this kind for any of these players here.
Oh yeah, there's a big difference between playing in your room and playing here in Raipu. Ooh, just like that.
The trap's gonna hit him. Pops the ulti, though, gets away, and no stun comes out from the Scion Q. Can't charge it long enough thanks to the Unbreakable Will. A lot of ultis burned on that one.
We've seen a lot of double taps here today. Peridot, he actually double tapped his Q when he came back up from Egg too quickly instead of getting the stun on door. And right there, Raipu double tapped his ultimate and stood in place and hit the ground.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
That's actually huge.
Could have run straight over those traps, would have been fine. But here comes a TP.
Running straight over Michigan State. Here comes the double teleport right in, and here comes the attempt in the engage. An oldie ult pop by the Kindred. Raipu stays alive for now, but running dangerously low. Flashes away, stays alive. No kills just yet, but it's a full retreat for Michigan State. And they will be running away. Ohio now with control of the lane, and they got to leave Poppy in the top lane, so Nexus is pushing that turret down.
Exactly, it was a 5-on-4, and that mid lane turret's down, so Peridot wants to find other things to do on the map, and so does Door. So they're roaming around, they're answering, and right here with double TP from Ohio State is just going to be Nexus in the top lane because he was on that side. It didn't seem like a completely 100% dedicated play, but they are going to get a bit of turret damage here. We'll see if he's able to take this out. I think he might be able to. I think he's got enough damage.
Yeah, it is Cinderhold Poppy, so the damage up was actually quite low right now until he finishes something like Yashin. So it is slow going, but yeah, no one's even close to this side of the map. Dynasty's ult is down, so was his teleport. He has to wait for a new wave. This will actually clear the wave here. There will be no casters left, so Nexus will have to back up, and it'll be a tight timing. Indy Mama heading up as well. Yeah, Poppy stays without the Echo supporting him. We could see Kindred flank, but it looks like it's not happening in time.
Could have been an overcommitment here as well. So he got punished by it. Gonna thin out the wave. Deal some damage here, but yep.
Yeah, no attempt at the gank. The turret does go down. Good pushing by Nexus to stay in that lane, knock all the minions down. Now Rune 1 getting spicy. You're looking for Indian Mama, but this is still a threat though. It's a known 2-on-2 on this side of the map. The flash! Wall slam comes in! No Lambs despite available, so flash used by Indy Mama to get away from this one.
It was a good flash too, because the steadfast presence from Poppy was on, so he couldn't use his Q. It would have been interrupted, so the flash was the only option. And he didn't even risk it. Some people will actually try to do it, but it actually does extra damage to you and stuns you for half second.
It's just purely a misplay to press Q in that situation. So the correct choice being made there. Look back to the bottom lane, and it's gone much closer to equal. I really like this Vanilla Assault's build right here, though. BF Sword into Hurricane. I really, really like that as the early Caitlyn build. It'll give her a whole lot of lane control and a whole lot of damage up in team fights. Also worth pointing out, this Caitlyn is actually maxing traps first. Only 2 points in the queue. Already 4 in the Yordle Snap Traps. So really a very mid-game spike-focused build about sieging very early on. And that honestly could be a great thing to keep leveraging this gold lead that Michigan State have right now.
Yeah, the trade-off that you get is your wave clear goes down a tiny bit during that laning phase, but you make it so that they can't really push in on you 100%. Yeah. And against Sivir, Caitlyn kind of helps with the traps. You walk over it with a spell shield, and you're able to get some mana back, but when there's so many of them, you actually just stop the plays from being
Walking up to a trap gets you auto-attack twice. Like,
yes.
There's a popular sort of theory that, oh, Sivir's so good into Caitlyn because you can eat traps, but that's not the most important thing of the matchup. It's 150 range difference, which you just get punished for very, very frequently. Peridot now to get a blue buff for himself, going for the more greedy Anivia build. It's both Tier and Rod of Ages, so Ohio State University Buckeyes definitely going to be hoping to scale up for a while, especially with how rough the early laning phase was for their mid laner and with how much they are behind in gold right now. But looks like Michigan are giving them the ability to wait for that.
And Michigan State University, checking out that top lane. Doesn't look like a freeze. It's going to be broken here by Dynasty. He did have a wave on his side, but decides to push it. So Arun actually has the option to freeze that wave. We'll see what he does with it. Dynasty, though, does have the cannon barrage.
Look at the damage output. Several crits, but here comes the engage from the Pain Train of Scion. Looks for strategical. Spell shields the knockup, and a great double pulverize from Bacon to go to save his teammates. And now a top lane fight as well. Everyone's doing plenty of damage, and yeah, it's a long lane. Zyrene nowhere for Dynasties to go. What a great ulti back by Arun 1. The solo kill picked up by the Ohio top laner.
And this is why they throw that Echo into the top lane. They think that the champion pool of Arun and tanks that he plays against Dynasty, Dynasty kind of plays Maokai and Gangplank. Well, those are both bad matchups into Echo. Echo is able to punish them rather early on, especially in that mid game for Gangplank. Chase him down lanes, he can't really do anything about it.
Well, let's take stock of this bottom lane again, because the gold is getting closer and closer to equal, only 600 apart, and that's going to be now a lead for the Buckeyes. Thanks to this turret going down, their bot lane doing a lot of heavy lifting. You can see aggregate KDA of the bot lane is 4 right now, and that's definitely a good thing to have. Amazing lead for Strategical. First turret going down as well, but now has to respect Indian Mama with the red buff there. Nice spell shit on the slow, but it's not going to be nearly enough. Red Smite is on. The reveal and the pressure, the big deal. The kill comes through, gets a mark, but here comes Rune 1 teleporting in. Dynasty could join if he wanted to, but is staying in the top lane. The team is still winning anyway. Vegas Seeker, despite the unbreakable will, is still going to get sniped down, and goodbye. Vanilla Salt takes him out. The re-engage for Rune 1 knocked into the air. Here comes the Nivy to support. Door's going to take plenty of punishment. This one pops the barrier, gets away. Didn't need to burn the summoner, but lives regardless.
And once again, Nexavis, he's on turret duty right now. Every time his team fights, despite being the highest elo player in this entire game, he's just going after turrets. He's not getting involved in these fights. He's going to get involved right now, though. They do have an Anivia, and they have a Poppy. It's great zone control.
This is a huge risk, though. Poppy only sends back the court, but now he's right in the front line looking for Raipu, and they can't quite kill out the gangplank just yet. No further damage going to come through. Rune 1 can't get anything happening either. A nice barrel chain, though, by Dynasty slows down the Anivia, piloted by Peridot. And that means now one dragon apiece. Michigan State picking up one for themselves, and now sitting back in a comfortable gold lead.
That's going to have to be Door and Dynasty clearing out this mid wave, making sure it doesn't get counter siege here, because Sivir and 4 members of the Ohio State University are all showing up here. The Buckeyes, they have that mid turret in their eyes right now.
Well, they're going to try. Certainly they've got the wave clear for days with Sivir and Nivea. It's one of the more difficult things to deal with, but looks like just simple wave clear and leaving, as OSU will head back to their various lanes. Buckeyes will just hide for now. Michigan State will have some time to buy their new items. Hurricane and BF Sword now completely done for Vanilla Salt, and he's going to keep feeling honestly pretty good. He should be able to scale up quite nicely in team fights now.
Yeah, the Hurricane build, rather recent in terms of everybody just picking that up very early on
People
Caitlyn.
realized it after a while.
Yeah, the headshot potential. Rapid fire cannon is what we also see with it as well as your second Zeal item. Incredibly powerful on Caitlyn. It also increases the range with the Runeance Hurricanes actually acquire targets before the bolts.
You kind of guarantee that 3 target selection, which is kind of the reason you buy the item in the first place.
Especially with the red buff too. You slow many people down in a fight.
Applying the on-hits to everybody, critting them 80% of the time to get the damage back to a decent level. It's all scary.
Yeah, and actually looking at the build from Indian Mama, already Sated Devourer, 18.5 minutes in. Looking at his stacks too.
And an early Phantom Dancer. A really attack speed focused build.
Yeah,
and it's thankful he got so many stacks early on.
Yeah, this is the solo queue build where you get fed early on. You want to just increase the damage you're going to be able to do while also having some tankiness. So it's that it rides that Maw line, but the attack speed, and if you have 5 stacks on Mark of Kindred like he does right now, that's definitely where you want more attack speed for the multiplicative properties of it. More attacks, more marks off, as opposed to going for a Hexdrinker / Maw build.
Yeah, he is going to go Sterix next. We will see some tank stats out of Indian Mama, but yeah, right now really trying to capitalize on his early gold lead by just going for the damage build, and shouldn't be too big of a risk for him. He's looking totally fine. Mid lane sieged in, though. Ohio State coming in there for doing plenty of damage. The cannon wave, they're thankful to have that minion right there because it takes the turret long enough that they will knock this turret down. A great rotation, a great move. It will be a trade of turrets. Bottom outer goes down for mid outer, but OSU aren't leaving.
Still sieging now, and I'm actually surprised Strategical has that wave clear as well as Peridot, so they're able to siege pretty much all day. And there we go, there we go. Vanilla Salt is continuing to push the bottom lane. I was surprised he started to back, but this is the right move. Put pressure on them, trust in your team to wave clear, and if you're able to see all 5 members, then you keep pushing. There you go.
We're seeing them move right in for this one, but the Caitlyn being left to split push on the side. Wave clear for Michigan State isn't terrible, but they've called out, hey, the rotation is coming, get away, Bacon Seeker is seeking you. And Vanilla Salt will save his Bacon by recalling in the brush, and not recalling in the brush.
No.
He is walking and now gets revealed once again. Wanting to help his team collapse. Bacon Seeker spotted out, he'll have to run away. Raipu roaming around the jungle, in fact, shooting any wards he sees. This turret's gonna take even more damage.
Exactly, and now Vanilla Salt gets to set up all of his traps, set up that trap line. He's ranked it up already at level 11 to max rank, and that's gonna be everybody rotating here.
Nice.
So very, very nice rotation there, and kind of map play from Michigan State as they're able to actually pick up that tier 2 turret, the first tier 2 of the game.
Really beautiful stuff. So that means the turret score itself is 3-3 as the top lane hasn't been answered yet by Michigan State. But as Spartans are feeling good about this one, this was a team that honestly came into the series as the underdogs. They were down 1-4 in ULAL games this year, and well, they're looking to maybe make this a second win for them all year long here. Looking pretty good so far, pressing into the mid game as their builds continue to push forward. They have 4 large carries, triple marksman plus a gangplank. Raipu, I think, is thankful to have all these turret kills and the 2 assists because he is the sole tank, and any gold goes a long way on him.
Oh yeah, and he's not actually going for that Eye of the Equinox either, so he's going for the less cost-efficient build and getting Phase to try and keep one of his
tank stats. Really.
Exactly, try to keep one of his squishies alive with that active. So it's going to take him a while before he gets his next item here. We'll see what it is, because he has a cloth armor right now, so it doesn't look like
it might be a Frozen Heart.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's going to go straight for Locket.
No, I think it's Ninja Tab here, Frozen Heart here. He's going to rely on the extra health scaling he has as a champion to just stack resistances. Raifu, they're taking a lot of damage, has a flash away, but still getting plenty punished. But MSU comes up, trying to turn him back around. Peridot with a nice wall, separates him a little bit. Headbutt doesn't hit anything. Door goes over the wall. The re-engage Raifu goes down, turned into an undead zombie version of Sion, going for plenty onto Strategical, who does not quite take lethal damage. Running away, Indie Mama can't find anyone to hit either. Now trying to get chased away by Rune 1. Tackled back in the back lines. The Iceborne Gauntlet is on. A nice steadfast presence stops the dance away as well. And here comes the Mark of the Kindred, looking to get one back around. Kites away, ulti pop, and the massive triple stun coming out from Peridot. MSU running for their lives, will barely survive this one. Huge heal coming out.
Man.
Just a 1 for 0.
Just a gigantic stun there in the middle. That looked like it was going to be Michigan State University getting completely cleaned up. But both teams walk away with only Raifu dying. That's it. One person, despite everybody pretty much in that less than 500 HP zone.
I mean, it's a good thing we're on the network. That was a big 10-man team fight here on BTN.
That was had to get one in.
That one I had prepared beforehand, by the
okay.
way. That was not a spur-of-the-moment one. I was waiting for that one.
Everybody asks if you prepare them.
Mostly not.
And
that one was.
Yeah.
That one was
mostly
shameless.
not. But we'll see right here. This looks like a prepared Baron. And MSU.
It's spotted.
Ohio's going to have to actually TP into this. There you go. You see a rune.
But Baron's dangerously low. It's going to be going down. Don't miss a spike. They're going to get it. Blue team, Michigan State have Baron. Now can they win the resulting team fight? Rune 1 has to get over the wall. He will survive. But here's Nexus in the back line looking for Vanilla Salt. Plenty damage put out with this one. Ryu will be going down. They still have not yet killed the Poppy. Finally, Kindred gets a trade kill. Now on Strategical. Yeah, a double kill now for Indian Mama. He'd already secured the Baron, but it will be a shutdown once again. A Rune 1 getting back into the fight, and now Door out of mana, but will kill off the egg. Peridot will drop. It's a 3 for 3 so far, and the 2-man fight remaining. Dynasty will not find any more blood, but it's still an advantage Michigan State thanks to getting the Baron.
Exactly. 2 Baron buffs up now. Dynasty and Door able to survive. They don't decide to chase. Dynasty's ultimate is now just back up, but still, Arun had his ultimate. You don't want to risk it, and it's a tanky echo. This starts off, and the kill actually goes over to Vanilla Salt. It gets smited at about 800, 900, and goes down to 100, so then it gets picked up there. So it was actually pretty good dive there because it ended up putting pressure onto MSU. Bacon Seeker doesn't get the pulverize on the back end of his headbutt, and look at that. Raifu able to buy enough time on Strategical and Peridot with the point blank ultimate, and then the knock up from his Q right afterwards. So buying time, Raifu doing his job on that Scion, and then Indian Mama in the back line, because of that stall, was able to actually pick up some kills and get that Kindred damage out. You can see 8-1 and 3. He has as many kills as Ohio State University on one champion.
And keep in mind, Ohio State is like 50,000 people, so that's impressive here for Indian Mama. Obviously only 5 in the game, but you know, we're gonna pretend that one made sense. But seriously though, some good stuff here coming out of this one with the Baron buff on 2 members, the Gangplank and the Corky, 2 of the more mobile members on the team. Michigan State can definitely make a lot of work here. You're seeing the Corky's holding the mid lane, the other 4 is near the top. Ohio State looking for the counterattack there to stun the Dynasty. Here comes the Pulverize on Indian Mama, who's trying to cut away from the Echo. Will kite pretty well so far. Sterix Pop doing plenty of damage and will not get chipped down by the Echo just yet. But he's right on top of the Echo clone. He's got to be careful. The damage coming through, he's got to be really afraid of this one. Slam's just spike coming through, keep him alive, the kill back in, and yes, Arun 1 picks him up, but it's still 2 for 1 so far. An extra kill had come through, thanks to the Corky played by Dora. Another trade kill coming back, a 2 for 2 so far, but now Nexus oversend, it goes down. 3 kills picked up now for Michigan State. A double kill for Dora in the mid lane, looking for one more. Vegas Eagle headshot's gonna come through, 351 for that one. 4 kills.
Raifu taking the turret a little bit, and this is going to be Vanilla Salt just throwing down the traps, setting up this turret. Might be their second tier 2 of the game here for Michigan State University, the underdogs in this matchup, considering they got 3-0'd previously, and their regular season was actually
1-1.
A little bit worse as well if you look at overall record, 16 points out of 21 for the Ohio State University, and Michigan State University only got 10. So that's why they ended up seeds number 2 and 3, but there was still a large gap between them. But in this match right here, you can see Michigan State University came to play. Indian Mama, definitely fed on that Kindred, but able to do enough damage. Door able to snipe off Strategical on the right side of that fight, and then Paradox pretty much already out of it. Vanilla Assault with damage in the follow-up. Raipu not able to save Dynasty, but it was still more than enough here, as Vanilla Assault then nets backwards to get close enough to Vacant Seeker.
Yep.
And then they net themselves another turret there. So that other tier 2 went down. And that's 5 turrets to 3 here, favor of Michigan State University, and the Spartans, they're knocking on that front door.
They are knocking on the front door, and honestly, with a Caitlyn who's moving towards that rapid-fire cannon, there's honestly a lot of turret-taking potential available here. However, they're facing Sivir and Anivia, two of the very best defensive wave-clear champions in the game. But it's not going to be enough to keep the turret alive. Another one goes down to the mid lane, 6-3 now the turret score. 6,000 gold lead for Michigan State.
And cracking that base is always the hardest part. To get to those inhibitor turrets and knock one down, a lot of teams, they kind of sit on their hands. They worry about, okay, we'll get picked off, the wave clears too much. How do we play this out? A lot of the time it has to be that rotation game, but is it going to be dragons? Are they going to sit on and try to get 5 dragons? Are they going to go for another Baron before they go up for that? I want to see how Michigan State close this game out, because they have prided themselves on being able to actually control objectives and actually play the map well, but is it going to be that type of map play in this venue? Because we've seen the nerves a little bit here. We've seen people, hit their ultimate twice. We'll see. If somebody gets caught out, it could swing it all the way back in favor of Ohio State University.
Yeah. Always a chance. The game is never over until it's truly over here.
That's how it works.
That's how it works. Michigan State in the driver's seat, but
oh, there goes Tom's to take it.
Speaking of being in the driver's seat, right? We're getting into this one. Paradox getting shut down. Nowhere to go. Pop goes the Anivia into the egg form, and that'll be an easy kill picked up. Mama getting his 9th and another mark the Kindred for that kill. He'd already called it, went out like it was Babe Ruth and knocked it out of the park. Now going for the trade into Vegas. Seeker double kill now. 10 kills for the jungler of MSU. What a great game so far by him.
Oh yeah, Indian Mama has been carrying. They've given him the gold, the right person to have it on. But that play, Raipu from downtown, and Peridot 1 and 5 now on the Anivia. He has been punished all game long, and you can see the nerves with him. The double tap of the Q and a very late W there. He could have stopped Raipu from getting in, and that is a long-range ability. He had the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, definitely a couple of misplays coming out of Peridot here in the mid lane. Unfortunate here that he's not had a great performance so far, but there's still more games to be played as Michigan State looks to knock down another side door. Mid inhibitor already gone, a big knockback, and Raipu's now left alone. Quick kill picked up. This one's Strategical getting the credit for this one. There was a whole team effort right there, and the Scion Pass doing a lot of damage. Vegas here will get traded back, and an 11th kill now for Indian Mama. Makes it a 1-for-1.
Here comes
Both
Arun.
supports have died. Arun on the one side will not be getting in though. Could not get through all the damage out, but a stun into Indian Mama, plenty of damage here. Now that goes Strategical. Spell Shield blocks out the final auto attack though from the Wolf Spirit. And now it's Nexavis into the front line looking for that extra kill and will be knocking down the Kindred. Yes, a shutdown gold, 300 extra gold for the team. Peridot though gets shot down the backside, plus 520 for that one. Now the trade back towards Door, flashing away, a double kill though coming through. And a Ricochet helping as long as that one. So what a beautiful shutdown. A full ace coming out from Ohio State.
Ohio State striking back, only losing 2 members there, keeping 3 alive, and clean acing all 5 of Michigan State University. But Michigan State University, they did get that inhibitor and the inhibitor turret. So the mid-inhib down, a lot of pressure coming into that lane. We're going to see here Raipu, he ends up getting knocked against the wall. The slow is going to give him a little bit of an advantage here over Vacant Seeker as he runs up. Gets a couple shots on that turret, and now it's between the turret and between the members of the Ohio State University that are sieging on the side. And right now you can see Strategical almost gets chucked out. Ends up tapping in Nexavis, who stuns Indian Mama against the dead turret, and is then able to pick him up and keep him close. And the Ohio State University, they want their Baron because they were able to clean ace Michigan State University, only losing 2 members.
Yeah, they're stuck in the base. The teleport coming out from Gangplank from the mid lane to try to stop this in time. 4,000 health left on Baron. The ulti knocks back 1, but here comes the re-engage. 2,000 left on Baron. 800 is going to be going down in favor of Ohio. They're going to get that one picked up, but now for the ensuing team fight. Anivia outside the pit. The package comes in, looking for Strategical, and they're going to pick up the AD carry. Nexavis is next at 2 for 0 despite the Baron pickup. That's maybe the opening that the Spartans need.
Exactly, and the Spartans, they've already pinged onto the Nexus turrets. They think that they have an inside track here. They have the super minions coming down this mid lane. They are so hard to kill, and now with the extra slow, they're going to be much harder to clear out now because Peridot's not there yet.
Yeah, and even the Gangplank ulti being popped just to slow down the rotation from the Ohio State University Buckeyes here. But wave clear from Anivia. Peridot trying to save the game by killing off
Indian
the
Mama
minions.
has aggro.
Here's a lot of damage on Arun 1. He has to ulti back and stay alive. Indian Mama forced to pop. Lamb's respite to stay alive. He's going to survive this one for now. The damage coming out from Anivia. Vacancy here will be picked off, though. That's their third kill in a row. Peridot's going to make it the fourth. Only one alive is Arun 1 with only one turret remaining in front of the Nexus. But Raifu pulls aggro. He's got to run away. A new weapon minions coming in.
Here comes Strategical.
Double respawns coming in. Yes, Sivir is alive, and Poppy is as well. Dynasty gets popped down. This will be a base-saving defense, maybe, as another kill comes through for Dor. Arun 1's still alive. The double kill had come through as well for Strategical. A big knock-in coming from Poppy, and yes, the kills are coming through. Kills, everyone is now down to just a Vanilla Salt, and he has to kite away next to us. He will not get this base by himself. He will maybe get taken down by the Poppy. The minions coming to help, but the tackle going to be enough, and yes, the shutdown. The base is defended. And the Buckeyes will survive another day.
They have no Nexus turrets right now. They have an exposed inhibitor in mid and bot with that inhibitor still down in the mid lane. Soon to respawn, but oh man, the Ohio State University, that was almost the end of the game there. Vanilla Salt, I mean, hitting the Nexus, and also Indian Mama, he ended up not focusing. They went after those kills. Michigan State University, instead of trying to close the game out, they were looking for blood there. Indian Mama tanks this entire turret down to that. He blows Hysterics, and you can see, even though he has his Maw on, it's still not going to be enough. Vacant Seeker gets taken out here, and then Peridot knocked up again, and now Indian Mama walks forward, and it's like, okay, well, let's go after Arun after this. Raifu changes targets, Dor changes targets, Vanilla Salt changes targets. They're hitting a tank Echo that is soaking bullets for that turret. If they had killed that turret sooner, Strategical would have been able to be focused down much easier, much sooner, and then they would have been able to get on this Nexus. And it would probably be maybe even half HP by this point, possibly even dead.
So they can't get the damage across, and he's the league equivalent of a 70-yard touchdown pass to keep the game alive. That was nearly game-ending, and now they bring it into another couple attempts. Michigan State have to win a team fight to break in here. The bottom inhibitor was never killed during that one, and mid will respawn soon. Oh, the stun, it's Vanilla Salt. That's not good for the Caitlyn trying to run away, but Arun 1's still so tanky, and he has the damage. The Poppy over the wall. Nexus gets the kill. Not a good sign for the Spartans. They're trying to run away from this one. The stun's going to come out from Echo before too long. That's going to catch Dor. That's going to be getting another kill for themselves. Now Dynasty stuck in a 1v2. And Michigan State are just losing people. The flash coming in, still can't find any purchase, and 3 picked up for this one. Make that 4. Raifu, the last one alive, will be dropping as well. An ace as a trade for 1 kill. Beautiful defense by the Ohio State University Buckeyes.
And they're only 3,000 gold down now. It looked like it was basically the nail in the coffin in that last fight, but Michigan State University losing focus, not focusing turrets, trying to kill the members of OSU, and then right there, completely split off. Vanilla Salt focused out, and his flash wasn't up. It was coming up, but oh man, not able to get away, and this is going to be OSU striking back.
And let's see how much they can get. Their Buckeyes are on the prize right here, looking to get how much they can. Next up is definitely tanky. The minion wave is here. This should be at least an inhibitor turret. Caitlyn is alive. 10 to 15 seconds on the rest of the team here from the Spartans. That will be the turret going down. Caitlyn, though, still alone. 5 seconds now on the respawn. That's going to give enough time for Ohio to sit back, relax, recall, buy off the 5,000 gold they just earned, and then go back to the map.
Yeah, look at the goal. It's only a 1,000 gold difference now. It absolutely just rubber banded back to Ohio State University being almost even here. Michigan State University, they're struggling from closing this game out. They're trying to find unique ways to do it, but it was just ended up being them split up. It ended up being trying to get revenge on Ohio State and then overextending.
Well, let's see what the play ends up being. Both these teams will have had time to purchase. Death Cap now has come through for Peridot. So despite a really inauspicious start, 0-3 and 0, now has a 1.5 million ability power. It will be incredibly difficult to deal with in these team fights. He got a comfort pick.
Oh, Arun looking for the flank here.
And here comes the attempted play. A nice move in by the Poppy as well. Multiple knock into a multiple man stun. And this could be a game-winning team fight right now for Ohio. They picked up Dynasty already. Raifu's going to be next to the front lines. Running away, going through the Kiddardolty. Lamb's just buying some time, but Vanilla Salt still goes down. That's 2 so far. Make that 3 picked up. Make that 4. There's everybody dropping down. Doors alone. He gets slammed shut. And now for the game-winning push for Ohio.
And Ohio's State University strike back. They're going to be taking this game over Michigan State, who had control the entire time.
As long as they close it out right, but they've got 40 seconds to get across the map and push this base down. The inhibitor is dying. The minions are right behind them, I believe.
It doesn't matter, they're going to tank
mid lane. Yeah, they're just going to tank this in the face of Rune 1 up with that one. They split off aggro just to the one turret, and as long as they keep juggling aggro, the damage stacking will reset. So mechanically, they're jumping in and out to make sure they're doing this one correctly. The first turret is going down. The tank's running out of health, though, but they've still got more room to go. Nexus will die to the turret. Yes, he will, but they're still knocking this down as it's now switched over to slowly whittling down the Echo, who will survive it. Now on Nexus, Gangplank is alive to try to turn this game. He gets one, but he doesn't have the damage. Nexus goes down, and the Buckeyes take game 1.
That last team fight was just the battle of tanks diving onto Vanilla Salt. Ohio State realized who they needed to focus, and that took pressure off of their carries. Peridot untouched, and you saw Bacon Seeker, the Alistar, pushing the Corki away from the fight. He was 1v1ing Door that entire time, and he wasn't able to deal any damage, so Door completely a non-factor in that fight.
That team fight was absolutely huge. The Echo parallel convergence is a 3-second long setup where it does nothing at all. Set up on top of the enemy team, and as Ohio kind of, jumped in. Poppy got the steadfast presence in, stopped all the move blocks away. Kinder couldn't jump away. Caitlyn couldn't jump away. Corey couldn't jump away. Now they're all stuck inside the pit. Pop goes the Echo stun. Everyone else joined in the fray, and it was just a complete slaughter at that point because the battle lines were broken. The tanks got in the back line, and squishes are easy to kill when you get in range of them.
Yeah, it was also really good because the Anivia wall came up then as well.
Right.
So the retreat was even worse.
Just stuck.
So yeah.
So, I mean, really, really impeccable team fighting, and the grit they had to show to make that happen because the game was this close from being over. Like, this is essentially the league equivalent of an overtime win where you had to get that final point in to bring it to the final minutes, and that was what happened here. That base defense where I think about half the time that game just ends. Like, depending on how well the teams play at half the time, that game is over. Michigan State wins that one. But Buckeyes played it right. They got the defense in. They ended up acing in essentially a series of 3v5s. As like someone to get picked off, but trade a kill back, and then eventually Nexus on Poppy. I think was in a 1v3 by the very end, killing people by himself. Yes, they were low, but actually 1v3 at the end to keep the game alive. And then it was one more team fight, okay, game's over. And that's really well done.
Yeah, and that was definitely Michigan State University. They weren't able to find a way to close that game out. They were looking for unique ways to do it. But of course, they end up losing that. They end up losing that first game, and the Ohio State University take game 1. But we're going to head over to the analyst desk to hear more about that game 1 and what they might do in game 2.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. That's right. The Ohio State University Buckeyes coming out on top in game 1 in a game that it didn't look like they were going to win. Michigan State definitely had control of that game through the early and the mid game. So let's get into how that happened and then how it all fell apart. Starting in Champion Select, we saw some interesting picks come out. We saw the Scion support of all things, but Ohio State's draft is really what I want to talk about here because the Poppy going into the jungle, having picked Poppy and Echo initially as flex picks, meaning that they could pick up that Anivia as the final counter pick in the mid lane.
Yeah, I actually like their draft and bans a lot. They targeted the Maokai, which we know that MSU's top laner have been playing a lot of. And then they take the Echo early, which we also know MSU's mid laner played a lot of. So they were really doing a good job of targeting MSU's players and taking things that they would probably want away from them, as well as building a good comp on top of that. So they're kind of hitting both those points well.
Yeah, I just thought that it would only be a problem if Kindred snowballed. Like, they had the Echo Gangplank matchup was really side to the Echo, and they also had the mid laner Anivia, who gets kind of split against Corki. It's a little bit hard in the laning phase, but I mean, she brought TP, so I thought that if they can go even into mid game, it'd be okay. But then the Kindred just went crazy, 5-0.
Yeah, the Kindred did snowball. I mean, we saw both junglers affecting the map pretty decently in the early game, being a part of the first 3 kills for both teams. However, Indian Mama on that Kindred, a part of the first 9 kills for his team, as well as picking up that triple kill in the top lane River. However, it didn't end up, being what they needed to end the game, and I think a lot of that comes down to compositionally and build path-wise what happened for Michigan State. We're going to pull up a replay here that kind of illustrates that, the final fight of the game. Mark, I'm going to have you walk us through it as it rolls out.
Sure. One thing that we mentioned is none of the AD carries really have a Last Whisper, so when they get this big engage with their 2 tanks getting a ton of stuns off, they aren't killing anyone. You can just see the front lines almost still like 75% health, and OSU is just getting taken apart. They can't deal with the front line. They're getting killed by everyone. Anivia's going off, Siver's going off, and once they kill all the carries, they can just snowball through the rest of the fight. Or
Yeah, I mean, we look down the item list here. The only person on MSU with any kind of armor penetration, that last whisper, is the GP in the top lane, who's probably the person who needs it the least of all of the players on that team. All 3 ADCs sitting there without armor penetration means they can't eat through these tanks, meaning that the scaling of the Anivia and the Sivir damage becomes ultra effective against them since they can sit safely behind their 3 frontliners.
Yeah, and I mean, once again, you can see how useful the tanks are. They don't have any minions. They don't need them.
Right.
Just tank the turret damage.
Yeah. Now, that being said, let's talk about positives for MSU. I mean, the first being that Indian Mama did have such great effect on the map and, in all honesty, was out-jungling Nexavis in the early game, in the right place, the right time for those early skirmishes between the teams. But also that gutsy Baron call, Scara.
Yeah, I thought that Baron call was really, really risky. When we first looked at it, Mark was like, they can't finish it. It's not possible. But then he kind of underestimated. We both underestimated Kindred damage. Kindred does insane damage when she has stacks, and because she snowballed so hard early, I actually thought she'd have more stacks than she did. I think she had 6 or 7 stacks when they did Baron, and they were able to burn it down within probably 10 seconds, which is really ridiculously fast.
We saw the Echo TP come in at 4K health, and I'm thinking, okay, he's got home guard. He's going to come flying in. He's going to take it out, but the Baron was dead by the time he got there, despite it being at 4K health. It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that being said, when we look at the LCS players playing Kindred, if someone gets to 8 stacks, that's absolutely insane by the end of a 55-minute game. Here, as you mentioned, 5-6 stacks pretty early on into the game. Probably could have been more with some better markings on players for kills. But all in all, a solid solo performance. I want to talk about what the adjustments that these teams can make going into game 2 for MSU. I mean, that's a big hit in terms of morale to have been up in that game, to have been in a winnable game and in the position to take this victory in the rematch, in your grudge match against your rival, and then have it swept out from underneath you in those final few seconds.
For me, the big player to look at is Dynasties. We know he plays a lot of GP and Maokai. It's funny because in the video, MSU was kind of poking fun at OSU for still playing GP, and then they're the one who pick it. And with the Maokai ban, and if GP is the only thing left, I think they're in for a tough series because, as we saw, the meta is really kind of this tank-centric thing where if you don't snowball hard with all those carries, the tanks are going to outscale you until you can build all the damage items you need.
Yeah, I think like if Indian Mama gets like such a big lead, it's weird because he had such a dominant lead, but Nexavis was getting faster turrets than he was. I think that's really, really bad by him. Like he needs to be able to focus down objectives and be able to break his team out of the laning phase. And I think that he did a pretty poor job of doing that. Some of the times it might have been a little bit unlucky because in the bottom lane fight, in the 4v5, the 5 got pushed off, and that was just unfortunate, I guess. But in a lot of situations, I felt like he wasn't able to really push his lead as much as he could have, kind of toward the early mid-game.
All right, well, that's only game 1 for us here at the Big Ten Network Invitational. We're going to take a break for a few minutes before we come back for game 2 to see if Michigan State can run it back against the Ohio State Buckeyes.
in Boston, Massachusetts, ready to get into game 2 between the Ohio State University Buckeyes and Michigan State University Spartans. Ohio State had a very hard-fought Game 1 victory. Michigan State were winning the whole time, and in a couple of clutch fights in the last few minutes, brought it back for Ohio State, and they got that win.
Yeah, and I think that the desk touched on it in a very, very kind of nice way. It's a tank meta. You're going to scale. You're going to get to the point where your Nivea has so many frontliners that are actually big damage threats with the State of Iceborne Gauntlet and Sunfire Cape that they're able to take over the game, especially the Echo, who's able to chase people down, and then the Poppy, who can get on your squishies. There was a lot of prime targets on the Michigan State University squad, 380 carries, right? And then the Gangplank. Basically, you pick a target, that target's going to die very quickly. You can't go wrong with who you select on that team.
I definitely agree, and as long as they can make it to that 35-minute mark as everything scales up, they can get themselves back in with the team fights. It was nearly just not enough time given for that to happen, though. As we get ourselves in a game 2 with the picks and pans, we're going to see just which team can play it a little bit better. You're competing in League of Legends, and you change up your compositions every single game here in this best of 5. The Corky ban taken away from Door, the mid laner. Michigan State, you have to find something new to play. You gotta wonder what the first pick is going to be. Nidalee left on the table alongside all the other junglers, and that will be, no surprise, first pick right away for Nexus.
Yep, picked up for the star jungler of this squad. Highest elo player in the game, 400 points master at the moment. So definitely gonna have to see what ends up happening here for Indian Mama if he wants to play the Kindred into it. If he wants to go for the Elise, Elise is pretty good against the Nidalee early on. The CC, if you're able to land the Cocoon, you pretty much decimate that champion.
Well, it's a lot of what we saw CLG Smithy do actually back in the North American final. Is honestly was just happy to go for the more gank-focused Elise early on, and we actually saw that Michigan State were able to use early jungle aggression to their advantage. Indian Mama had ganked several lanes, got them all ahead, and they nearly just snowballed the victory off of early gank pressure, and so he's going for another early game jungle to try to make that same thing happen here.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane to think about that game too, because they had all of the Nexus turrets down. Michigan State University was one structure away from ending the game, and they didn't focus on it. They tried to get some extra kills, and then the game just swung back on them, and Ohio State won fight after fight and closed it out.
3 fights in a row to win the game. Well, Echo goes back again to Ohio State. It seems like Michigan State were not really willing or you know, unwilling to try to take the champion away. They don't seem to consider it that valuable. Echo has been one of the most contested champions in professional play for the last several months now, and Michigan State are not ones to contest that, but Ohio State certainly are, and we'll see who gets the champion if it goes back to a Rune 1 or if Peridot plays it after all. Also, they're Alistair, so a lot of similar compositions coming through. This time around, though, Michigan State are getting the Poppy for themselves for their top laner, we assume, and an Ezreal mid in for Door. And in the one game that Michigan State did win against the Buckeyes so far this year, it was Door playing Ezreal.
That's true. That 4-1 record. Door loves those poke champions. He plays Jhin in solo queue as his most played. Plays Ezreal. He played a lot of Lux until Lux got nerfed and fell out of the meta. So they see the most success when he's on a poke champion.
Yeah.
And last game he played Corky. So more of the same here, but he's going back to an old classic of his.
He wants to go forward. We can see here the last 2 picks to come through as 4 champions have been picked up for Michigan State, and now the Ohio State University Buckeyes to pick their last 2 champions here, and we see just where these things will flex. We know Alistair support, we know Nidalee's in the jungle, and the question is where's everything else going to be? It looks like it will remain Echo top with another Anivia mid for Peridot. And as long as he doesn't start the game 0 and 3, he should have a pretty good time in this one.
Well, apparently if he starts the game 0 and 3, he
well,
still has a good time.
I mean, to be fair, if that game actually ended with that Nexus push, he would have been, rough the whole time. But now here comes the new thing: Michigan State University pulling in Blitzcrank support for Raipu. He's played it a couple of times during the regular season in the ULAL Campus Series, but now bringing it back out for the Big Ten Network Invitational. Caitlyn Blitzcrank pulls someone onto a cupcake trap, do plenty of damage, feels good.
Yeah, this is a really bad lane to play against. You feel really awful because you're getting zoned, not just by the Caitlyn, but by the support, the Blitzcrank, because of the amount of threat that he can provide. But it is the Alistar. Vacant Seeker has a champion that can deal with getting pulled in and actually turn it around onto the bot lane of MSU.
I mean, that's the question is, as long as you get the hook pre-6, it's okay, because you knock him up, he knocks you back up with Pulverize, and you trade damage back and forth. But post-6, Alistar is no longer a viable hook target, and Lucian's already pretty elusive on his own. So yeah, I agree. There's definitely, there are windows for Raipu's Blitzcrank to do well here, but for a large portion of the game, there's not a lot of viable targets.
Later on, though, if he's able to actually get hooks onto things like Anivia,
oh man,
he can definitely win the game outright. And there's a lot of things they have to watch out for on the Ohio State University side. They have to watch out for the Blitzcrank. They also have to watch out for the Elise Cocoon. And then Poppy's able to provide peel for the Caitlyn and Ezreal and make it much harder to actually reach those champions. But, I mean, the Ohio State University team has a poke comp for the most part. They have the Anivia and they have the Nidalee, but they also have Engage. So they've covered all of their bases here. Their wave clear is fine. It's a very well-rounded composition, but they can play a siege game incredibly well.
Yeah, the Buckeyes definitely are well-rounded here. Michigan State hoping to pull up what I honestly do believe would be an upset here in this series, but you know, if their football team can do it, so can the League of Legends team. We'll see just how well the Spartans can play here in this one. It's a best-of-5. We're into Game 2 with the Ohio State University Buckeyes already up in the series now, thanks to Game 1, but certainly more can be done here, and you can see the players getting into the game, and we are here into Game 2. Michigan State University looking for vengeance after a hard-fought loss in Game 1.
Exactly. The show match between the Ohio State University and Michigan State University. If you're just tuning in, Ohio State University up one whole game, but Michigan State, they almost won that one. They were about to kill the Nexus, but luckily it's a best-of-5 for the show match on the Big Ten Network.
And a best-of-5 means anything can happen. After a game ends, it fully resets and you start over again. We've seen reverse sweeps. That sweeper actually misses the trinket ward that was put in the brush. So Michigan State will think they're not revealed, but they are, and this could really screw with the early game decision making.
I actually really like that start, the Blitzcrank with the red trinket, because you do that, and then you see if there's somebody in the bush. It gives you that red outline.
Yeah, you can see champions as well, exactly. So anything that's invisible
exactly.
in that realm. Yeah, so that would have been a nice hook. Didn't happen, though. Invade just some deep wards, and they get away.
Just random side thing. I like the Michigan State University cam. It looks like he's wearing the Spartan helmet.
A little small for him. It's more like a tattoo.
Oh man, face tattoos?
Hey, school pride knows no bounds.
That's true, that's true. Anyway, they are still all in this jungle right
so
here.
Here's the thing, right? If they know it's mirrored lanes, they actually want to try to steal away part of the Krugs and mess with the early lane invade, or sorry, with the early jungle start. And Nidalee you know, on the other side, but Blitzcrank can do this really well, but instead it's actually...
They're going to take a full red buff.
An adaptation, yeah, they're going for the red buff steal early on. This is actually a really nice level 1 start.
Whoa. If you give a Caitlyn a red buff level 1...
Yep. She's going to be really happy.
And getting back to lane is going to be the difficult part, but Raipu...
Oh, he's going for another thing. He's going for a flash hook?
They know that that was warded. It should have been communicated by door that a ward went down there, but...
Oh, they're doing something entirely different. They're tri-laning mid.
Well, the Ohio State University talked about the cheese that Michigan State University was going to try to bring out. This might be the cheese here. This is an old strategy. What you would do is you would have Blitzcrank, Heimerdinger, Caitlyn, and something like Twisted Fate so that you could have a point-and-click stun. The Blitzcrank is able to actually pull that person in, and you legitimately cannot be underneath your turret, and you have to answer with pretty much equal numbers, or else they just flat-out die.
Which is what they're doing. So now Lucian, played by Strategical, is being left alone in the bottom lane, pushing 1 versus 0 as the top laners fight, and it's a 3 versus 4 defense in the mid lane. You've got Cocoon, you've got Hook, you've got Caitlyn traps and Ezreal trying to go for the play. Keep in mind, also red buff affects turrets, so they can get plenty of damage here like this.
Yeah, Raipu does eat a spear, and it's a level 1.
Vacant Seeker, they hook in, oh, Nidalee's got to flash away, 1 hit away from death, nearly burns to death. And you can see the value of this tri-lane here. Quadra lane now at this point.
Yeah, there's 4 people in this lane. Strategical though, this is the problem. I've tried this strategy before. That's a Lucian getting solo experience. He's picking up more CS than the Caitlyn, and I talked about how the Ohio State University has a team that's actually quite good against sieges. Well, this is what this team is built to do. They're built to live in a situation, but there's the knockup.
Another hook, and that's going to be nearly the kill on Alistar. In goes Indian Mama, gets exhausted. Red buff is on, and he doesn't have the damage. Stunned up, taken down for first blood. Neximus gets it. Michigan State so nearly had the advantage, but couldn't quite pull off the kills.
Yeah, it turns out the Ohio State University, a little lactose intolerant. They're going to have none of that cheese today. Turn this around right on to Michigan State University. And honestly, Maybe if Indian Mama had shifted forms, if he had shifted forms and tried to get that
One more
last
auto.
auto attack on, he had red buff. He was exhausted, so he didn't want to go for that, and his attack speed's a little bit lower. But,
Good flash.
Nice flash there.
Yeah, I think that was a required flash from Door. Would have probably died to the Alistair engage, but now you're seeing Nexus immediately turn around to the jungle. He's going to spot Indian Mama. Can he get the hit? No, Cocoon's not going to land. Can he repel into range? Yes, but now is the damage going to be there? He's trying to run away. Vacant Seeker's there to bodyguard, and Nexus gets out just barely.
Just barely. That's really lucky, too, because Indian Mama had shifted out of spider form, not able to actually just shift, go over the wall with the repel immediately, and then make it much easier for him to land the Cocoon afterwards, because blind Cocoon, not going to happen. See right here, Indian Mama has red buff. The hook comes through onto Bacon Seeker, gets the knockup, and the Cocoon lands onto Bacon Seeker right there, and he actually ends up getting a really good pulverizing right there, Instead of chasing, which chasing was actually probably the better move there. You were probably better off chasing Bacon Seeker. Yeah, because
unlucky.
Peridot only had enough mana for one spell, and he threw out the Q, and he got him, he nailed him with it. I think it would have been better to actually go for the dive and see if you could get out.
Well, we are sitting at a 900 gold deficit now for Michigan State. The first blood was worth about 600, a little bit less because I believe it was before 4 minutes into the game, but certainly some of that gold advantage above that is, of course, Strategical's farm, thanks to getting to play the 1v0 lane. And that bottom turret, of course, quite low as well. Arun 1 still trying to do battle in the top lane against Dynasty, and yet again, Arun is winning this lane by just a little bit.
Just a little bit, and the Ohio State University had full confidence in their laners here. With that cheese coming out that didn't work, Vanilla Salt very far behind. Top lane, that was the one that was left on an island, and Dynasty's a little bit behind on that.
Late hook by Raifu. That actually could have
been really bad for Bacon Seeker, but look at this. This is a lane that you typically get zoned off of as the Lucian, as Strategical's champion, but now, with 2 levels up, he's got all of the pressure in this lane. Vanilla Salt's going to have to respect him and actually back off with that 14 CS advantage.
Well, we'll see. Thankful thing about Caitlyn is honestly it's pretty easy to just keep getting last hits, and the more aggressive that Ohio State plays, the more hooks are available via the Blitzcrank, so there's only so much they can really do to punish the lane. We'll see if it gets any worse over time. Nexus an aggressive pink ward of the jungle, warding more and more camps and just invading, but there's nothing to be had over there, which means now he knows he's alone and go for the dive on the Dynasty, which I don't think will be successful though.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Poppy's steadfast presence does stop the leap. There we go.
Does stop the leap. Now goes for a little bit more damage, but can't find anyone to charge into the wall. And now the stun coming out from the parallel converter as well, flashing away from Chrono Break. That would have maybe gotten the kill. Now the hook will land onto this poor little Alistair, who is out of summoner spells. Does have exhaust, pulverizes 2 though, and exhausts the elite, which means no more damage can be dealt.
Indian Mama's like, how is that back up? Since last time, it was still the thing that saved Bacon Seeker's life again, and saves his bacon once more. But TP to the top lane, I'm actually very surprised. I'll have to double check it because Dynasty, he tried to actually knock Nexus back into the turret after the W stun, the mini stun on it, but I don't know if he had enough mana for it. It was just barely.
Might have been mana, yeah.
Because that bar right there is only 430.
Right, yeah. Poppy is a fairly low mana champion. Each individual spell costs a pretty significant chunk right there. Either way, though, the attempt at the outplay didn't quite happen, and it means that he's lost his flash and his teleport. We can watch the fight again.
See what happens. So that's about 100 right there. W's.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's very low mana.
Not 100% on that, and I don't have a client in front of me, so.
But he never went for the charge in either case.
Yeah.
He had multiple opportunities to press E. I think it was too low on mana.
It's probably just barely.
Yeah. Pretty certain on that one. So now we get to see the players go back into their own jungles, keep farming up. Of course, his first pick in Italy for Nexus is doing incredibly well. Okay, yes, you were part of a 3v4 turret defense early on, but still up 13 minis. He's gotten several buff steals, several deep wards as well, and he's up a level over Indian Mama's Elise. All of which are good things for the Italy player.
Yeah, and we're also looking at the buff here that Indian Mama took on his smite. It's the blue smite here. Actually the rarest smite right now. We rarely see stalkers. We usually see challengers for people who want to actually fight each other, or we see the tracker's knife for somebody who's team-oriented. This is the run after you gank, try to help your laners.
Well, that was the entire gameplay from the start, right? It's why you even pick Elise in the first place, is to have reliable gank pressure, and the slow can help you land the cocoons, can help you land the rest of your damage, and maybe he'll get a bit more done. Door trinket wards the bot side of his lane, and it looks like he's going to be roaming alongside Indian Mama to the bot side right here. Maybe. Pushing in. Okay, second trinket ward now to reveal the front half of the red buff. And
it's a lot of time of him being out of lane, though.
Yeah.
Aspect
Look
of
at the
the
wave.
CS.
Yeah, he'll be okay. Mama smites away. Oh, it's a nice wall. Now can there be more damage? Cocoon's going to land, but Bacon Seeker's right around the corner.
That's all the mana out of Peridot, though. He's going to have to back into
Right, who tried to Mad Life the Lucian dash.
Tried to think that Lucian was going to dash toward him.
Yeah.
Which is actually the least expected direction. So.
Which is why you think he'd do it.
Yeah.
Who would expect you to dash to the right?
Yeah, that's the IQ test right there. You go, I think he's a really smart player. He did, nope.
Yep.
All right, they hit to dumb down your hooks a little bit.
And 5% of the time, it's the exact right play.
5%. That's more than enough to go for it for me.
There you go.
That's statistically significant, so I'll take it.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Oof.
Oof. Speaking
that
of shots that
aimed
you
right
take,
at him. Yeah.
Yeah, they're calling for help now.
Oh, wow. 2 javelins and a cooling. There's nowhere for him to go. Exhaust. Oh! The knockup was huge. He's still alive, but not anymore. Not quite enough damage dealt, and now Raipu stuck under his own turret, far away from this one, running away from Nidalee. Exhausted and Indian Mama. They can't quite get the damage. They finally trade it back. Double kill, though, already picked up is a great thing for this Nidalee, the shutdown or not.
He has to get back to this turret.
There's a teleport coming in. Headbutt into the wall. Flash the pulverize. Great play there. And now here comes Ezreal. Red buff on Bacon Seeker. Hit up with that. Now pops the ulti. Flash away from Door to stay alive. He would have gotten pretty messed up by all the CC. And a final teleport in from Peridot. Not really needed, but it does secure that turret's going down.
Yeah, it's just confidence for his team to close it out, get that turret, and actually invade. See if he actually gets some good vision here. Has his trinket up, and he's actually just going to follow through. Yeah. Indian Mama knows he's spotted. It's like, why would the Anivia walk all the way up here? You can see right here, another spear. Good knock up here in the middle of the W. Good E back. They get a lot out of Nexavis, make him work for that kill. And then Nexavis, not cocooned there, ends up following, and then just the fade away because of the exhaust doesn't go down fast enough. And Bacon Seeker's exhausts have been on point. He's used all 3 of his on Indian Mama. So the Elise is probably going a little insane. As a jungler, you always wonder how your laner died without exhaust being used.
Yeah, but this time it is getting used and people aren't really dying. So a 3-kill start for Nexavis. Has all of them for his team. You can see a 3,000 gold lead for the Ohio State University Buckeyes. Gotta feel real good. And you know, that was a prediction that the junglers would be the ones to watch in this matchup. And in fact, all the kills are on the junglers right now. Right now, Ohio State getting the better of the matchup here.
They're getting better of most of these matchups too.
Yeah.
Mid lane CS advantage you also see in that bot lane because of the cheese early on. Levels are very close now. Strategical is being caught up on in that regard, but still up in CS 16 and that top lane 10, just like that mid lane. So all across the board CS advantages, save for that support, which really doesn't count too much.
Yeah,
mostly care about those laners.
Not a huge difference, honestly, so it's going to be all right. Red turret has been destroyed. Attempted hook will not hit Nexavis. Jumps away from that one. But if on toward Door, and overall, mid lane outer being down is a good thing for Ohio State as they've kept pushing forward and are looking to play a very clean mid game here. Survived the attempted quad lane in the mid lane. Survived it pretty reasonably. Got a kill back. Went back to regular lanes, and now pushing.
This is what Scar was talking about on the desk, where as a jungler, when you get that fed, your job is to get your laners out of their lane and do this to the map. They just took bot turret, they took mid turret, now they're going towards the top turret because they know that they have enough gold that Michigan State University cannot contest them right now. Yep. Michigan State University is not able to actually match them. And then you just show up somewhere, you get that turret, and just grow your lead even more.
And use your strongest member as a battering ram, have the team support you, and knock some structures down. Knocking these outer turrets is a big influx of gold. It's a really big lead to have when you knock these down 3-0 in turrets. It is always a mark of a team winning by quite a significant margin. You gotta feel really good as an Ohio State fan right now. 4,000 gold up now is definitely a sizable lead.
Especially this early on in the game. It's not even 15 minutes.
Yeah. So this is large.
Yeah, and even if you look at it like a percentage, right?
Sure.
They have about almost 120% of their gold. It's a good margin.
Yeah, they're up more than 20% over Michigan State right now. It's a pretty big deal here. So let's see how much more they can get. Next is coming around the backside towards Door, who does not arcade shift properly. He's going to get hit up by this one. The barrier comes through to keep alive for a bit longer, but half HP. Here comes the re-engage, and Peridot, one more hit, he'll do it. The flash auto attack, not enough. The exhaust comes through. True shot barrage into an egg, and Omelet goes down. Indian Mama, his second kill of the game.
The exhaust there, baiting Peridot forward. That's still a really aggressive flash in the first place.
I would have
going
done
for
it.
that. I know you would have.
We all would have done it.
That's why you're here, not on stage. But I mean, on stage, I guess you're not in college either, so.
There's several reasons why I'm not on stage. One of them being individual skill.
Yeah, as an Anivia, though, I'm usually okay with, I got him out, now I can just siege turrets. But man, that was really aggressive from Peridot, trying to make up for that performance where he started 0-3 last game.
Sure.
But this is how you start 0-3 again.
At least he's got an assist, so it's already going to be better than it could have been. Pretty much can't be a worse KDA than last time, but it does mean that Michigan State were able to claw back in a little bit. Getting those couple of kills definitely means something for them, but they've still got a very long hill to climb to catch back up. Rift Herald was just taken by Ohio State. That's a nice influx of a couple hundred gold and an extra buff on, I believe that went to Echo.
Have to check that one out. It didn't go over to Nexus.
I believe Haroon was wearing it. It didn't go to the Alistair, so those are the two.
Yeah.
Oh, did he get it? Yes, Nexus is still up, he got hooked back in. See, that's why you sometimes predict the juke to the side. This time around, though, it does allow Nidalee to get away thanks to Burning Flash.
I think that was blind, too. That was blind. He didn't have vision of that blue buff.
That is impressive. Nexus with a very important buff steal. Stealed away. Fantasy still got that, though. Javelin didn't quite take that one.
Yeah, Nexus knows how to punish with this Nidalee. When you start 3-1, a lot of Nidalees are like, okay, my job is done. He's like, no. Rod of Ages, we're going to keep scaling up. We're going to become a big damage threat. I'm going to be jumping in Cougar form and making sure that I can blow people up without too much of a margin for error that I get blown up in return. So trying to make that much smaller. And look at this.
Oh, another hook's gonna land, but it's a level 7 Alistair. Dynasty taking a fair bit of damage, but jumps back over the wall thanks to the tackle now. And a big Ezreal comes across, hits 2. Bacon Seeker's ulti's gonna run out soon. And now will there be a re-engage? Arun one waiting in the front line. He is the tank. Ward comes down, Cocoon lands, but they don't really want to push through. Auto potential Echo Stun, another flash hook, and that's gonna be Bacon Seeker going down. What a great play by Raipu.
And Raipu with this Blitzcrank, one of his most played champions, that Zillion, and this is another part of that cheese that they were talking about on Ohio State University's side. Michigan State, they have these picks that you don't typically play against too much, and Blitzcrank can just ruin a game for a team that has a lead because all they want to do is push turrets, all they want to do is siege, and you're able to pull them into situations they do not want to be in.
Yeah, I feel like in the middle of the enemy team, without your ultimate, it's not a situation you ever want to be in.
Sometimes you want to be there, but with your ultimate, it was...
That's why you land 2 hooks in a row. That's the long con. It's like, yeah, I hooked Alistair, but that's fine, though, because I'll do it again 6 seconds later. And he did, and that was really well played. The flash to do as well. Definitely a great play out of the Blitzcrank.
That's the confidence right there.
Yep.
Raipu in that last game as well had a lot of confidence. His Scion play was the one that allowed them to get so close to that Nexus off of hitting Peridot with the ultimate.
Yeah, that charge was a really big deal. It nearly won the game, as you mentioned, but now we're going to require many more good plays for Michigan State to climb back into this one. The Spartans very much behind after the early game here. They've got to find another way back in. Hurricane is yet again done for the Caitlyn. Again, doing the high damage team fight build, which makes a lot of sense, but winning these team fights will be difficult. Keep in mind, they've got a blue Ezreal in the mid lane. He's still scaling up. He's just stacking a tier with no bonus attack damage at all to save for his build. So there's honestly a bit of a waiting game to be had for Michigan State.
Yeah, both teams are pretty much going to post up in front of a turret and try to siege each other down. And it's really on Raipu and Bacon Seeker to get the right engages. Raipu, he can definitely pull in a member that does not want to be in the team. Maybe even get Bacon Seeker in there, though, and then it turns around on him. But Arun, from what I've been seeing, his play style is on this Echo, I want to flank. I want to jump in. He has confidence in landing his stun and having the parallel convergence actually lock up some members. So Raipu, he's playing aggressive, but sometimes it might bite him.
Nice stun. Oh, misses the pulverized Bacon Seeker with mechanical misplay.
I'm seeing that a lot here. Bacon Seeker played Alistar in the last game as well, and it was more of the same. I'm seeing a lot of headbutts, no pulverized follow-up, or it's too late.
No unfortunate stuff here. Bacon Seeker maybe letting the stage get to him a little bit, but the team's still playing well as a unit.
It's a much easier combo to do now because you can actually buffer it.
Right.
So I think he just might be used to a different timing on it. We'll see.
Just not sure, but it's just not quite happening for him, sadly. But Nexavis getting the solo kill on Dragon, the second of the game for his team, means that turret sieging now gets easier. It means that continuing to press their lead shouldn't be too terribly hard for Ohio State.
Normally, I would say that's a really good move to use the ace in the hole like that on a target that you want to get out of the fight, but it's Nidalee. She's just going to heal up. She's going to throw an E on herself and be completely fine. And it gets very frustrating as a Caitlyn. Even using it on anybody here, same result would happen.
Get targeted heals from the Nidalee. Yeah, that jungler is going to be useful kind of no matter what.
The damage doesn't stick. In compositions where it does stick, it becomes so good.
Oh, yeah. He's done solid. Very... Oh,
Mine.
Nice hook. And there we go. Looks like that went over to Door. So happy to get another 90 gold for himself, knocking down the Gromp. Michigan State just licking their runes. Still down 4,000, though. And at least the margin hasn't moved for a while. It's usually a good sign for the losing team. If the gold lead doesn't grow any farther, it means you're holding equal despite being disadvantaged. But Nexibus is just taking so much of the jungle. Now looking for the play on a Dynasty. Red Smite comes in, does not land the javelin thanks to a tackle. But here comes the Echo Stun. Dynasty's going to be in a bad spot to flash away. Still might go down. Another javelin lit. Here's the pounce. Here's the kill. Nexibus with his 4th of the game.
Yeah, and with that tank Echo, diving is not a problem at all. And you look at his items, well, he's got 1 armor item and 1 HP item. And then I guess you can count the Doran's Ring as well. But still, he's not very tanky at all. And he's still able to dive tier 2 turrets, no problem with Nexibus. This is the power of the Echo right there, and he has full confidence. He'd also use his ultimate.
Quick miss the pounce.
Second try? Okay,
there you go.
There we go.
Not a problem.
A little bit of a hump, you have to get over it. Let's see. Ooh, right move.
Okay, gets away from the stun hook onto the... That's Nidalee taking a lot of damage, but we'll be able to jump away just
Missed
fine.
the traps.
Get the heals back in. Yeah, sadly the traps did not land. Those could have been kill-securing traps, but...
Nope. Arun just ultied back.
Alright, so back in the lane, doing plenty of damage, but does not have the ulti now for himself to keep himself alive, which means he's now in the middle of the enemy team, taking a charge in the face, losing a lot of health, but will not quite go down. Flash used hook will not quite hit. Now Vegas Seeker dangerously low on HP, did not pop the ulti for a while. 300 health is enough on Alistair. Cocoon not going to land thanks to Flash being popped out and a dodge on the stun. And now Repel over the wall, but Indian Mama pretty low on HP, has to clear from Peridot before the cooldowns come back up.
Yeah, Nexibus comes over the wall, so definitely don't want to be in that spot. And Nexibus is really strong right now.
Yes,
has the Runic Echoes and is charging up that Rod of Ages. 10 minutes, be much stronger than he is right now, but still 4-1, all the kills on his team, which is something that you have to take into consideration as well. Strategical is now down in farm, down in gold compared to Vanilla Salt.
Wow.
Mostly because Vanilla Salt got a deep freeze on his tier 2 and was able to just keep the wave there forever. And it does stop them from taking that tier 1 turret, but it puts gold onto Vanilla Salt to have a little bit of an advantage.
Yep.
Which in all honesty is probably equalized by the 4 turrets.
Yes. You can kind of see that in the gold margins anyway. It's now 5,500 actually putting Ohio State ahead. So and the farm they are getting, and especially the jungle control. Oh, unfortunate there. Smite by Indy Mama means no blue up goes over to Door or Vanilla Salt. It's okay to not have it on Ezreal. He's got enough mana, but you can actually use the final 10 QDR. Either way, I mean, it's not terrible on Elise either, so I can't complain too much. But Nexibus will not get the steal. And as the Rod of Ages stacks up 5 out of the 10 minutes now, it's definitely getting very powerful.
Halfway there for both Peridot and Nexibus. And both teams actually seem a little bit content to scale here. We see the Rod of Ages for 2 members of the Ohio State University and a tier. And then we see a tier on the side of MSU with Door. So he's willing to scale up. We do see also a Rod. We also see an Abyssal Scepter here for Indian Mama, and it's only going to help him. We'll see how that works out.
The damage on Arun 1, yeah. Ezreal does some magic damage. It's like 60-40.
60-40? Okay.
Yeah, so he's pretty meaningful as far as that goes, but still, it's a fairly low magic damage team. I agree Abyssal's a little bit greedy. I don't know if it's super optimal here, but at least he has 2 other tanks on his team. Doesn't have to go for the full tank build, but I think Riley's might just be superior.
Yes, I agree, because there's more physical damage dealers as well, so I think it's going to work.
Just you get so many slows, right? Like, the Runic Echoes trigger applies spell effects. So if you hit a Spiderling, you get a multi-man slow.
Exactly. And the magic resist is just so good on Abyssal Scepter, so I understand it. I just think Spectre's Cowl alongside a Riley's maybe more superior, but Indian Mama, we'll see if that works out for him here. And there goes the
what a hook out of a Rune. That's right back out. The hook gets that one to happen. But Repel back onto the ground. Indian Mama was flash away because of this. And overall, a positive trade in cooldowns for Ohio State as they walk right back out of this one. Their tank's missing his ultimate, so let's just walk away.
Nexibus goes over the wall looking for this Baron here. If all 5 of them show up. There they go. Waiting for it to die down, and it might just be, they're going to start it up now. It's not just a bait.
It's a rush for this one. They won't kill it quite as fast as it did happen over in game 1.
But you can see
Michigan State taking their sweet time, checking this one. 4,000 health left on Baron, finally a ward over the wall. And yeah, it does mean that they were checked out. It just died far too slowly, honestly. Now a bit of poke coming out of this one. The wall's going to be nothing. Hook's not going to land either, but Michigan State looking for a play to happen here.
Dynasty can just walk straight forward. Nexus is going to tank that for strategical. And now it's going to be MSU who have inside track onto this mid turret.
See if they do anything aggressive.
Just going to be a siege though.
Yeah, and this first wave won't mean anything. You got to wait 25 more seconds for the next wave to show up, and then maybe Michigan State gets something to happen. But instead, they pivot. They go back up towards the Baron area. Sweeper pop by Raipu. Pink ward going to be cleared away, and now it's the red team with the vision advantage.
Yeah.
Now, Ohio State has to face check into Fog of War
on a Caitlyn Blitzcrank.
Yeah, which is super deadly.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want for this squad. The Ohio State University side is not what you want there. So they're actually going to run towards that dragon, try to get their third dragon because they pushed out mid, and that means MSU has to answer. They have to clear it out. And Indian Mama is going to face check.
Oh, face check into the dragon tip, but again, yeah, missed pulverized. Peridot is going to get egged. This could be a really good team fight. And Nivea popped at the very start. It's a 5v4. Raipu flashing away to stay alive.
Bacon Seeker.
Wow.
It's happened so many times now. You can buffer your Q. It's much easier to do, but we'll see. They're going to get a Rune in here now.
Fight 5v4. Door is low. Rune's going to ulti out and stay alive. Raipu falls, though. It's a 1-for-1 now. And in the 4v4 team fight, Door versus Nexus. Oh, the takedown happens. That's exactly what it says on the label. 3 kills picked up in that fight. Only Peridot was a casualty from a while ago. This OSU 4v5 working quite well, and now Nexus got to get sent right back down to the Dragon Pit. But that's where he wanted to be anyway.
That's where he wants to be, exactly. Gonna have to watch that again because Vanilla Salt got zoned off of that fight to the left side really early on, and I'm surprised that they didn't actually pick up Nexus there with that gigantic 500 crit on the Q, which comes up as a magic crit. Just ended up killing Door as he went over the wall. See this again right here. They end up getting Peridot. No pulverize there from Bacon Seeker to actually land after the headbutt, so it knocks them away. Able to play it safe from there. And then strategic, they look divided here. You should be able to go after that. And Vanilla Salt actually is just sitting up on that top side.
This is what he can fight.
Bacon Seeker is zoning him, and now Bacon Seeker goes in. Arun would have died in that knockup if Vanilla Salt had been there and would not have been able to ultimate.
Yeah.
And then the follow through, Bacon Seeker, strategical basically got to go all the way around as well.
Right. He wasn't part of that fight for most of it.
So yeah, overall that ended up being Bacon Seeker not starting the fight off on the right foot, but then following through and zoning Vanilla Salt. Vanilla Salt had flash too, and being that afraid of a headbutt or a pulverize, it's just an Alistar.
Yeah, I agree. A misplay there by the AD carry of Michigan State, and could have been much more involved in that one, but as it stands, it's Ohio State furthering their advantages, willing to fight, and Nexus honestly carrying a lot of these, has gone Lichbane third.
Oh wow.
A very aggressive build on Italy. You mentioned Rod of Ages, getting Cougar form, have the extra health to get in there, but now the takedown damage is going to be immense.
That's going to be absolutely insane. If he actually lands a spear on Door and follows it through, that could be his entire health bar there.
Yeah.
He could one combo Door.
One combo, any of the squishies on MSU. I completely agree. It's going to be a real risk here for the red side. Quick stun, quick pickup there. Peridot getting a blue buff. 0-2-1, not the most auspicious scoreline, but not entirely all his fault. Oh, missed Cocoon. The stun's going to land. Indian Mama dangerously low on HP, and he's got nowhere to go. Repels into the air, tries to run away, won't happen. Nexus is now on a rampage, and the retreat coming out from Michigan State. Spartans turning tail and running. Yeah, plenty of damage coming out from Vanilla, but it's just not really enough. The tanks are huge. He's not just damaging enough yet on this Caitlyn. Oh, that hook was massive, and it's going to turn one back around. Raipu trying to keep his team in the game. These hooks are game-changing.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is why you pick the Blitzcrank. It's very contested in high ELO as well. There's always those ban, like how much it's worth, and Blitzcrank is always up there in high ELO, and this is why he turns the game on its head. And look at this again!
Through a trap, through a kill, beautiful stuff. The pick finally paying off, just like the game started. MSU, 4-man in the mid lane.
They're finally going to get this turret. It's the long con, 28 minutes later.
But it's going to work.
They'll pick up this mid turret.
It was good all along.
It'll be the first turret they get, too. And Michigan State University pick up that mid turret that has just been mocking them the entire game.
But it means a lot more is on the table. Nexus is still dead. Peridot's gone for another 20 right here, so it means 2 turrets in the same push. His gold lead was pretty massive, but no, Arun gets pulled back into his own stun chamber. Gets a kill. Raipu, that was the wrong guy to hook. That's the risk you pay sometimes, and now Vanilla Salt not in a good spot either. Flash and run away, but Arun one's not going to be stopped. This will be a kill picked up, a double for him. That is his next up at the table, a triple for the Echo.
That's going to be Baron. for OSU, the Ohio State University, the Buckeyes, they're looking right at it. They want this objective. It'll help them close this game out with that 8K gold lead. Indian Mama is up. Smite will not be up for this, though. The long smite. It's not that 15-second one in between.
They're not even going to
Really
contest,
close,
really.
though.
Door could use the book, but that would be it. Ulti's going to get popped. Not going to be properly timed.
Yep.
A very early smite, but still taken down properly. Nexavis getting the killing blow, and Baron could mean a potential game-winning push for Ohio State.
Yeah, it could be. And right here, Indian Mama caught out. Peridot throws down the damage. Nexavis has to blow his flash there, so he doesn't have it the next time he gets hooked. Like you were saying with the Alistar, hook him twice. Yep. And then he goes down, hook the Nidalee twice, and it'll work out. Vanilla Salt throwing down some damage, and then the ultimate, Nexavis walks forward for a spear. Looked like he was kind of trusting in the fact that Peridot might land the stun and then the follow-up. But then, yeah, able to siege this down, able to continue forward. Peridot walks forward, and yeah, not respecting Raipu. Oh, throws the E over a Dynasty as well. And yep, able to get enough damage on Strategical to push him off. But yep, they overstayed at the end of that.
And it means the game is back to almost 9,000 difference. Still a large lead for Ohio State. Plus, wearing the Baron buff means they can get a lot done in the next 2 minutes here.
And Arun is 3 levels up. This Echo has been a huge problem this entire series. Whether it was early and late game here or late game in the last one, this is a big champion for him. I think it allows him to siege, it allows him to dive, it allows him to set up these plays, and him and Nexavis have been the 2 shining stars of the Ohio State University squad. But look at that. But he's going to get out.
When you shine the brightest, they're easier to see. Arun 1 stuck on this side of the wall now. Plenty of damage being dealt, but he's going to stay alive thanks to being tanky. Dynasty now in the front line. This Poppy dangerously low. Hook's not going to mean much of anything, and he will not quite burn to death. Dynasty lives, but there's still a numbers advantage that he has to go back and heal.
Try to set up those traps. Vanilla Salt, oh, that one's a little bit too far forward. No ulti here for Arun. See what happens. Vanilla Salt takes a spear. Ooh.
Yeah, if hooks can chunk people down, so can javelins, and it's going to mean that MSU had to give away control of the inhibitor. So more of the map now under control for Ohio State. Up 12,000 now. It's huge.
Yeah, and the dragon spawns in 5 seconds here. It would be the 4th one for the Ohio State University, but the Spartans, they need to get there. They need to pick up their first one, stop that from going into the hands of OSU. And
well, some damage
combo
on Peridot.
used.
Yep. Bacon Seeker uses the stun combo. Here comes the re-engage through with the Nidalee. 2 tanks in the front line. Bacon Seeker finally pops in. The unbreakable Wells. Vanilla Salt forces the QSS run away. Gets just assassinated. Peridot taking him down. A great kill picked up, and now Dynasty is left alone. He's got nothing to fight for. 2 kills yet again for Ohio State.
And Dora wasn't even a part of that fight. Dora was still trying to show up. Raipu also on the side, not able to do anything. Has to hook, pick up a little bit of gold. And that's going to be a push here from the Ohio State University. They want to end it. They have Baron buff for a little bit longer, only a couple more seconds, but it's going to be more than enough here.
They've got enough time with the 5v3 to make this one happen. Looking for the 2-0 start to the series. They could be 1 game away from being the winners. Hook into the back line will not quite take down Arun 1, and another kill picked up on an Indian Mama. There they are on the Nexus, and now showing Michigan State how it's done. When you get that Nexus available, you knock it down right away. A 32-minute victory. Well played to the Buckeyes yet again.
Didn't have to play from behind too much in this game, ending up getting CS advantages right off the bat. Strategical with a level advantage on the AD carry role, able to get some leverage there, because Strategical isn't really their star player. It's that top half of the map. It's the jungle top lane synergy that they try to push on that side. The Ohio State University, they know where their strengths lie, and then they wait for that mid-late game. They're able to pick up the win here, and it was rather convincing in this game. Raipu was the only thing that really threw a wrench in there, and it was only a temporary one. They were able to actually get a large enough advantage with their jungler and then able to close it out there. So, like you said, actually early game in terms of game time.
Right, I mean, it's a solid game overall, and it honestly makes me question what the decision-making was for Michigan State in picks and bans, because you gave away the first pick, Nidalee, which just, in my mind, is still just the most insane jungler right now, and something you have to be really loath to give away. And then on top of that one, you also still have to look at the Echo.
Yeah, you don't get Echo.
Like, Ohio State first picked Echo red side alongside Poppy. Like, they put a very high priority on securing this champion. It's super important to them. And not only was it not banned, but it wasn't even picked away, when like Elise was grabbed, and like Elise is not even important to the draft right
It's not
now.
contested
There's
anymore.
no contest anymore on the jungler, and yet you're still giving away probably the premier top laner significantly later on in the draft, which just should not be possible.
Yeah, you're supposed to take things that are contested,
Yeah.
and you don't have to hide too many things at that point. You know the Nidalee's coming through. They take Caitlyn, Elise, not 100% on the Elise, like
Caitlyn
you
I
said.
can see, but yeah, I would much rather have seen Echo instead of the Elise for sure. I think it's a stronger draft when you do that, provided your top laner can play the champion.
Yep.
And that is sometimes the rub here is when you're not at the fully professional level, these guys are full-time students, right? They can't dedicate their entire lives to playing League of Legends and brushing up on new champions. Finals are happening, right? Like this is an important sort of, division of your attention and what's important in your life, and sometimes you don't have the champions, but then use a ban.
Yeah.
You've got 3 bans to spend. Like, the Anivia main's still getting Anivia in there, right? Like, there are bans to free up here that you can send on these players and knock them down a couple of pegs, and I think that's something that a resource that Michigan State needs to use.
Yeah, they might have to change up their bans there, but we'll hear what the analysts think on the other side of the stage.
Thank you very much, Zyrene. The Buckeyes now OSU up 2-0 in this series. A more definitive win here. However, let's talk about the champion select that both Freak and Zyrene were talking about right there, because they're questioning that Elise pick in the first rotation, which I think, again, at the professional level, you would look at it and you say, well, they've already picked the Nidalee. You can go ahead and save your jungler. You don't need to jump on that. This is the time to go and take those series priority picks like the Echo away. However, in the context of the strategy that they're setting up with the Blitz and the Elise together, there is something to be said for, hey, they just want to secure that there.
Right. You can see that they have a very specific strategy that they're going to go for, and we'll see it once we get into the game. But you still need to react to what's happening in the draft. You can't go in with such a solid strategy, like this is what we're going to do 100%. If the Echo falls through, take the Echo right there. Push the Elise back a little bit. It's not a high priority pick. It's not going to get taken away from you. Take that second rotation and start reacting to what they do. Also, like the Nidalee, I don't like leaving that up ever. Red side.
Yeah, red side not banning Nidalee is definitely a scary thing to do. However, I mean, when we look at these players in their champion pools, no one on MSU really does play that Echo, right? So it wasn't something. I mean, that's a detriment to the team if you're sitting on the red side and you can't play.
I feel like top lane Echo isn't like a tremendously hard champion to play. Like, no offense, I think a lot of the tank players top are pretty easy to play. And I can understand maybe you're not practiced enough at hitting the W, but that takes maybe couple 5-10 games of practice, and you should be okay at doing it.
Hey man,
and
it's
even
hard
if you
to
do,
build.
even if you do whiff it, it's like, well, you still get like an 800 shield, so it's okay. I just think that they all in on the strategy, and it just didn't pay out for them.
Yeah, let's get into that strategy, because I thought it was very interesting. We talked at the beginning of the day. What are these teams going to do to shake things up? Can they evolve the meta themselves? Here we see MSU going for a very early push down the mid lane.
Right, and the idea here is that you have a lot of CC and catch, so when the Blitzcrank finally hits a hook, you can blow that person up. But the problem with the strategy is the Elise comes into lane at level 2, so when he finally hits this nasty hook, the Elise does nothing. There's no cocoon, there's no follow-up, just flash away and they can't get the kill. So while the strategy you can see had opportunities for success, the actual execution wasn't quite there. If the Elise came in at 3, they delayed that a little bit more. I think it could have worked. I don't know.
I think it actually would have been crazy. Like I think I've done comps like this before.
Yeah.
When I was playing on Dig, like I've done like
I didn't like screaming you.
cheesier style stuff like this. And I think that the idea of their comp is really, really strong. Like Caitlyn Trap, Blitz Hook, it's really, really good into mobile mid laners that don't lane very well. So stuff like Anivia, stuff like Cassin. I think the best way to play this strat though is they still do it out normally. They dual bot lane, and then they wait for their jungler to make one clear while Ezreal is just farming mid lane. And as soon as they can push up the wave after one clear, they coordinate their level 3 jungler and they rotate mid lane off that one clear, and they have like one timing or where they have 1 or 2 waves, and they look for poke and fish under the tower. I think that would have been like a great time. Like I would have been like wowed by that move.
Yeah, I mean, I love the idea here. Strategically, I love what they were trying to put together. The execution of it, not fantastic. Stealing away the red buff, though, and then the immediate rotation. As you mentioned, Elise not level 3 because she didn't go and do a full clear before making it to the mid lane, so they can't capitalize on that blitz hook. And ultimately what this meant is that Lucian gets a ton of free farm in the bot lane. They don't push the turret down in the mid lane. And we saw a bit of a CS discrepancy grow, which then allowed turret takes on the side of OSU, snowballing to a 4K gold lead by 12 minutes. I mean, that's insurmountable in a lot of people's minds.
And one of the things that I think you pointed out in the draft was like, they went with Ezreal, who you understand why. He has a lot of poke. He's very annoying in the lane, so when you're all grouped up as 4, he's just shooting Qs at you and making it really hard to deal with. But it actually doesn't help you like get those picks, get that really strong like turret damage, and then should the strategy not 100% work, your Ezreal is so useless because he's so far behind. He's a very gold-dependent champion, and once that happens, and which is what happened, the Ezreal did nothing the whole rest of the game. He didn't even like power spike till I think
It was
30
like
minutes.
30 minutes?
Yeah.
Let's move ahead to game 3 real quick. Given this another defeat for MSU, backs against the wall here. They need to pick up a win in order to extend this series to a 4th game and then possibly a 5th. So Skara, do they go for another unique strategy like this? Are they trying to throw them off guard, or do they return back to more standard play and just try and win it out?
I actually really like the Blitzcrank. Like, I think the Blitzcrank is really effective against teams that don't have much experience against them, especially like as you go farther from pro play, you have a lot more openings for poor positioning on the enemy team. And it really looked like the enemy team didn't really have an idea of how to deal with Blitz. So if they want to do like some kind of wonky support pick, I prefer a Blitz over Sion 100%. I think they should just bank on the fact that their jungler plays a great Kindred. They can either look to ban away Nidalee, or they can take Nidalee and just work with like Nidalee Blitz or Kindred Blitz and have a tanky top laner. I think they can get a lot of picks with that comp. It's really stable, and honestly, the only thing they just run their first game 1 comp with a better front line and better pick potential. I think they can just win off that.
Right, and I think for OSU, just keep doing what they're doing. A lot of their bans are very effective. I love the Maokai ban. I'm not sure about the Zillion, but I'm going to guess there's a basis for that, and they're clearly outperforming their counterparts. So I'm a big fan in the best of series to keep what you're doing if the other team can't handle it.
Yeah,
There's no reason to change it up.
To my knowledge, the Zillion ban is in combo with a Mordekaiser that can be played in the bot lane. So very, very strange pocket picks there.
I hope they drop that ban so I can see it.
So now
then.
you want to see it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's going to do it for game 2 here. The Buckeyes up 2-0 in this series. We'll be back in just a few minutes to see if the Spartans can run it back for our 3rd or 4th game. Well, we'll be back at the Big Ten Network Invitational in just a few minutes. Stay with us.
Welcome back, everyone, to PAX East. We've got some amazing cosplayers in attendance. Thank you guys so much for being a part of what makes gaming so awesome. We are here, of course, also to witness the Big Ten Network Invitational here.
I really like that Tarek cosplay.
Yes.
The V was
The proper-
just deep enough.
I mean,
not the super deep V though.
I mean, the V is so deep, it looks like the letter H. Like, it's really what we're going out here for. Like, it just feels like it's just two parallel lines, and that's just what the cut of the shirt is. It's basically a vest. That's what I'm going for
Nice.
here. Tarek just wears a vest with no undershirt. That's roughly how the outfit goes. But yes, we are here for Game 3 of, as I said before, the Big Ten Network Invitational between the Ohio State University Buckeyes and Michigan State University Spartans here. Game 1 was incredibly close and was a comeback win for Ohio State. Game 2, Michigan State tried something very interesting and it nearly worked. But unfortunately, it was a pretty snowbally fast win for Ohio State. So 1 win away from winning 6 straight games in a row against Michigan State.
Exactly. If you look at the record, they're 6-1 this year with the Ohio State University having those 6 wins. But looking at that record is going to be a little deceptive because these games have actually been a little bit closer. That first one was very, very intense.
Yeah.
The second one, that was a strategy, and you showed the confidence that Michigan State had in that strategy. It didn't go right for them, and they clawed their way back a little bit. Raipu was able to hook a bunch of people, but still, Ohio State University had control the entire time.
And we are finally seeing some adaptation here out of Michigan State University. The Brahmin Trundle bands haven't been going anywhere, but the Echo band finally gets added in. And once again, there's a chance that a Nidalee or a Kindred first pick Ohio. So you have to think about what they want to remove as the final option here in the banning phase, the draft before the game.
So what's being left up here from Michigan State University side is the Morgana ban that they have banned the last 2 games. And that's going to be the Kindred ban there, so that I'm expecting is going to be a Nidalee first pick here.
Yeah.
But that means Poppy goes over to OSU.
That Kindred ban felt like a little bit of a throwaway in that I think there were other things that were pinchable. We'll see what they consider really valuable here in this one.
Shout out to the cosplayers.
Shout out to the cosplayers who were just there. Thank you guys for being a part of this one. Massive props for that. But yeah, exactly. If you're expecting the Kindred first pick or the Nidalee first pick to come through in the first place, and that's the obvious sort of choice, I find the Kindred ban a little bit strange, but maybe it'll pay out further down the line. And yeah, as you mentioned, Poppy's still on the table, who despite the nerfs in 6.7 is still a highly sought after top laner, definitely still top tier.
Yeah, range nerfs as well as a little bit of damage, but still, everybody wants it. The E is a 2-second stun at max rank. 1.6 at rank 1, so incredibly good gank assistance. Able to stop move blocks, which is something that I think very little champions in our game have.
Right, yeah, it's a really powerful skill to have, and you keep people inside your little zone of terror, and you start killing things pretty quickly, despite how short she is. That is a Yordle that packs a wallop. Well, Ohio State, no surprise here, though. Poppy and Alistair picked up 3 straight Alistair games for Bacon Seeker on support. Michigan State saying, yeah, we know you play Anivia, and you're probably going to play it this game as well. The question is, will they do anything else? Dynasty, again, is his most plays were like Biora and Gangplank, and if he wants to go for another carry-style top laner and play Graves top, that's totally available. And it also pinches another jungler off of the sort of top tier. It usually goes Nidalee, then Kindred and Graves, then the rest of them. And with Kindred banned and Nidalee picked up, I would actually like to see a Graves steal.
Yeah, and then Nexus would most likely go to Evelyn at that point.
Right.
A champion that he plays rather well, but not
And they
meta.
will.
And yeah.
Oh, it is also worth pointing out, though, I've seen a number of collegiate AD carries play Graves ADC. And I forget which ones in particular, but I remember watching a lot of the regional, conference final games. I'd seen quite a lot of Graves in the bot lane, so there's always a chance that Vanilla Salt plays it himself, and Dynasty is still waiting to counterpick top lane.
I believe he does. I think I looked at some of their matches, and he plays it. But we'll see what he ends up going.
It's worth pointing out, Nexus played Poppy jungle in the first game as well, so as far as where that Poppy's going, I mean, you can push Arun 1 down even farther in the top lane champion tier list pool, but I guess that's the question to see. And as you mentioned, the Morgana ban was left up, and that means it could quickly go into the mid lane here for Peridot. The question is what he wants to play. Of course, his trademark Anivia was still on the table. Just up to them to make the choices about what kind of comp they want to run. Pretty much the rest of their champions are all going to be uncontested, so it's just about crafting what fits here.
Morgana Lucian, possibly. Oh, Karma.
Karma Lucian.
Karma for the mid lane here.
I do like Karma and Poppy together. Any sort of hasting sort of partial support mid laner, I really love alongside Poppy, because all she wants to do is be in range of you. And if your teammates can help make that happen, it's just a world of powerful.
Yeah, as stock in other roles go up, like Scar was saying, top lane, jungle is incredibly important.
Yeah.
The mid lane becomes more and more of a utility role.
More supportive
we see
often.
Karma, we see Lulu, we see Zillion as well. So these champions, especially Karma, has just seen her stock raise over time as supporting a top laner just becomes more and more effective.
Absolutely agree, and we're going to see that be happening here. And the final choice is who's going to be jungling versus top laning here for Ohio State. Michigan State backs against the wall. They're down 0-2 in this best of 5. They must win this game to stay alive here. And we had courteously asked all the players to please try to win some games, bring it to 5. Love to cast some more games. Tristana coming through for Vanilla Salt. He hasn't played it a lot in the recent history, but also the Scion support coming back through as well. So it is going to be Gravestop after all. Tristana, Scion on the bot lane.
Interesting bot lane combo. There's a
Yeah.
little bit of early game pressure here. I know what you can also do is throw the charge onto somebody, just hit them a bunch of times. I believe you can also throw it on minions, correct?
Yes, you can.
So then you do that.
And then
Scion
you
ease it away.
throw them back with the Scion.
Into it.
With the forward auto attack in the air. Minion flies at the champion, blows up.
I would not put it past Raipu and Vanilla Salt to try that.
Yeah, I mean, I already do like how Michigan State are playing the game in general. They have a lot of fun strategies going on. They do some things that are off the wall, which I personally enjoy as a commentator, and it's just a lover of the game. But
welcome to Collegiate.
Yeah, I know. Oh, and the Gangplank does come through after all. So, Gangplank was played in Game 1 by Michigan State, now in Game 3 by Ohio State, and we're going to have that Gangplank top come through with a, yet again, Poppy jungle for Nexavis.
Yeah, it was very effective last time he played it in Game 1. He was able to actually pick up some turrets, though, and that was the big thing, is he was left unchecked a couple of times, despite Indian Mama being incredibly fed. I do think this is a great pick, though. Having the Poppy into the Nidalee, you stop the W jump, the first one, so kind of stops that, makes it so that your backline's a little bit safer. And Poppy by herself is an incredibly good peeler, so they're going to be able to keep the Gangplank okay with the Poppy and Alistar, as well as the Karma.
Right, it's still a team with several tanks in the Poppy jungle and the Alistar support, with 3 backliners, support of Karma to add some tankiness as well. Ohio State with, yet again, a well-rounded composition with a lot of tools in there. Michigan State, meanwhile, yet again, a high damage composition. Graves top, Nidalee jungle, Ari mid, Tristana AD carry, all squishy backliner types of champions. And again, just relying on purely the support Scion to be a tank, which is normally not the strongest of tanks.
Yeah, it's not the most optimal strategy
He's
right
very
now.
gold focused.
Exactly. He's gold focused. Also, Scion gets health when he ends up killing minions, and he doesn't get to kill a lot as a support. So a little bit of a wasted effort there, or a wasted part of the champion's kit.
Sure. Some of the power is in stacking help, which you just won't have.
Exactly. A lot of his power budget's in there too. We'll see what he's able to soak up though as a support, but we mostly see that top lane tank. You get a lot of gold. You get items that are rather cheap and rather effective. Iceborne Gauntlet. You also have the Sunfire Cape in there as well. So, little surprised by the picks that have been coming out, but it looks like Michigan State have been having a lot of fun with this.
Yeah, they've been having a lot of
what
fun.
they like.
And I agree. And it's so fun to watch because they do unique things. I honestly do think their comps are defensible at the very least in terms of the types of champions they were getting, the comps they're putting together, the 5-man groups. And now it's time to watch how Graves can do in the Gangplank. Here we go into Game 3 of the Big Ten Network Invitational between Michigan State University and Ohio State University. MSU hoping to pull a game back. They're down 0-2 in this series.
At Michigan State University, they all grouped up level 1 in the first game, and it's pretty much been a split up every time from Ohio State University, and now it's just going to be straight invade. They see the ward.
I didn't go for it. They all could have auto-attacked the 4-range champions.
Double ward there, so a little bit of miscommunication from Michigan State University, and that's going to prompt Ohio State University to ward up, make sure they get some jungle wards.
And there's the standard sort of shallow aggressive wards. They'll track some of the movements that MSU are going to have around that side of the map, and it will be enough to know what the start is. One of the great things about League is how much you sort of have to extract and how much you can extract from limited information. So one of the big tenets of this game is a lot of the game is obscured in Fog of War. You actually can't tell what your opponents are doing, but by seeing where they're not, you know what they likely are doing. And you can infer from there where they're going next. And you can actually track your opponents with something as simple as a ward that only spots one champion. And that's going to be what Ohio are sort of in a position to do with the wards they do have. They can see that it's Nidalee Graves starting top side. They can estimate the Nidalee jungle route from there. They will guess that Tristana and Scion are starting on these Krugs, which they are, and we'll have mirrored lanes.
Kill the small one first. Make sure that it just blows up and you're fine. And yep, that's going to be quick clear here from both sides. Indian Mama gets his jungle round underway. Interested to see what happens in this top lane because no tanks up there. It's actually just brute force against brute force. Graves does have a little more shoving potential early on though.
Interestingly, it's a red buff start from Nexavis, so he's got the red buff, he's running all the way to Wolves right away. So a different sort of start here. Raipu just trying to zone out Bacon Seeker, and once again, Strategical gets the solo XP on the Gromp, hits level 2 right away, and it's just onto him to sort of 1v2 the lane early on. Vanilla Salt tries to fight back, but now it's double level 2, and Raipu can start throwing minions at people, harassing his opponents.
And the fact that Bacon Seeker isn't level 2 yet, a little bit of missed opportunity there. I know Vanilla Salt was a little low on HP, but 2 level 2s versus a 2 and a 1, I would take that pretty much every opportunity I could.
Yeah, but we're back to equal levels here. Now Bacon Seeker goes in for the play, and the Pulverize still stops everything else out. Look at the trade back under Strategical. If you go in onto the trade, guess what? Sion charges the Q, and you lose a lot of health in that Lucian.
Yeah, we don't see a lot of Sion support, so playing against it might be a little odd, but it's definitely something that has good power and is justifiable on that role.
Wow, Dora's already out of mana. Peridot completely outplaying the matchup Karma versus Ahri. But now Nexavis, gets the stun onto the wall. Indian Mama flashed away from the second half of Q. Yeah, knew full well he was not going to be able to pounce away from this one, but now Vanilla Salt again in a trade against Strategical. Alistair does have some healing, but Sion's got some damage. They land the stun. And Alistair still has not learned.
Oh, he's going to flash and E him in.
Oh, this could be...
Oh, no, he doesn't go for it. Okay,
ripplingly bad. He still can. He still can.
And we'll see.
Looking for the flash stun on the door. There it is, into the wall, into the kill, into the first blood. Beautifully played, Ohio State University. First blood.
Make sure he flashes for it. Strategical, no, not going to go down. But yeah, Nexavis has had a lot of pressure here as a Poppy jungle. I mean, I'm happy that he does, but here comes Dynasty. They know Nexavis has no flash.
2 versus 1, a bit of a missed pounce, but here comes the run, doing what damage he can to the Graves. Oh, a Javelin misses.
One more.
But one more hit will do it. There's the kill. Thanks to the double buff transfer, says Dynasty gets back into the game.
Yep. Nexavis, he was doing really well at the start. He was able to get the flash out of Indian Mama, get that gank in mid lane for first blood, and set up his mid laner, Peridot. But overextension there. That's where you get greedy. You think, I'm taking so much from this guy, and you just try to take a little bit too much. That Gromp is that one tiny bit further. Maybe you go for a Scuttle Crab, but the Gromp is, at that point, that's where the greed is.
Here comes the play, though. Red buffs are on, a Rune 1 flashes. Javelin's gonna miss, but the flash come in, the takedown and the kill, and a 2-kill start now for Dynasty in the top lane.
Yep, big end of the line there against the wall. And with double red buffs, everybody's slowing you. It basically becomes a situation where that's what's gonna happen. So they shut down a Rune in the top lane. Getting him off that Echo seems to be something that's going to work out. He is still up in CS's gangplank. Something you have to worry about. But Dynasty, I think he's going to have a much easier time in this lane for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, definitely will. It's not going to have a really cushy recall now, thanks to getting 2 kills. He is rich right now on his Graves. And yeah, 1,400 gold means 4 long swords if he wants them, which I wouldn't be surprised to see, honestly. Vamp Scepter, wait, 4 long swords are bust, buddy.
Looks like he went with boots, not bust. Not quite.
I know.
Yeah, he wants to be able to chase him down the lane. And I think it is kind of the right choice here against what Gangplank already has, especially since he has Grasp of the Undying and becomes an annoying sustain tool. I think it's okay. Death Stance first.
Yeah, I get it. I just wanted to see something aggressive. Well, headbutt into the wall. Bacon Seeker takes explosive charge, though. Good dash away by Strategical to not get knocked up by the Sion Q.
I mean, he could have gone for pickaxe, right?
Yeah.
But he wants the sustain. It's a choice he's going to make. He's going to play the lane safe.
Well, Vampire was correct here.
Yeah. Anyway, Peridot gets the pink ward off on the right side, and they just have complete vision control over the right side jungle here. The Ohio State University, you can see it's completely bare there for Michigan State University's vision, which you're seeing right now. And they see Nexavis stroll on into the top lane. See if Dynasty ends up trying to bait it, or what ends up happening.
Another good charm. It's going to land and do. No, the minion gets in time. Whoa.
Secret Service.
Secret Service minions. That was massive. Blocking the skill shot would have been a disaster if he didn't, really.
Yeah, it's a huge chunk out there. And that's the whole point of the Karma kit. Speed yourself up, W the person. As soon as they root, you mantra Q and try to get both hits of it off.
Yep. Another trade attempt going in, though. The rocket jump in for the play. Level 5, though. Oh, no. Pulverized. Exhausted. Summoner heal burned as well. Strategical still has his summoners, and that was a lost trade. Michigan State's AD carry lost both his summoners for that.
Oh, by the way, Peridot, this isn't where you want to be.
Root into attempted pounce, swipe, and everything else goes in for that one, jumps over the Mantrid Inner Flame, but not much more else done.
I believe that Indian Mama is already level 6. Door is not. Door is still level 5. They're waiting on that.
Another headbutt, looking for the pulverize on a Vanilla Assault. Won't get it just yet, but he has to rocket jump out of this one. Now exhaust burn because here comes Nidalee. Nowhere to go. The kill gets picked up despite the flash heal was never used, and the rocket jump hits Bacon Seeker into the knockup, and a double kill for Indian Mama.
And this is going to be huge because Vanilla Assault now up in CS has the pickaxe, and the Tristana build that we have been seeing lately has been that Rageblade Tristana early game. Tristana has a good early game, kind of a bad mid game, and the Rageblade covers that. The Rageblade makes it so that your mid game is really good and you get over that hump. You end up selling the Rageblade later because it becomes less stat efficient and you pick up more crit items and you try to get towards that point as well. So we'll see what he ends up going with here. Granted, it could still be an IE first, but I think it's the Rageblade here for Vanilla Assault.
Well, if he recalls, he doesn't have enough for the BF sword, so we'll see if it's Blasting Wand or not. Otherwise, he's got to go close to the Childian Boots, and it is going to be the Rageblade start for Trist. So if he plays it the same way as Stixay did, it's Hurricane second, Infinity Edge third, and then you keep adding damage from there. We'll see if that ends up being the build.
It's kind of like a mobile Kog'Maw that ends up scaling with crit, shredding tanks later.
Yeah. Which, by the way, Kog'Maw should buy anyway.
Yeah.
Everyone should build crit late game.
The
best stat in the game.
True, it's very good. Here we
Level
go.
6
Transform.
on the pain train coming in, looking for Karma, won't quite find it, but still lands a slow. It will a lot more damage. That was a fat-fingered flash. Peridot ignited, but also flashed forward, gave up his life for it.
It's an ambitious flash there, but yes, it's most likely fat-fingered. We're going to see the back off here because Arun throws down the ultimate. Strategical has pressure on the bot side. It's a lot of people from MSU dedicated to this mid lane. They like to play through mid. They like to get this mid turret as soon as possible.
Hey, you've got a Tristana at any level in the game. That's worth going in for a turret. So really nice play. Just recalls, blocks in the mid lane. The whole team roams in. That's an outer turret.
That was a solo turret gold to Raipu, the support.
Hey, Cyan needs gold.
He does. So does everybody else?
Yes. You know, it was the we want to rotate faster strategy.
Sometimes when cool guys don't look at explosions, you miss out on some gold.
Yeah. Did you know being near explosions gives you gold?
They'll try it
in League of Legends, not real life.
Yeah. You have to make that distinction.
Yes, I figured that was a really important, line to draw, as though we were unaware otherwise.
Yeah.
Nexus takes the bottom side Scuttle Crab, and ooh, the Dragon gets a little feisty on this one, so Poppy's gonna run away. Lollipop, hammer in hand. Gonna do okay for himself as he walks back to his side of the map, but Michigan State with a better lead than they had in game one, honestly. This is a really, really solid early game from them. That first pick, Nidalee, paying huge dividends.
Right now, Indian Mama is once again having a really good game. Just like that game one. Michigan State University were having a really good time. All the kills on him. 2-0 and 2 right now. Only missed out on one of them. And Ohio State University, they are on match point right now. If they win one more, that's the 3-0 in the best of 5. Raipu gonna look for some damage here on Bacon Seeker.
Well, in the knockup, and Alistair's gonna be at half HP right now, so a little bit painful for him, but he's gonna be totally fine. He's still got the ulti available. Well, actually, sorry. Yeah, Leaf has it up, and he'll be fine with that one before too terribly long.
Yeah, he does have it up. Nexus looking for that top lane, though, trying to tilt that matchup again. We'll see. Indian Mama's tracking him.
He's tracking the backside. Nice ulti to get away. Will not get wall stun slowed down, but now comes the re-engage. Javelin hits nothing at all.
Has the red.
But yeah, it does mean a slow. And now will they get away from the hammer? Yeah, she'll let it cancel out, and that'll go on a 30-second cooldown.
Raipu
again looking for the mid lane. He wants Karma yet again, and even though they say Karma always catches up, this time it's Cyan who does just that. And Indian Mama, well-deserved, steals away the kill.
Oh man, Raipu has been so good this entire series. And in case you're just tuning in, you're watching the Michigan State University versus the Ohio State University show match, the Big Ten Network Invitational here for League of Legends. And Raipu has just been on fire. The Blitzcrank to Scion, he's been looking really good despite his team not having a single victory so far in the first 2 games.
But they could change that right now, and in League of Legends, you can always come back and win the rest of the series. We've seen some reverse sweeps in our time, so as long as they don't feel too daunted, this could go quite well. for the white and green.
That's the first dragon picked up for Michigan State University. They're going to get this turret as well. All 3 outer turrets, so it's a role reversal here. We were talking about how 4,000 gold at 12 minutes. Well, it's 4,000 gold at 11.5 here for Michigan State University as an advantage. And Dash was saying it on the desk. Some people consider it insurmountable here. We'll see if that ends up being true. Checks the wrong bush.
And boop. You got, like, if you're going to check one brush with Q, at least ward the other one. He could have gotten the auto attack down.
Yeah.
Really not the worst thing in the world, though. Either way, attempted roam, knows that Dynasty got the recall off. He did spot him at the very end there. And, well, Graves going to be totally fine with an early Death Dance. 12 minutes in, that is a head Graves. And now the chance to charm will hit Nexavis. GP ulti comes across, he's going to knock 2 away. No, Vanilla Assault, rocket jump through it. And that will be a kill picked up to the Tristana. 1-0-2, Rageblade Trist ready to siege.
Yeah, that little bunny hop there from Vanilla Assault puts him on the other side of the ultimate. And he did not get knocked away. He's able to follow, get those last few shots on the explosive satchel.
Yeah, he actually canceled through it. He was hit, but the W was already casting. So he basically rocket jumped like through the Naka. You know, standard move block overlap rules apply, even with Poppy ultimate. Now the charm comes in to Bacon Seeker. But he's still going to have it pulverize off. Not a lot of damage dealt, though. They all walk away cleanly.
Yeah, still have to watch out for this top lane, though. Dynasty is split pushing, and something that Michigan State University have not been able to do all series long, unless it was Vanilla Assault. They had Vanilla Assault a couple times in and off lane, but having a user that has teleport as a summoner spell is just way better.
Yeah.
Now he gets to siege this turret, get a little closer to it, do more damage, and Nexavis has to take care of this. Nexavis has to put attention in this top side, which has been the most successful side of the map for the Ohio State University in the first 2 games.
Yeah, it has been, but this time around, it's really all of the map that's falling apart. It was the first blood with a great mid lane gank. Nexavis helping Peridot, who's finally doing well in his lane with this Karma mid. The switch of champions really did help Ohio State quite a bit, but the rest of these slide lanes have all been just attacked by Indian Mama's Nidalee, and it's really just taking this game apart right now. Michigan State can keep pushing forward depending on where their champions head next, and they all go back into the mid lane right as Peridot recalls. And the minion wave is far away. They've still got some time to go. Look for the play. He's going to get out to the far side of it, but does land a slow into not the knockup thanks to a hero headbutt coming in from the side. The explosive not going to be quite enough. The Slime will have to flash away from turret range. They're going to spell trade.
Yeah, but Peridot now has to back up numbers advantage in the mid lane and on the top side. There isn't really much that this gangplank can do about Dynasty's Graves.
Not much that Sign can do about this engage. Either a tackle him in the front door, gonna get hit quite hard. Charm comes through and it still means a kill on Alistair. A rocket after safety is gonna mean just fine things for Triss. Door can't get the damage, but still forces the flash away from Strategical. But now Rune 1 coming to join the fight. Explosives don't mean much there. The barrels hit no enemy champions.
Top lane again. It's gonna be
look
Dynasty.
at the damage.
Making sure he's really close to that turret, getting extra pellets into it, increasing that damage he does to it.
He's destroying that structure. He probably gets it.
Oh yeah.
He gets almost the whole thing this way.
If he quick draws,
if he has E, like it is last auto, he gets it regardless. Regardless of quick draw, but that's got to feel pretty good for him, kiting away and feeling good that it's now 4 turrets to 0. Aside from first blood, this is a perfect game from Michigan State.
And Michigan State University really striking back here in that game 1, though. They had that 7,000 plus gold lead, and then they threw it all away based on the scaling that the Ohio State University had when they messed up one time on MSU's side. So game 2, it was the cheesy strategy, and now we're getting more real gauge of where both these teams stand. We've seen Michigan State University have leads. We've seen Ohio State University come back.
Yeah.
I think they're actually more evenly matched than the 6-1 record would lead you to believe.
I definitely agree with that one, Zyrene. Definitely these teams are, I mean, they were number 2 and 3 in the conference for a reason.
Yep.
These guys are fairly close in overall skill. It just depends how well you play on the individual game and how all the fates lie when that happens. Indian Mama, though, definitely the major workhorse of the Michigan State lineup. And every single game that they look good is because he's doing exceptionally well, and he's doing so in this game. Pivotal game 3 that they must win to stay alive in the series.
Yeah, and when your best player plays the same role as their best player, and you start doing really well, but then you can tilt the entire matchup, and they don't have that crutch to lean on, and that
remove their advantage.
That kind of clutch player that you would expect. And it's going to be a siege here for Michigan State University.
Be the turret.
And they're just playing this so well. Last game, they struggled to even get 1 turret. You throw the Tristana in there, you get the Rageblade.
You got 5.
Vanilla Assault very easily able to pick up these turrets. And Dynasty, new guy on the squad, the substitute. I talked to Tazby behind the stage, the original top laner. He said, well, Dynasty honestly deserved the spot the entire time. Not just this match, but he deserved it the entire time.
But the charm hits, but he was still able to dash away. The Lucian's going to survive that one. Still a full explosive charge hits the turret, knocking that one down to about 3/4. Rocket jump away, Vanilla Salt's going to be just fine.
Now Dynasty gets to get some more bot lane turret damage. Gets to clear this mini wave out. One end of the line ends up clearing out those casters. Now gets to walk up. He doesn't care. He does not care one bit about Arun's damage right now. It's Trinity Force, and that's it.
Charm's gonna miss the flash into the wall. Door's gonna lose a lot of health. Headbutt pulverize means the kill for Strategical. And now the re-engage right because nope, I am taking the train out of here. Turns back on a sign, he's gonna be fine.
And nice flash from Nexavis there.
Yeah,
hit him
huge.
against it.
That's the second time he's been able to flash charge Door into a wall and kill him.
Yeah, it's the 2 kills. Those are the 2 kills that have come through for the Ohio State University. Just flash on both of them from Nexavis and the heroic charge, but what is it going to net them? They're going to get this mid lane turret. They're going to get a little bit of pressure. Lose out on the Dragon. Not a big deal. It's only Dragon 2. But they get a little bit of gold. And look at this, Indian Mama and Dynasty.
Arun one now on the wrong side of this one. Going to get jumped down. Flash burn, but it does not mean much of anything. Gangplank says in the final collateral damage, but Indian Mama should have it with the pounce into the takedown, into the kill, picked up thanks to Swipe in the end.
Yeah, and that push, giving him that extra movement speed from the Nidalee passive to just catch up and execute, no problem.
Good awareness to do that. Yeah. I forgot about the passive, but you're right.
I mean, he had Swifty boots as well, right?
Sure, he's probably going to get him regardless, but the optimization of going into the branch was very smart.
Yeah, just dip right in. And that's the thing I've noticed about Nidalee players is they're also very conscious of where the bushes are and they can dip into them. It's the same with Rengar players. People who are rather seasoned on those champions instead of just picking them up because they're good at the time.
Yeah, that it's obviously like on the screen in front of you, but just the immediate knowledge of, yeah, I'm going to run in here, even though it's not the straight line, because I intuitively understand that's faster for me.
Exactly. You never really see that as, oh, this is going to give me extra movement speed. You're like, no, this is out of my path, kind of going to slow me down, but no.
But it's actually better,
it's
right?
Better.
The right choice, and of course, well played. Michigan State looking wonderful now. Nearly a 7,000 lead at 19 minutes is a ridiculously large advantage to have. So
it's really big.
Yeah, that is huge. So there's a really good chance Michigan State does pull this one back and make it a 2-1 score.
See Vanilla Salt now online, got over the Rage Blade, the Blasting Wand Hump, which is where the Tristana can get shut down. But Vanilla Salt's still level 9 to the level 11 of Strategical. But you look at the item difference, and Vanilla Salt has 2 completed items. He's got the 2 core items that you need for this mid-game Tristana, despite now just turning level 10. Still, really, really good position for this Tristana to be in.
Definitely agree, and it's going to mean good things as, look at this, Michigan State are camping inside the Baron pit for the second that it spawns. Now, Ohio State have recalled as well. They're mostly on the map. Here comes the Baron spawn. And how fast can Hurricane Tristana kill it? Ward over the place, already the wall.
Oh, they can't see it.
Ohio State, no. Yeah, Pink Ward's too far away. And now another attempt, but he hits the wall. Sorry, buddy, the tracks don't go that way. Raipu gonna get rooted up as well. No, gets away just in time.
Yep, got to hit the switcher on that one. But we'll see. Look at that, Dynasty back into the top lane. He does have Rift Herald buff, so he does a lot of damage. He also has that really great cadence between his shots with the Phantom Dancer. And this Graves could honestly 1v1 pretty much anybody in this game right now.
Yeah, anyone on the enemy team at least. I think Italy would beat him, but hey, they're teammates. They're going to be okay. Definitely going to cause some level of concern here. As Ohio State don't have a lot of tools to work with. It's only been Nexavis playing around his teleport cooldown, sorry, his flash cooldown, but that's 5 minutes long almost.
Would be surprised if he didn't go Distortion Boots rather early, because it seems to be what's working out for them.
Yeah, honestly, that would be a little bit useful here.
Does have the Iceborne Gauntlet in opponents right now. Just needs a little bit more, but the gold's running away from him. He'll get
Pesky Raptor doesn't want to die. Don't you know your kind's extinct? Just
Raptors. Could have made them dodo birds too.
Sure.
Would have been the same thing. Unlucky.
Woolly mammoths.
Yeah, I mean, they used to be wraiths, right? So they were always extinct in a way.
I suppose. Depending on your view on wraiths. So I believe a topic we've never touched before.
It's true.
How do you feel about wraiths? I don't know.
Yeah, Raptors are better.
It's some kind of car in Halo, I think. And it's in many fantasy games, like League of Legends.
Yep. Anyway, back to this.
On to League of Legends, though.
Yeah,
Speaking of, 7,000 gold lead for Michigan State University. Looking for a bit more. Nice charm and a Bacon Seeker.
Yeah, and Michigan State University, Raipu is now just threatening, and we're seeing a 1-3-1 or 1-2-2 split push here. Dynasty in that top side. Raipu can't check the bush. Dynasty.
By the way, Dynasty getting just destroyed in the back line, into the jungle, and down he goes. A ill-conceived kill for that one. MSU now forced to run away. Another knock-up, a stun, and Raipu going to get hit up with the everything, and he's going to flash into nothing and die as well. Oh. Put it back into the Baron pit. Can't do anything, but now Door wants back in. Exhaust is on, and maybe he didn't want this fight after all. Another Mantra Q comes in, and what a huge misstep.
They're just trying to stall so that Vanilla Salt and Indian Mama can get the bottom inhibitor turret and
but is
the
that
inhibitor.
Worth it?
But that's the question. Is it going to be worth it at the end of the day? Now you're going to have half HP members here. They're going to get Alistar killed, though.
They're going for the 2 versus 4 attempt to stop the Baron. Graves is up in 3 seconds. There are wards nearby to teleport to. MSU must defend this 4,000 health left on Baron. They've got time. Tristana goes in.
What?
Vanilla Salt losing his health too rapidly. Goes down. Explosive charge will turn one back around. But now can they get any more? Teleport was started by Graves. And he's up on the left-hand side, chunked around. Overall, it is a 2-for-1.
Oh, Dodge is out there, but still, Indian
No
Mama's
man
really
on Peridot.
fast.
The root's going to land, though. It's going to help him buy some time. But this Javelin, it won't land. However, Indian Mama can still catch up to him. He's faster on this Nidalee. Mantra Debbie's going to mean a lot of health, and he's not going to get the swipe either. But Graves is still pushing up in the mid lane. There's still more coming in. Yeah, Door came around the wing thanks to his teleport. And by the way, bot and him is already dead, so bot lane is pushing in. They can switch to mid.
Yeah, they're going to switch to mid here, and if bot lane ends up being something they want to push through, there are 30 seconds on Peridot, but it's going to be this turret going down. They're going to be able to get this one in the inhibitor. And they don't have Vanilla Salt right now, so it is a 4-on-4. Have to be a little bit careful when it comes to taking this, and there they go.
They get it down, but the Gangplank barrels hit, and they get a lot of damage. Raipu's going to go down. Another death for the Scion, who had a great start, but is now starting to die a little bit. Still going to be okay, though, honestly.
He'll dance it out.
Yeah, he'll be okay. Michigan State, they're going to get right in line for Dragon number 3, and with 2 inhibitors down, they will have map control.
Oh, yeah.
However, Ohio State are coming back for this one.
Exactly. They have the 2 inhibitors you want, though, when Baron is on the table. And look at that. Oh,
a big tackle onto Door. Gangplank ulti on as well. And how much is the follow-up going to be? Dynasty. Oh, he gets the damage and deletes 2 of them already. Makes that 3. The counterattack is so strong. And Ohio State up into a 3v4.
And the pings are coming out. It looks like MSU want to push down, possibly remedy the problems from the first game and close this one out. Not lose focus on that Nexus.
There's still some poke, though. It's a little bit dangerous. A lot of low HP bars, and they realize, you know what? Peridot can actually poke us out. And Michigan State, they lost 15 seconds of that death timer just walking up the mid and turning back around. Now even going for Baron is a little bit of a risk.
Yeah, it's definitely actually a big risk here because Arun's about to be up. He has his TP. And speaking of the TP that happened before, Vanilla Salt jumped in when Dynasty was TPing to the top side of the map and not to the ward nearby. So
Indian Mama can just be killed now right by this.
That's risky.
This is not a good thing. Head up pulverize into Peridot's damage means the kill, the shutdown.
That's
and now
smite.
You've got to be really afraid of the fact that you've got no smite anymore. A massive knockup, and Michigan State have bitten off more than they can chew. Door goes down to Baron, and they've got to give away the map control.
Oh, if they had just gone straight to the Baron originally, they would have been able to pick it up. And that might be the Ohio State University getting the counter Baron now. And this is the poke out from Peridot. He's doing such a good job on this Karma.
And Michigan State have to decide, are they willing to just give away Baron? Are they willing to risk losing kills to stop the objective in the first place? They will kill off Peridot, and Dynasty's alive with Ignite on him, just surviving barely. Need to go very low on health as well. He can't fight much longer, but Raipu will be killed off. It's a 1-for-1 mid laner for support, but they stopped the Baron. That was the right choice on the backside.
Again, tossed into the pit. Poor Raipu. Nexus looking for a little bit more, though. Clear out that wave. And yeah, the TP to the top side. I'm really surprised he didn't go for that ward that's right there on the right-hand side. Tries to come across, but nope. Instead, slowed down a little bit. Throws out the ultimate, and yep, everybody just runs off to the right-hand side.
That was the first Baron. That was a while ago.
Yeah, that was a while ago. That was the previous one that they tried.
Oh, Bacon Seeker, though, speaking of previously trying, he's just going to go down and now into the push. The charm's going to land. The red buff is on. Another 2 kills picked up, and yet again, Michigan State are in control.
it's very hard for them to lose control of this game. But that poke from Karma, from Paradox, is what's keeping them in this. But is it going to be enough now?
The new guy on the team subbed in just for this series on Ohio State. The new mid laner is the one to try to carry the game and keep his team in it in a very difficult looking game 3.
Yeah, and a lot of that is off of Indian Mama's performance and also playing to Dynasty, playing to the Graves, and taking a rune off of that Echo. It seems to be making a world of difference now because he's on a punishable top laner that you don't worry about his tankiness later.
Well, look at all the wave, look at all the damage available. Gangplank Barrel nearly could have killed him, and now Raipu again stuck in the front line, has to flash away, but he's one hit from dead. Exhaust means nothing. Strategical gets another kill, and yet again, Michigan State cannot get anything done with that push. The turret didn't go down.
But
oh, the charge! Oh! That was a sick play by Dor. The charge flash was massive.
And while all of that was happening, they actually lost one inhibitor turret and possibly two here for Ohio State University.
Wow. If the champions can't do it, the minions that they've secured for themselves certainly can. This Gangplank and the Poppy trying to make it happen now, fighting into the back line. Vanillsoft, though, still alive. Does he have the damage, though? Gangplank can crit him down. He's got to be a bit careful. The flash in, the auto, the kill comes through. The shutdown is there, but Dynasty should trade it back. Another 2-for-1 should be in the favor of Michigan State and make that 3 as Vegas has nowhere else to go. Pounce will kill him. Nice headbutt to the minion. One more will do it, though. There's the kill picked up, and Dynasty's already inside the base looking for the final game-winning play, and this should be it. Michigan State finally taking one game in the series, bringing it 2-1.
And they're making it a series here. They're making it a match. Ohio State University, there was a lot of questions here if they're just going to clean sweep it, because that's a lot of pressure. You ended up having that game 1 from Michigan State. That could tilt you. You had the lead, the advantage, and you threw it away. And then in game 2, you tried a strategy. It didn't work. You can become very frustrated with that. But still, Michigan State University showing that they're true Spartans. They didn't give up, and they ended up taking one game off of them right now. And it could be a reverse sweep coming up.
And there's always the chance that they can keep that grit going. It'll look good for them. Game 1 and 2 was all about OHIO, OHIO, but finally we had some go green, go white come out of this one.
It's Earth Day, go green.
Yeah, and then you just add the go white, and there you go. It's easy for them, but this was again, the match boils down to 2 individual players and how much they can affect the map. It's the 2 junglers, and in game 2, right? I mean, game 1 was super close. Both teams played well. Okay, the chips fell one way. Game 2 was a complete whitewash, thanks to the Ohio State University jungler. He just did so much. Game 3, though, back into Michigan State's favor with another incredible Nidalee game.
Yeah, and even in that game 1, Indian Mama had a gigantic lead on the Kindred. So it has been coming down to those junglers. It's coming down to what champion they get, how they execute in those first few minutes as well, and what type of advantage they get for themselves. Because it's not always give your laner the kill. A lot of times giving their jungler the kill because they're the highest elo player on each team seems to be the right play.
Oftentimes it is working, and the funny thing is, like, we're seeing like Cinderhulk Poppy do okay actually, even though it's not like a super carry type champion. But yeah, I mean, you talk about the early kills meaning a lot, and I agree. We're seeing a lot of them. The players are playing somewhat unsafe. It's college sports are looser. It's much more aggressive. You're seeing just people go all out all the time, and it makes them exciting to watch. It makes them really fun. It makes them very dynamic, but it means also that you can snowball early games very often at this caliber of play, which is very high, just not that like super reserved, fully professional level.
It's true, and you were talking about college sports there. If there's anything I know about the Ohio State University and Michigan State University is that these schools are athletic powerhouses.
Yeah.
Competition is the fuel on which these 2 schools run, and they are just fierce. And we're seeing that here today. We're seeing really, really great competition. We're seeing 10 competitors on that stage.
Right.
But, of course, we're going to throw it over to the analyst desk to hear about those 10 competitors.
Thank you very much, Zyrene. Michigan State University giving us a series here, taking a victory off of OSU. And let's talk about how they did it. Nidalee getting through on the blue side again and going off huge in the early game.
What I'll say is, like, I understand if you don't think someone plays Nidalee, giving them a game. You're in a best-of-5 series. If you don't ban it at red side and they don't really play it, that's something that they might not be prepared for, and you get it red side, and that's crazy. Having said that, now we know that Indian Mama will perform on Nidalee. He's the best performing player on the team. Stop giving him things that are going to like let him carry the game.
Right.
Yeah, and now I think it's really clear cut. Like, okay, so OSU goes on the blue side.
Mm-hmm.
First pick Nidalee. Easy game. And they can keep the Kindred ban, and then there's no S tier junglers left.
Right. Well, that is, of course, if MSU decides to leave the Nidalee up another time, which they probably won't do. Both teams have now been the victim of the Nidalee in the early game. You know, aside from that, we saw the Tristana come out, a little page from Stixay's book, The Rageblade Tristana. And to be honest, I mean, we saw it have a decent amount of power in the early game and then through the turret pushing. I mean, once the team is ahead and they are able to walk up to turrets, we did see the kind of pressure that she can put on the map and taking those down quickly.
I think Rageblade Tristana is kind of very dangerous to play because the pickaxe timing is fine, but building the pickaxe to Rageblades are really you don't do any damage. Yeah, it's really awkward as the Tristana. So what you need to do if you're playing the Tristana and building that item is the jungler and the rest of the team need to make sure that you never fall behind.
Right.
And so that's what happened that game. You know, the Nidalee camped bot lane and the Trist was able to do well. But
yeah, well, let's look at one of the ways that Nidalee got kind of ahead in the early game, and this was actually on the back end of Ohio's jungler making a misplay here. After a great gank, great flash gank here from the Poppy, does overstay in the jungle.
Right, and Nexevis is, like we said, the big playmaker in the early game. We see it here. He goes in on the Ahri, gets a free kill, walks out topside, and you think like, okay, that was good. Now like go back to your jungle, maybe clear a little bit more, get your first purchase in. But instead he like really greedily goes to Gromp with no vision. He doesn't have a ward to drop. And this is when the Nidalee just walks in, finds him in his jungle, the Graves is collapsing, and they're able to pick up a kill here. It throws the lead. Nidalee gets like, starts snowballing.
She gets the assist off it. Graves gets the double buffs, gives him a lot of strength in lane, the early kill, so he gets a Vamp Scepter and boots plus the double buffs to come back into lane with, and definitely sets him up to have a good matchup against that Gangplank in the top lane. And then, yeah, Nidalee just starts running amok around the entire map there for MSU, getting the Tristana ahead, and then they play it well. Flipping over to the other side of OSU, though, a player that I want to highlight that we haven't talked about too much is Bacon Seeker. Scara, thoughts on him?
I think he's actually been playing really well. Like at first, I didn't really notice him until Mark brought him up, and it's like, well, then I started noticing like how he was playing. He's there always for the initiation, for the follow-up. He's been frontlining really, really well. Like sometimes it's really difficult to learn how to frontline, but you see he's been walking up. He tanks the damage, and he finds the CC to set his team up for the play. Even on games where they lost, like that last game, he was still part of every single big play or a lot of the big plays on his team. And without him, I don't think they have like a control pillar to start team fights or even like control team fights.
I think he's a big reason that OSU is winning a lot of these games. Both standard early games, they actually really got outplayed by MSU, and it's a concern that like if they keep falling behind, like can they really keep crushing on Bacon Seeker?
I mean, hopefully after he seeks the bacon and finds it, he also eats it.
Yeah.
So he's probably both things, but in game known as Bacon Seeker.
Right, Bacon Seeker. If he gets taken off the Alistar pick, or he just like has a bad game, like are they gonna be able to keep crushing on his mid-game playmaking?
Yeah, although they did not win that game, we saw a couple one team fights for them when they were 7K behind, and a lot of it was due to the initiates and the front lining that he was able to provide for the team, so the DPS could follow up. You know, I have some questions, same as you, regarding moving forward now. MSU, they've now shown that they can close the game out, right? Game one, they had a solid lead, but they gave it up, right? And so there were some concerns about morale and how they would bounce back. And well, now they picked up the victory. They've shown themselves, they've shown OSU that they can stack up against them in a standard situation. Now the onus is on OSU to respond. So Scara, moving into game 4, how does OSU close this series out here? Don't let it go to a game 5.
I'll give him Nidalee. All right.
Well, you're blue side this time, so that's not on you, right? You're saying that you can either give us Nidalee, we don't have to give it to you.
I think since they get essentially whatever jungle power pick they want, they should just not have a volatile top lane pick.
Okay.
So like, for instance, maybe consider like taking away the Graves or maybe even banning the Graves. They want like, ideally if it's tank top, for both people, they can just trust in their jungler to be able to snowball the game. I think that last game where they had like a top lane mismatch, even though they had a big mid lane mismatch, the Nidalee was able to power through the entire game. I feel like since MSU won't get that kind of ridiculous jungle champion this game, they can look for more like balanced lanes and just trust their jungler to come through for them.
Thoughts on
I'm looking for more Scion.
More Scion.
Because that skin's awesome.
The skin is awesome. That ult, the death animation, and he's putting on a show for us with a dance every time he goes down. All right, well, Michigan State University extending this series for us here at the Big Ten Network Invitational. Can they do it again? Find out in just a few minutes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Boston. We are here for Game 4 now of the Big Ten Network Invitational between. It's a great match. It's the best match. It's always the greatest match. The Ohio State University Buckeyes and Michigan State University Spartans. 2 games in a row, the Buckeyes had the better of Michigan State, but finally, the Spartans fired back. They got a well-deserved win, a fast one too, a crushing victory off the back of the man you saw on your screen a second ago, their jungler, Indian Mama, who went on a tear on Nidalee.
And leaving Nidalee up just is something you do not want to do, ever, especially if the jungler knows how to play it and play it effectively. It's pretty much going to be first picked away from you, and I'm expecting to see it banned out here, and yes, we do see it first banned.
It was banned as fast as they possibly could have. The graphic wasn't even in place in time for the ban came out, and the echo ban was added. I needed to see that happen as well. So Michigan State, they didn't learn very quickly before game 2. To be fair, they were looking really good in game 1, so I understand it, but have adapted their bans, have added the champions that are important to remove off the table.
Ooh.
Even the Scion. This is how you know it's going well. When a Scion support gets banned away from you, you know you've done something right.
Yeah, I mean, Raipu, he can end up playing the Blitzcrank anyway, so it's not a huge loss for them, but it is a little bit of a pinch on that champion pool.
Okay, well, Kindred first pick comes through is not a huge surprise. I do want to see Michigan State actually grab Graves right away. I almost want to see Graves Poppy, honestly.
Yeah. That's what I see.
It does pigeonhole Indie Mama into playing Graves jungle, which is fine. He's played it earlier this sort of ULOL season. I'm wondering if there's any other flexibility really available to him, but I feel like those are the champions you have to try to take away. If Arun 1 takes over the Graves, then you're kind of falling down your tier list pretty quickly of good junglers. And yeah, I think this is the right draft.
You could also jungle Poppy.
Yeah, I just feel like, depending with these 2 champions, you're better off putting it with Poppy top Graves jungle, personally.
Yeah, I agree. Graves is an incredibly strong jungler, but Poppy can actually mess up Kindred pretty badly in that early game. We'll see what ends up happening there, but it is going to be those 2 lock-ins here. And the more I think about how this is going to progress, the Trundle was left up. That was something we've seen banned pretty much every game. Actually, we have seen it banned every game so far.
Well, the Trundle gets grabbed then for Arun 1 alongside the same early pick Alistair support. So 4 games in a row of Big Seekers getting this Alistair. The NLSS was giving him praise for his movements around the map, the fact that he was there and an integral part of the Ohio State team fighting. And the Buckeyes will once again have the Minotaur as their support champion. Michigan State, let's see what the next picks are. They can go back to the Tristana, they can grab the Caitlyn they did in the first few games as well.
I think picking something like a hyper carry right now is perfectly fine for Vanilla Assault. Picking the Caitlyn,
more long-range AD carries.
Kalista not contested at all. This matchup.
One champion I'm actually surprised I'm not seeing really any in competitive is Kog'Maw. I think he's actually an incredibly powerful marksman as of 6.7, but really we see very few teams go for it. Sivir I think is another really good option, but Tristana, back on the Tristana is the choice there, as well as Thresh coming in for Raipu. So doesn't want to go for the Blitzcrank. The Sign was banned away, so now Thresh Trist is the lane, which has the potential to be very aggressive and very punishing as a duo lane.
I think that Ohio State University shouldn't have picked the Alistar that soon. I think you should probably pick your AD carry there, especially since Morgana was left up and it was something that was shown by Michigan State University early on as something they wanted to ban, because Raipu's champion pool just does not play well into Morgana.
True.
The more you think about it, it's like Thresh, Blitzcrank,
Scion, all of which don't like Black Shield.
Yeah. So I think that that could have been something you could have actually made Michigan State University think a little bit more about it, but if they are going to go with the Sivir here, then that's just another thing that I think you should have shown a little bit earlier. But regardless, they're going with Hard Engage. They're going with a little bit of a poke here, too.
Sure. Yeah, Ohio State put the priority on Alistair. And here we go. The Vel'Koz mid coming out for Peridot. And the Instalock Ari coming out on the back side here. So even though Karma was available, they didn't want to go for the champion. But now we get to see the 3rd most played champion in ranked play for Peridot. One of the ones he plays the most at home in the Covered Playing League, and it's going to be Vel'Koz in this one. Sivir is back in the mix for Strategical. They did win game 1 with this champion on the AD carry role as well, so return to a lot of things that did work earlier for the Buckeyes. And now Michigan State, again, still backs against the wall. We're at double game point for Ohio State here. They've got 2 chances to win 1 more game and close the series out. Michigan State, the Spartans, they have to win this one yet again to stay alive.
And then force that game 5
Yep.
and have both teams be on match point, have that be the last game of the series. Michigan State University, though, it looks like Graves is going to stay top, and Poppy will be in the jungle here. And I understand it, because in the meta, Poppy is a better top laner, and Graves is a better jungler. But if you swap it, well, the matchups are better. Playing Poppy into Trundle is not very favorable. You get bullied early on. Now you put the Graves up there against Trundle. Well, he doesn't really have a lot of resistances to steal. You're able to actually push him in and shove him in, keep him under his turret. And then Poppy versus Kindred, you can stop the Q with your steadfast presence and actually mess up the Kindred really early on. So better matchups, despite it not being where they are played in the meta.
What you typically see happen, right? Popularly played. So that's going to be the options that are coming through here. We're seeing our third Poppy jungle game in 4 games here in the Big Ten Network Invitational. I find that really interesting just to see what kind of twist players put on their own champions, their own pools, their own play style. But we are here ready to go into game 4 with Oregon State taking on Michigan State. Oregon, I keep saying that. I'm sorry, Ohio State
University.
The Ohio State University. I just, for some reason, my brain will not let me say OSU any other way. I apologize. But here we go, everybody. Game 4, Ohio State versus Michigan State. Let's see who can take this one home. Once again, double match point here for the Buckeyes. They won the first 2.
And getting a game 5 on the Big Ten Network Invitational would just be so sweet.
Oh, yes.
These two teams, the rivalry goes back, but also it's not just in football, it's in League of Legends too. Because Michigan State Spartans, they played Ohio State, and that was back in 2013. After that match, Michigan State's team had 2 people leave the roster because they got smashed. So Ohio State University back in 2013 made Michigan State University have to basically reconstruct their League of Legends team, and now they want revenge. Ohio State University still favorites coming into this. Michigan State University, they have revenge in their eyes. They are bent on winning this matchup.
They've at least pulled in a couple of games here. See if they can get any more right now as we get ourselves in a laning phase, and we're going to have once again a standard laning phase start. This time around, Michigan State on the red side. Triss Thresh should do reasonably well at taking down the Gromp, and we will have the Alistair and Sivir grab the Krugs as well. So standard stuff here. Top laners leashing for their junglers, mid laners meeting in the front.
I may be wrong on this, but do you normally start Hunter's Machete on Kindred?
I've seen both. I've actually honestly
seen the
both.
other one all the time. Talisman, because you use so much mana on Kindred, and there was even the change to the Q. So I'm going to be watching Nexavis. He starts on that top side of the map. It looks like he's going to go for an invade here, too. Nexavis is already on his way to the Poppy jungle route, and he knows how quickly Poppy does this route, or how slowly. Is he going to camp here and wait for it?
And here he is right behind
They don't have smite.
Neither one has it. The question is how low will Poppy get? And it's going to be quite low. 400 health left in the red buff. Doesn't know Kindred's around. Here comes the attempt for the play. Wolf pops in, goes to the auto attack. Mama gets the red buff. Now he's got to run away from his own jungle. He's dangerously low, but he runs fast enough. Doors here as well, and the entire opportunity cost spent is just not worth it.
Oh, man. At that point, I'm pretty sure you just go, okay, well, I'm going to take it. I'm going to hit him when he's about half HP, make sure that if he stays around, he's eating hits from me and the red buff. Luckily for Nexavis, though, he gets to take this side of the jungle, and there is a camp right there with a mark on it in the river.
Well, the odds are 2 and 3 that he got a good mark for himself. It would have been on the Raptors or one of the 2 Scuttles, and it wasn't the Raptors, so he got the second best option for himself. And yeah, the thing is, Nexavis, he needs to choose 1 of 2 options. Either push Poppy off the jungle entirely and hit her sooner, or go for the exact steal and just deal damage to the red buff itself. And he kind of chose the middle of the 2, and sadly got burned on both ends. But he'll still be able to recover. Kindred's obviously a very strong jungler. Got the first mark, and can keep moving around the map.
Yeah, very low mana, though.
Right, which is a concern. But with Smite on the blue buff, he's going to get quite a bit back.
Yeah.
And as the buff goes down, he'll be okay.
And then he'll be okay, but still, you actually run out of mana very, very, very quickly on this champion.
Oh, he's going to donate it early to
Is he going to donate it?
Well, he's going to recall off this most likely, right? Oh, he's not. No, that was just a ward. Okay.
Okay.
I really thought he was going to donate.
It's like,
and I don't think it would have been the best option. I could see it, though. We see some teams do this kind of play. But it was just him going for a trinket ward. The door gets hit. Does not get researched, though.
Yeah, 100% agree. You do see Indian Mama back very early on after the level 3 in the clear, just to get both parts of the Smite up
Smite he
there.
wants, yeah.
See what he ends up going for there. It's his first Poppy game of the series. And top lane, though, actually touch on that for a little bit here because it's just been Dynasty shoving a rune under his turret. Typically how the matchup goes and why they swapped it around so that they had lane pressure here as opposed to a losing lane that Dynasty, or I guess the Graves, would actually have to camp for.
Right. And meanwhile, the bot lane, not too good for the Tristana Thresh, though. Strategical. Honestly, Silver's such a good matchup in a Tristana in the general sense. You can spell shield either the front or back half explosive charge, and it'll work perfectly either way. So it's actually quite easy to never fall prey to the basic ability usage. And it's just general, you just get to push really fast. So feels good to be Sivir in the matchup, and Strategical is into a bit of a lead here. Raipu gonna give plenty of respect to the enemy duo lane as he walks away.
Yeah, your duo lane doesn't have pressure though, so getting the Scuttle Crab is actually going to be pretty easy for Nexavis.
And you can see how it goes into Mama, and they might fight for it, but
oh, there you go.
Nexavis gets it. Well done.
Still,
equal level wins the smite.
Yep. Nexavis able to just swoop in and take it because of the pressure of the bottom lane. Strategical and Bacon Seeker could actually just walk right up and help him out. This is still
really good pillar.
Yeah. Dynasty will be able to heal up off the minions. Peridot, he's going to have to try and tilt this matchup, but nope, it's going to be a pink ward on the side. And once again, Graves continues to shove. Grass is green, sky is blue.
But also both top laners have teleport, so more rules of the universe. Whenever he wants to, or anyone can just recall back, teleport back in, and really pick up where he left off without too much worry. In fact, the minion kills will be almost equal anyway. What I'm really curious about is if Dynasty walks back to lane or teleports, and in fact, he will walk.
He's got the brown bag boots, so a little bit faster. I'm actually still surprised at the Vamp Scepter because he is running Warlord's Bloodlust. And you can see that just auto-attacking in the lane, Arun's not going to be able to harass him like a Gangplank would. So I think Pickaxe may have been the slightly better choice there, but he didn't even come back with potions, so maybe he just had just barely enough.
1200, yeah. Ooh, hook on a Bacon Seeker. Spell Shield's already down as well, and a nice explosive cast gonna do a fair bit of damage. A great play as well, has to flash away. Vanilla Salt did not rocket jump before he could have gotten into range any sooner. But still, that is a flash and the Summoner Heal burned out of the Buckeye duo lane.
Oh my god, a third Scuttle Crab with a mark on it? This is Christmas right now for Nexavis.
And the Raptors are constantly dead, so we can only really get Scuttles. He's been having the map control to get that third stack in a row. Really nicely.
Oh, Indian Mama is going to find him, though.
Yeah, it's going to be a fair bit of damage. He's going to flash over the wall. Badly, Indian Mama could not block him. But yeah, Dynasty jumps over. Smokescreen on. Plenty of damage to be dealt here. Misses the collateral damage. It wouldn't have killed anyway, but would have meant more damage.
It looked like he canceled that last auto attack as well. But yeah, I think that what really helped Nexavis there was he used the Q, he leaped, and it was right on the edge of Indian Mama's steadfast presence. So no knock.
Oh no, that's pretty bad. The knock-up's gonna land into the Q, has to flash, and that still means first blood. An over-aggressive dive means a kill for Peridot.
Just right at the edge of it. And Door has ultimate. He's not gonna go after Peridot though, because Peridot has barrier.
He's got no other
Still
mana.
go for it, though, but
nice barrier, gets over the knock-up, gets away from the fissure as well, and Or will slink away successfully. Nearly got the kill in the mid lane, but an overdive means first blood.
Yeah, first blood goes over to the Ohio State University, who are already up 2-1 in the series and on match point. Look at this, Vanilla Salt's actually made a CS lead for himself in his bottom lane as he's starting to turn this around. It's that range advantage just getting bigger and bigger and bigger as Tristana levels up. Gets a little bit on that. Strategical low on mana, having to wave clear with the Ricochet, the Boomerang Blade consistently. It's kind of worn him down.
Yeah, finally has done some of that. Neither bot lane has recalled just yet, and the summoner spells are slowly ticking back up for the Buckeye duo. So if those can come back up, they're back on full power. But maybe these players hailing from the state of Michigan, just as a random way to say it otherwise.
As long as you're not saying Oregon again.
Yeah, I mean, I already made the mistake of just saying Ohio instead of Ohio State several times. I actually knew was wrong coming into it, and I still managed to get it wrong. I knew saying Oregon was wrong as well. I mean, it's not like I'm just bad at censoring myself properly.
You got the OHIO in there.
Yeah, it's true. I got both chants in at some point.
Make up for it. See, that's how you do it. You're like, see?
I'll do your school chant. Are we okay? I'm sorry I called you the wrong state.
We cool? We cool?
Are we cool, guys? Please, I'm sorry.
Anyway, the Ohio State University, they've been doing well in this entire series, but a lot of it has been off the back of Michigan State's errors, whether it be game 1 error with the throw, game 2 with the group up mid, and then game 3 really was all about Michigan State University from start to finish. So Ohio State University now have a lead in the early game that was not off of a crazy play from Michigan State. And it's a lot of this pick ban, and they're actually abusing it. Nexivus, once again, returning to the scene of the crime. The red buff, trying to abuse Indian Mama.
Could be a very big concern. Poppy trying to run away, gets slowed down. The Pillar's going to be in range as well, and he loses the ultimate force, means he's got nowhere else to go. That's going to be the kill picked up. What a great invade.
And you look at the top side, Dynasty's immediately trying to kill the Krugs. They're marked right now. If you don't kill those Krugs, it's another mark. And getting in position for the ulti.
The flash, the ulti, the charm's going to land just in time, and Dora's got to run away. He will be able to do so, but still, it's not good for the top laner. He's running away under his Dora, still goes down. Nexivus 2-0.
Yeah, and that's going to be a very fed Kindred right now. 2 of the 3 kills. Want to check how many marks he has as well, because I think that top mark did not go over to him.
He did.
It's going to be 4. Yeah, oh, man.
Unless he had marked the graves.
At 10 minutes.
Well, no, he already had 3, and he got 4 from killing Poppy, right? Because he had already marked Indian Mama, so...
Yeah, it was either Poppy, that camp, or
he
Graves
definitely,
was marked,
I know he mentioned he had 3, and he definitely had marked Poppy.
Okay.
So that was where the 4 stacks came from. Graves did take the top camp away in time.
Yeah, 3 from the Scuttle Crabs.
Yeah. Because it was only on Krugs because you already had 3 stacks,
Yes.
right? It won't go there until you have 3, so he had gotten 4. All right, we're all good. We figured it out by talking about the game rules around how Kindred marks work. But it's a 2,000 gold lead now for the Buckeyes, doing quite well. Bot lane still equal. You're seeing the S3 build coming in. But also Vanilla Salt is doing a curious thing. I'm actually not sure if he... So he could have bought Pickaxe plus Blasting One on the recall. I think he's actually just going Hurricane into Infinity Edge, though. Because instead of getting the Blasting One, he got Cold double Dagger, and I feel like he's going to circumvent the entire thing. Try to spike up with the Cole later and just complete like a Zeal item.
Yeah, the Cole is a little curious because this build already has a Power Trough built into it with the Blasting Wand. And you want to get over that as fast as possible. If you buy the Cole, you stall yourself out even more.
Yeah. That's why I think he's actually just like, he couldn't finish. I mean, actually he could if he wanted to finish a recurve bow, but I feel like he wants to spike the mid game, and that's just going to be the play he goes for. Nice spell shield by Strategical, blocks the hook. A quick solo on the Dragon, nicely done there by Nexivus.
13 stacks for his Devourer.
Yeah, that's going really fast, honestly. Make that 15 now as the Scuttle goes down, but now it's time for the Lantern play on Indian Mama.
See if he's able to pull it off. There is an ultimate for Strategical. Nexivus goes into the jungle. Spotted out, though. So that gives them the information. They decide to not go with that, though, and they're going to go after the Alistar here. They go after Bacon Seeker.
They can try to make the play, but no one else is around. He's got his own jungler nearby as well, and a Rune 1, look at that, with a level lead, just destroying Dynasty out of the turret. Won't complete the dive, took 3 turret shots for his hesitation, and the matchup actually back close to equal. Vamp Scepter on Dynasty means he can heal back up.
Yeah, he's going to heal up very quickly, but Arun, of course, being trundled, gets percent of the HP of things that die around him. Ulti again. Oh, that's the charm down.
Misses.
He's just looking for position.
Ulti's not on just yet, but he's going to land the Q slow.
Geometry right there, man. That guy goes to college. I'm really surprised he didn't pull the trigger there. But look at this. Oh!
Yeah, headbutt on the right, on the wrong side of this fight. Plays back with a flashing away, trying to stay alive. Poppy only returns Kindred to safety. No kill to be had for Michigan State. Yet again, a successful gank, 3-0 now on Xephus.
Yeah, and it looks like MSU are coming apart at the seams. Here comes OSU.
And it's going to be a fight through the backline. Vanilla Salt knocks him backwards, but now it's not good for Indian Mama. The Poppy's stuck under the turret. And here comes Vel'Koz doing his research, also going to college, clearly. Maybe a grad student this time around. Dynasty and Indian Mama stuck on a turret. That TP's not going to mean much. Rune 1 happy to tank up the turret and get another kill for himself. 1-0 and 2 on him. Dor now coming in, trying to turn this around. Will get the kill picked up onto Kindred, but now he's in a 1 versus 4 and has to run away. Several kills picked up. The Buckeyes crushing in game 4.
Yeah, no, the Ohio State University saying, you know, we've had enough of this series. We're ready to close it out 3-1, and they're off to a great start to do so. His bot turret, though, is going to live a little bit longer here, and there we go.
Oh, what a great hook and a play into death under the turret. Great play. Support mid synergy, closing the door in the bot lane.
Man, Raipu, on these hook champions, he's actually having rather good accuracy, but that was all Thor. That was the charm coming through, and his charms this entire series have been pretty good. The charm, the flash away. Look at this, Raipu knocked back, and Nexivus almost doesn't get the kill, but he gets knocked out following through. Peridot already on his way to this bot side, so they're clearing it out, making sure that he can walk all the way around, gets the ultimate onto Vanilla Salt, picks him up. Arun finishes his TP, and Indian Mama wants to back, but there's the ultimate coming through from Strategical, who gets just enough mana to do so. As Indian Mama tries his darndest to get away, gets picked up there, and then Door comes through, gets the pickup, and this actually is Peridot overextending.
Yeah,
and then you eventually saw Raipu walk up as the siege was continuing.
We're seeing the top lane fight continue. Dynasty here not having the greatest
there's
of time.
the
The ulti in from Maroon one as well, but oh, the pillar does not come down in time to stop the quick draw. He will get some very significant damage done. Bot lane turret though will still go down. The 0-0 and 4 scoreline for both the bot laners, able to push through. We are seeing Blasting Wand after all for Vanilla Salt, so yeah, that Cold Trough and the Blasting Wand Trough now adding up to each other. And look at that ulti. Goodbye. Research comes through.
Yeah, he doesn't even care. That's going to be the ultimate there from Peridot, picking up Dynasty. Dynasty thought he was safe, but underestimating that Vel'Koz damage. You don't play a lot of Vel'Kozes.
Flash Charm misses. That was a huge, unfortunate situation now.
He did get the flash out of Peridot, though.
Yeah, Flash Service, that should have been a kill.
If he's able to keep him here comes Indian Mama.
Okay, maybe the flank kills are going to miss something. Peridot's going to again land a slow, but here comes the backline focus. A slow lands. Charm's going to miss yet again, but it should still mean the kill, and it does. Nice ulti by Poppy. However, the mid lane getting attacked by 3. For whatever Michigan State do, Ohio State do more.
Oh, and that's going to be the rocket jump from Vanilla Salt. They know this. They're going to close the distance on it.
Yeah, has to pull Buster out to get him back, but now Raipu coming in behind them. This is a chance at a 5 versus 3 if the team can come down in time.
If he stalls
How
him,
much
he
time
has
did he buy?
Buster.
Puts the box down, but he's got to be really afraid of this one. He's taking a lot of damage output here. Lanterns himself to survive a little bit longer, and now here comes Indian Mama. Looks for the stun, gets it on an Exodus, and he can't get the kill just in time. Lamb's respite to buy a few more seconds. Now the re-engage. Explosive's going to do enough there. Bacon Seeker. Unbreakable Will's not going to mean much of anything. 2 kills picked up. Michigan State do not say die. They pull it back to 3,000.
3,000 gold lead for the Ohio State University. Neck and neck here. It's been a very bloody game very early on. We're almost seeing a kill a minute. We may crest that rather shortly. That's going to be the siege here from Michigan State University.
Explosive charge goes off on the turret, doing a little bit of damage, but again, Vanilla Salt doesn't have that many items right now. He's just, it's very haphazard. He's sitting on a recurve bow, an unstacked Cull. Like, that would actually be a completed Rage Blade by far if he had just fought a little bit more efficiently, and that might have meant some more turret damage. Again, that cool payoff will eventually happen, so you'll see his gold spike up later, but right now, yeah, it's more trough than a horse feedery. I don't know what a horse feedery is, but you know what I'm going for.
If a horse feedery existed,
it would have troughs.
It would have trough. I got your back.
Several.
Yeah. The Cull, though, people buy it so they get to that 2-item power spike, and that's what this Tristana is all about, is that 2-item power spike mid-game early on. Make sure you have it by about 19 minutes here, and he's well on his way to doing that if he gets 24 CS in that time. Make sure that Cull actually rolls over, gives him that burst of gold.
23 minions to go, which is 2 minutes in a minion wave if you last hit perfectly. Shouldn't be too hard for a Tristana with this much gold and this many levels, but quick Rift Herald pickup. Hook likely won't steal. Ooh, it was really close actually, but Arun 1 tanked the hook and he's going to be fine. And that was actually a close one.
Gotta watch out in this top lane.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure available, but they force do know that there's several people down there. This is the smart thing, is they're, I think, okay trading top lane for bot lane. If you're down in gold, trading objectives is usually an advantage for you.
I think Vanilla Salt can actually outplay this if he really wanted to.
I think it could be too, yeah, but he needs explosive charge back up. It was still down, and his rapid fire was down. If he has both, yeah, you can go in for the play. You have to rock jump over the seismic fissure.
Yeah, he also had flash, so you can honestly just flash the seismic fissure. Anyway,
well,
we'll talk about that in a second.
One. Yeah, he's pulled out. The turret's dead, though. This is actually an advantage now in health bars, and Raipu's forced to run away. Bacon Seeker's still taking it all up, and Poppy misses the ulti. However, the ulti's going to end up, and now Arun gets pulled in. That's a big fight. Another stun comes in, a 2 for 0. Bacon Seeker goes down. The flash Q not going to get a kill for Dynasty, but look at that. Michigan State yet again finding the fight that they can win.
Yeah, just barely able to pick that up there. And now Vanilla Salt is at the mercy of the poke from Peridot. If he's able to actually get some damage off here. Ooh.
Knock up into the Q is going to land. That's nice stuff as well, yeah.
Yep, knock up Q and the W there. And look, oh my god.
How good is this champion?
Yeah, you have to flash that seismic fissure, and then if he was able to rocket jump to the other side of Peridot after the ultimate starts, then he would stand a chance of actually outplaying it. But this right here, really good hook from Raipu that ends up getting a rune in. He's forced to blow the ultimate, flash away. And then the next hook is during the Kindred ultimate, and it just barely yanks him out, and then makes it so that he gets pulled out, and he's vulnerable, susceptible to death. Hook pulled right out on the edge,
Wow,
and
the
played
play
out.
too. Beautiful. And then again, yeah, Alistair stunned up against the wall outside the ring as well, so only a little bit of healing came out of Lamb's respite, but no saving.
Yeah, and look at that. Very close in goal right now, 3.4K.
Yeah, it is worth pointing out that during that replay, you see the number of dragons taken by Ohio State has ticked up to 2. So they had the map control via their bot lane already winning and forcing Vanilla Assault out. They were able to collapse for that despite their earlier kills. And also keep in mind that even though Michigan State had knocked down 2 champions, the turret itself going down meant the gold stayed equal. Michigan State still have that gold waiting for them in the outer turrets if they can make a push happen, but that's not easy against this Vel'Koz.
Yeah, exactly. The wave clears mostly Door and Vanilla Salt. Dynasty, of course, he can get his split push on, and if he's able to keep a rune in a lane and actually get a CS advantage, get himself to a point where he can take a turret, then yeah, they'll start picking them up, but when's that going to start happening for Michigan State University? It's going to be a few minutes off of that. They have to make some skirmishes happen and use this Ahri, as well as the Rage Blade, Runaan's Hurricane Spiked Vanilla Salt.
Yeah, Vanilla Salt is fully online right now. The Cole has paid off that trough. I don't think his lane necessarily was the one that was losing once he had made those item decisions, and now he is that a little bit of extra gold ahead. Raipu gets away from the Q slow. That was close, though.
Yep, they're going to put him down in the bottom lane. Vanilla Salt is not going to be a part of this team fight with that mid-game spike. He's actually just going to be pushing on the bot side.
The Charm once again lands onto a Rune 1 and the hook as well, but there's no follow-up to be had as the cooldowns were all down.
5v4 on the top side of the map.
Yeah, how much can Tristana get done? Right now there's no minion wave though. Top lane is actually pushed back to equilibrium at the top corner, so there's nothing to be done for Ohio State. Vanilla Salt will knock this turret down, and finally, the first actual objective of the game for Michigan State. 2,500 now is the goal. It is getting closer. Buckeyes still winning, but the Spartans getting closer.
I actually think you don't back here if you are Vanilla Salt, but he's going to go for it. Ooh, also Swifty boots for him.
It's your 2's under fire, though. Yeah, he's got to get in here to defend it. It's nearly dead anyway. The charm comes
Paradox.
in. Paradox gets caught out dangerously low. Turret shot hits, but he gets out and gets part of the ult again. Indian Mama goes in. One more hit will do it, but Nexus is coming in to turn it back around, and he will do so. Oh, what a heartbreaker there for the Michigan State jungler, and it does mean mid lane tier 2 actually won't go down. Ahead backdoor bonus. And now Raipu, can he land the hook on a Bacon Seeker? No.
If he goes too far forward, though, Nexus can come around the side. Nexus doesn't have ulti, but still, gonna pick up this red buff. And oh man, Peridot lived with just a tiny sliver of HP, but that's all you need to live with in order to use that ultimate across multiple people.
Ooh, rough stuff. Not what you would really wanted, but it's what happened here. Strategical actually looks like he's going for Phantom Dancer second, afraid of getting dived, and it's that or Hurricane, and no one goes Hurricane on Sivir, so for a more defensive itemization choice here for Strategical, who has plenty of carries on his team anyway, so lines up with what the composition already does. Rune 1, though, getting really huge in this top lane. 170 minion kills on this Trundle. Titanic Hydra, and he's just stacking armor, so it's so hard for Dynasty to actually do anything to him.
And stacking armor is going to be the way to go here on this Trundle. You'll be able to use your ultimate on Indian Mama and steal some of his resistances, but also you're dealing with Vanilla Salt, you're dealing with Dynasty, you're dealing with Indian Mama. Door's really the only one who's going to be doing damage to him in this mid-game, and I assume he's at least going to get a Spirit Visage, possibly third, fourth item.
Yeah, I would do Spirit Visage very next after the Iceborne Gauntlet's done here. I think
I would at least do Spectre's third, yeah.
Yeah, I think you just finish Visage, honestly, it's worth it. We'll see what he ends up going for in the build. Raipu clearing away a pink ward, Indian Mama killing off the Raptors. To try to make them extinct. They just keep coming back. It's weird. It's like there's just more Jurassic Park sequels.
Clever girls, man. They always find a way.
Yeah, they certainly do. Now Peridot again trying to hold the mid lane. He's pushed the wave in, and once again his team roams up to the top side to get ward control back. Ward over the wall, clear away the pink. And once again looking for more enemy champions to pick off.
It looks like they want a team fight here. Michigan State University, despite having a little bit of a disadvantage at 3.7k gold down, they do have the slow. They have the Runaan's and the Rage Blade completed. They want the inside track on mid lane, though. They might just get this turret.
They're going to be able to get the turret, but there will be an ensuing fight right afterwards. Thresh off on the left-hand side. He can lantern someone away. Actually, no, just the threat. Oh, just kidding. There's going to be some very significant damage on Trundle, down below 1,000 HP now. About 1/2 now on the Trundle, who regens up a little bit with his Corrupting Potion. Again, we sit on this 3,500 gold lead. It just goes back and forth and back and forth. And Michigan State feeling okay about themselves. Phantom Dancer now also done for strategical, means very big things. He's now got max cooldown reduction. So Sivir is fully online damage-wise. Level 13 would be the next big thing just to get that final point in Ricochet. Similar for Vanilla Salt, who needs 1 more point in Rapid Fire. Indian Mama coming down from the top side jungle through a ward to make sure he can defend his team.
Yeah, waiting for Vanilla Salt, who went back for a BF sword. So now he has attack damage in the tank.
Yep. Now Vanilla Salt's going to have to wait for a while until that Infinity Edge is done. And look at this. Oh! Nexus going for the quick pickup on the... Yeah, the Mark of the Kin is going to come in for this Braum.
Yeah,
They've had so much map control that he's been able to solo counter jungle and get these stacks. That's actually a very big deal. He's going to get this as well.
It's his 6th stack as well. So now they're going to start appearing on Dragon as well as Baron. They're going to be rather hard to pick up here, but if Nexus can keep this going, it's definitely going to be worth it to pick up that Phantom Dancer second. See what's going on in that mid lane, though.
No threat at all, taking the Dragon down. Nexus has had a lot of time just to run around the map as he wishes. Steric's Gauge done, some more tank stats now in for this Kindred. And it's getting pretty good right now.
Ooh, Door got interrupted.
Yeah, oh, so did Raipu. So that's actually a fair bit of damage done, as well as just interrupted recalls. These guys actually wanted to back and buy some new items. You're seeing 4 blue trinkets for Michigan State. They really just have not had a good time with ward control overall, and they've got to give a lot of respect to the chance that Ohio State could be waiting in that brush. They were, in fact. Raipu's going to survive through this. Ward's swept away.
Able to spot him out with the sweeper.
Yep.
And it's the Baron Dance right now. 26 minutes in, so we're seeing rather early Baron Dances pretty much every game. You get those turrets down, and then you figure out how to get those tier 2s, and it just seems to be the answer.
All right,
go after the Baron.
Now, Indy Mama, plenty of damage. Nearly got the hook on an Activist. That could have been a nearly fatal play right there. Now stopping the hail of arrows, and in comes the fight. A knock on a Raipu. The fight is split up. Indy Mama sends back the Alistair, but Nexus on the backside can go for the kill to Poppy. A big line of research comes out from Peridot, picking up Dynasty. Top laner dead. Charmin to Peridot, but no kill to be had for Door, who gets pulverized, and that should be the kill, but now the headbutt saves him for now. Turning it back around, the shutdown comes in anyway. Nexus gets it. A 2-0 for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, and the Buckeyes come up big in that fight. Peridot, it looked like Door was just trying to camp him, trying to make sure that as soon as that ultimate came out, the Ahri was ready with the charm. Didn't come through, no CC available for the interrupt, and everybody on Michigan State University's side was trying to retreat at that moment. Vanilla Salt also got pushed out of the fight, so the damage dealers on MSU not able to come up big at all. On OSU, well, it's complete opposite for them.
And definitely performing very well for themselves. 4-kill lead. We will have a quick pause on this one to figure out, I'm not sure what it's going to be, but I'll hear about that shortly. Ohio State certainly have been looking very good so far in this individual game. They've bounced back quite well from that Game 3 loss. And with the lead they have, I think they are in a spot where they could definitely close out the series. They keep playing this well for a few more minutes. Michigan State still needs something. They need some kind of a big play, and that last team fight was not a good one.
Yeah, and you can see on Michigan State University's side discussing, whereas on this side, on the Ohio State University,
yep,
calm, cool, collected, not saying a single thing, making sure that they are ready to go back in. And you can see here, Peridot just barely gets away. Indian Mama almost able to pick it up. And that's what they're thinking about right now. How did that fight go so bad?
Yeah, it was, well, that was the thing, is it's like these big plays were almost paying off. We only saw a little bit of it, but that was a fight where there was an early aggressive play by Michigan State. They had come in, they'd landed, I believe it was like a flash charm or a flash, there we go. Here's the replay from the recent one. The early stun on Nexus, but no one's gonna follow up the damage. The hook was not quite in range.
Just barely.
And then he just gets free time to hit.
Yeah, and they're waiting for Sivir to get in here. And you can see Door, he's camping Peridot, making sure that as soon as that ultimate comes through, he's able to stop him. He has a clear path to do so. Doesn't go for it, no charm, no nothing. And then he's able to pick up Dynasty there as Strategical comes in with the Sivir ultimate, and then they get to pick their target at that point with the extra movement speed and spread MSU all about.
Yeah, a lot of what happened there as well was so many of the cooldowns were used on the Trundle specifically. He had been, the hook actually went wide from Raipu, sadly. I think if he had landed, that would have been a kill, but it was the explosive charge as well as the buster shot from Tristana, right? The two damage skills from the hard carry marksman that's been built around here. Put all the damage onto a tank, couldn't get through him, who was able to stack armor the whole time, by the way. Keep in mind, he was already fighting against a marksman in his lane, so it's a heavily armor-stacked Trundle who would love nothing more than to keep fighting marksman and just sharking off the damage.
Yeah, may see a Thorn Mail in the near future for him.
Sure.
I would assume you at least see a Randuin Zoman. I think that's an incredibly powerful item that people don't buy enough of. We saw it actually purchased by Indian Mama really early on. I think it was his second item on Poppy.
It was, yeah. It's also nice because it's like an extra slow. I think the active goes really underappreciated on Randuins because on someone like Poppy, right, you charge and you land the Q, and then as they walk away, you can just activate a 4-second slow.
Yeah, most people go for the Iceborne Gauntlet though and don't like to overlap the slows, but
it does work similarly.
Looks like we're back in the game. The Ohio State University immediately going after this Baron. Here comes a TP from MSU.
And it's dying so fast. There's the hook over the wall from Raipu, who's going to go in for this one, and blue team has picked up Baron. That is the Buckeyes wearing the buff. Indian Mama gets nothing done, gets Lantern back out, though, so at least he's going to be safe. His smite went on, I think, a little bit too early. Couldn't find purchase there.
Oh, man, being able to click that Lantern when everything's so hectic on stage in front of hundreds of people. I can't even find the Lantern in that fight, let alone being able to click it.
But it means
got
that
QSS too.
But it means that Baron buff is now on for the Buckeyes. They're going for the top lane right now. These minions are nigh invincible. You can see how long they take to kill, and that turret will be going down very quickly. Michigan State Spartans will have to go back and heal Indian Mama back into the fountain to get his health bar back up. They've got to defend this inhibitor turret, which is definitely doable even with this deficit.
Yeah, they have to wait for Indian Mama to go back, make sure that he heals up. Got a QSS very early on as a jungler, and you know what that's for? That's for the Trundle. That's to make sure that he's not stealing your resistances and getting incredibly huge, and that you stay tanky. QSS is a great item to buy against that. And look at this Indian Mama. Oh, the interrupted the ulti.
A whole bunch of interrupts into the kill goes through. Several members of the Buckeyes had recalled in vision range, and so Michigan State ran right across the map and said, we're going to pick up a couple of kills here. So some breathing room, 44 seconds on the Vel'Koz respawn.
Yeah, and the frame that the ultimate came out from Peridot, Indian Mama had already used his ultimate. It's honestly a really unlucky overlap right there, but ends up getting called out for it, and Indian Mama comes up big. So Peridot doesn't have the ulti, has to spend that entire time dead. He'll have it, I believe, by the time he comes up, a couple seconds after.
Anytime he's in a fight, he'll have it, so it's not that big of a problem. There's plenty of cooldown reduction on him, but it now means that this 8,000 gold lead is going to just languish for a bit with the Baron buff. It's going to time out slowly over time. It's already been up for about 1 minute so far and change.
Yeah, it definitely hurts their siege potential because that is their wave clear alongside strategical.
Right. You just can't 4v5 anyway. Like, they just have to wait, so.
Way too risky. They are going to go down bottom, though. Try it out.
Bacon Seeker frustratedly pounds the ground, and Alistair goes, wait a second, my headbutt stopped. Slams it anyway.
Every time. It happened every time. Anyway, Michigan State University, this is 4
Wow, that's a 4v5, and Michigan State weren't able to fight that.
They decided not to fight that at all.
Yeah.
Peridot is rather quick, though. Running right through. He has the Luden's Echo, the Boots, and Dragon 3. So Vel'Koz gets to kind of squiggle across the map quickly. 437 movement speed.
Yeah.
Every Vel'Koz dreams of that.
Exactly. It's a nice amount to have. 6 turrets to 1, 3 dragons to 0. The 4th one up just after the Baron buff times out, so that would be an easy objective to go for afterwards. Ohio State certainly looking pretty good now in this game 4. Blue buff conveniently given over to their mid laner yet again. Just feeling very good right now. This could be a calm, controlled game from here on out for the blue side.
Yeah, see how they end up playing it, because this is the type of advantage where you can close a game out pretty much no problem. You have almost 2-3 items up on them in terms of gold. Able to close it out if you actually use that advantage. We can see the last Whisper from Strategical trying to look like he can get through Indian Mama, who's going to be prioritizing that. And then Peridot, just very, very fed member of this team. 5-3-3 on this Vel'Koz.
Yeah.
CS over his opponent as well. And the Luden's Echo, when you're able to get to this point in the build of the Vel'Koz, you're doing pretty well.
Oh, yeah.
I think the Leandri's Torment is something that goes a little underappreciated as well.
So good.
But I want to see how he continues to play it out with Dragon up and a
They're
fight.
looking for this. Gets
ensuing.
away from the flash. Pulverized, and out goes the Tristana. Still getting chased down to the backside of the fight. And it's not going to be good for him now. Raipu trying to run away. Gets hit up by some of the damage from Vel'Koz. But the box comes down and disengage. Everyone does walk away alive, but Michigan State worse for the wear. A nice charm. Fair bit of damage. Raipu nearly gets researched to death, and he will still go down. Trade kill comes in. Now a flash re-engage. Ooh, the double slow from the Q. Paired out with a great plasma fission. A 2-for-1 overall as Indian Mama and Raipu both died.
And Vanilla Salt has to come back, and he hasn't even gotten back to full HP off of the recovery of the fountain. And now Dynasty has to clear this top wave. And look at that. Oh, Death Dance comes up huge.
Recovery is pretty high. Now Arun 1 taking up what he can. Vanilla Salt getting poked around. He just has to respect the Vel'Koz damage for so much he's not able to auto-attack back. Charm's gonna miss as well, and just nothing gained. A turret goes down. Well done by Ohio State. The Spartans losing more and more of the map.
And the Buckeyes playing it by the book right now. Rotating back and forth. They have that inhibitor exposed on the top side. They have a minion wave in mid, run by that, go back towards Dragon, pick up your 4th Dragon of the game, and then the game becomes really simple from that point onward. If Bacon Seeker is able to dive turrets, tank them.
And he can just do that forever, honestly.
But
It's been so
MSU
convenient to be able to stack armor.
Here comes the TP from Dynasty. MSU want to stop this.
They're looking for the big play. Kindred is not in this fight, so can they make the 5v4 happen? Blue team is slain Barrett, sorry, Dragon, that's number 4. But now the push on in. Raipu does not find any hooks, but will they find a re-engage? Not really, no. Not the damage they're looking for. Vanilla Salt goes down a 2-for-0 in a 4v5. Ohio State doing quite well for themselves. Strategical on the chase, gets another one for himself, a double kill. For the 80 carry, the chase continues and Ari goes down. Only Indian Mama is left alive. This could be a game-winning push right here.
Vanilla Salt jumped in, and that could be the game right now. Bacon Seeker.
Headbutt, tackles back in. Now running back the other way around, wants to try to buy some time so his base can live a little bit longer, but there's the ace. Now to find the minion wave, which is over in the top lane, but they've got 20 seconds to work with.
Yeah, it's going to take them a bit to get up there, though. It's about 10 seconds of a jog. They'll get up there, they'll push it up, they'll get that inhibitor at least. Vanilla Salt is up in 13 seconds. So he'll be up around the time that it goes down. Raipu is here to defend, but it's just the support. He's rather lonely. Indian Mama, I don't know if this is going to be the push.
No,
they
it's
have
going
to
to
back
be an inhibitor. It'll be inhibitor and back because guess what? Baron's back up in 40 seconds, and that is all the tools that Ohio State would need.
Raipu actually goes forward, tries to hook, misses strategical, but he has the spell shield up anyway. And then Dynasty gets the exhaust, the ultimate across it. Vanilla Salt runs straight into the face of strategical, and then ulties Bacon Seeker away. That rocket jump did not seem necessary there. As Tristana, you want to keep your distance, and then the only time you really jump in and play leapfrog is when you have the skirmish advantage, like a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-2, and you know that your allies have your back, and that you can pull it off. 1-on-1s, we see it all the time. You can do it in laning phase, but not like that. Don't jump into 4 people, 5 people.
Yeah, oftentimes you don't want to, but now Baron Nashor is alive, and that's, again, the objective to fight for. Top inhibitor is dead, and that'll keep funneling minions into Michigan State's base. Now it's time for the Baron dance. Get vision control. Make your opponents guess. Are they doing Baron or are they waiting in a brush? And as soon as Michigan State guesses wrong, Ohio State gets all the advantages they need to win. Hook's gonna miss. More poke though, and this Thresh is losing health. Once again into the Baron pit. That pink ward, I don't know if it's deep enough to spot the green, and looks like it is, so at least they can get the vision control. But the Spartans aggroing Baron, so it fights Ohio State off. Actually still aggroed.
Yeah.
Give it some time.
It's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. Waiting, making sure. Oh, nope, it's still aggro.
They're just going to go for it.
But, I mean, they have Kindred. Kindred does this incredibly quickly. Has Runance, Phantom Dancer, and Devourer. So Vanilla Salt and Indian Mama, they're going to need vision here. 6,000, half HP.
Yeah, Baron's going to live for long enough. They knock back the Alistair. Here comes the hard engage. Rune 1 in the front line. They've got to focus him down with the Mage. They do plenty of damage. Dynasty lives, but here comes the Vel'Koz punishment, and it's a lot. Indian Mama chased down by Nexevis. He's going to be another easy kill on the backside of this one. 2 so far picked up for nothing. Raipu also brought down the exhaust on Door, pushing him away. A 2-for-0. Now the re-engage on towards Baron. The 5v3. Ohio State go back in. This time around, they're missing some ultimates, so maybe the re-engage will work, but no. Michigan State unwilling to fight for it. They will give away the objective, and look at this massive gold lead, almost 14,000.
And Ohio State University poised to take this Game 4 and make it the 3-1 for the Big Ten Network Invitational League of Legends. They have 13,000 gold lead here, and this play is just icing on the cake for them. Dodges, only hits Bacon Seeker. You know Indian Mama wanted to get Nexus out of that fight. Lantern comes down, and Dynasty can't really click it. Eventually gets to it, but he ends up dying because Peridot just has the right positioning here. Peridot and Strategical are huge threats, but you don't get any time to hit those threats from Michigan State University's side. They have to deal with this Trundle that's slowing, chasing people down, has the Iceborne Gauntlet, and also the Alistar that is zoning and pushing people away. Reaching the Vel'Koz and the Sivir is almost impossible right now.
There's not a lot you can do with a gold lead this big, and the comp's gonna work as well. Hook's gonna land now. Will they find the re-engage? He gets a little bit of damage done. Poppy dives in, but guess what? Peridot is still alive and looking for somebody to kill, and that's gonna be Vanilla Salt. Tristan is gone, and so is everybody else in the team. Dor and Indy Mama both drop as well. There's only 2 left alive, and that is not enough to stop a reared up and ready to go Baron buff Ohio State team.
And they have double super minions on the top side. Baron buff gonna buff it up here. Ohio State University, they're gonna take down Michigan State.
And that's going to be the winners of the Big Ten Network Invitational in League of Legends. Ohio State gets revenge. And they have taken down the Nexus. 3-1 is the series. Congratulations are deserved for the Buckeyes.
Winning those first two games, making sure that they were able to deal with the cheese, to keep their heads on straight. They lost Game 3, and it looked like it could have been all turned around on them because they didn't have a lead that was completely manufactured by themselves.
Yeah.
Game 1 was the throw from Michigan State.
Unfortunately,
Game 2 was the cheese. This game, they were able to control it. The Vel'Koz coming up huge, and Peridot, despite being the newest member to the team, seemed to be calm, cool, and collected the entire time.
He got better throughout the series. Right. Game 1, I think he made some absolute misplays, just misjudging the strength of his opponents, not respecting them enough. Game 2, fewer mistakes. Game 3 and 4, he was a huge threat in his own right. Game 3, he got first blood, he dominated his lane. Even though his team lost, he looked great individually. Game 4, actually just crushing the whole time. His Vel'Koz was obscenely good, definitely one of the factors for this team to win. And hey, if your ramp-up time is 4 games, that's not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all, but we're going to hear from some of those winners on stage with Dom for the Big Ten Network Invitational.
Thank you so much, guys. I am joined on stage by Nexus. Congratulations, man. Taking the win once again over Michigan State.
Yeah, thanks. It was fun.
Yeah, this time it was 3-1. Last time you guys were 3-0, so it was a little bit more touch and go. And, you know, the guys were just talking about Peridot in the mid lane. It really seemed like in the beginning of the series he had some difficulty, you know, communicating, getting a little bit caught out of position, but the further and further it went on, he really seemed to come to life.
Yeah, I would agree. And Nivea's probably not his best champion. He's really good on Vel'Koz and Karma, and it really showed, in my opinion.
Yeah, he definitely ended up playing up really well. You did a fantastic job yourself on the Poppy, the Kindred, and the Nidalee, really sort of the lifeblood for your team. What's it like bringing these guys to victory?
It's really fun. I like controlling the whole map and like deciding who's going to win the game overall.
Okay. Another thing that I'm really excited about was the fact that this series really was kind of touch and go. You know, Michigan State in game number 1, they looked so strong. You can say that they were strong. You can say that you guys were making a couple of mistakes. What was it?
Yeah, we made some mistakes, but Michigan doesn't really know how to close out games, so it ended all well.
Okay. I think we're going to go ahead and toss it over to the analysts, and we're going to break that game down. Nexus, congratulations on the win one more time. Now you guys 7-1 or 6-1 against Michigan State in League of Legends, so you guys hold the rivalry this time around.
Yeah, maybe we'll win more later.
Yeah, we'll certainly see. Well, once again, congratulations, gentlemen. Thank you so much. We're going to toss it to the analysts to break that down.
Thank you very much, Dom. Maybe we'll win more later. I like that. We've done enough winning for now. We'll win more later. But the Ohio State University Buckeyes coming up with the victory on that one in our showdown here. It was a 3-1, and Dom hit it. The last time that these two teams met, it was a 3-0. So that does show some improvement out of MSU coming into this matchup, and I think a lot of what you can point to in that team, that organization, is the fact that they were willing to come out and try new strategies. Granted, Game 2 was not their victory, but the fact that they came out, they had multiple strategies prepared, they were willing to switch things up, they didn't stay stoically and headstrong in their one strategy throughout the series, was the reason why MSU was able to at least take a game off them this time around.
Yeah, it's always like a little scary to put yourself out there and try like this crazy strategy because like if it fails, you kind of get torn apart. So props to them for on a pretty big stage being like, yeah, let's go for it, let's have some fun.
Yeah, and I definitely think the series could have been a 3-2 easily. Like the first game, they're up so much.
Oh yeah.
And maybe I agree with OSU in that MSU can't really close that well, but it doesn't mean that it couldn't have been a possible 3-2.
Right. At the end of the day, that's the learning point here. When we take into consideration these are college players, they're college students, they're amateur players, right? They don't have the benefit of 12-hour practice days like some of the pros. These are learning points for them. They can come away from this tournament and pinpoint a lot of things in these replays they're going to take a look at and say, hey, here's where we could have made changes with our 7K gold lead and a Baron, where we could have closed out game 1. We could have taken a commanding start to this game. In similar situation, game 2, with that strategy, hey, this strategy actually wasn't awful, right? There were points in which it could have succeeded, but how can we change it? Get the Elise level 3. Let's maybe, as you mentioned, Skara, start in standard lanes and then rotate. As we see Ohio State up on their on the stage celebrating their victory. But these are learning points for MSU. Let's talk about our victors though here for a moment. Nexavis having his best game there in game 4 to close it out. Junglers were the people we were looking at to start this whole series.
Yeah, I'd say Indian Mama got the better of him for most of the series, but this game he was really on top of the red timings. He showed up at Indian Mama's red buff twice. Didn't quite play it perfectly the first time, but the second time he was able to bully them off, get the kill. Pairing it up with the Trundle. And so you could see there was good synergy. It was well timed. It was very well played from him. And like he said, he wants to control the game. And that game he definitely did.
Yeah, I thought he controlled the full pace of the game. Like just being able to time red and be able to contest it made him win top lane as well as pressure mid lane a lot. I thought that he gave a lot of tools to both his soul lanes to win. I thought there was a little bit of a time there in the middle of the game where OSU could have lost because their mid lane pick, Vel'Koz, is
they slowed down.
Yeah, they slowed down a lot. Their mid lane pick is really spikes around 2 or 3 items, and if you're not able to end the game on 2 or 3 items, it's really easy to get outscaled as Vel'Koz. And I thought that the Vel'Koz wasn't willing to ult really quickly to get a lot of damage out and just poke people out, and maybe had some positioning errors into the mid game.
Yeah, there's some times too where he wasn't even with his team. There's like a fight top lane, and Vel'Koz is just busy doing geometry in the bot lane, not like doing
math class.
He's got his calculator.
He's a student.
Out.
He's a student. He's getting his work. He's showing his work.
If a Vel'Koz shoots a Q at an angle 60 degrees,
right? Yeah, exactly. He'll come back. He'll have something to tell his math teacher when he gets back to school. Others stand. But let's talk about him in the mid lane though, because Freak also mentioned that he seemed to warm up right throughout the series. Remember, this was the sub. This was the guy who didn't have a ton of experience with the team coming in, and he does fill in that role rather well. The Karma game in particular had a lot of control over that lane.
I did think that maybe Anivia isn't one of his best champions, and he did the Karma game. He played super well in the lane. Unfortunately, Poppy getting control of the jungle was just unfortunate because Karma had like an enormous lead. And then in the last game, like even though he was slow to ult sometimes and didn't really catch people with poke as fast as I'd like him to, he was able to pull off a lot of damage in like the last 2 team fights. I thought he played really well.
Yeah, and then of course Bacon Seeker, your favorite there in the bot lane. How did you feel about him closing out the series?
I like this play a lot. There were times in the actual laning phase where it wasn't 100% optimal, but once he got into team situations, he coordinated ganks really well. He set those up. He played team fights really well, and he was really he did exactly what his team wanted him to do. Play something beefy, be in the front line, protect your carries, get set up, and you saw that very rarely was there pressure on Peridot to have to play safe because he was doing so well frontlining.
Yep, well, there you have it. OSU coming up big, taking the series here. That's going to do it for us here at the Big Ten Network Invitational. Be sure to join us back here tomorrow for the start of the ULUL Championships, where Georgia Tech will be taking on our defending champions from last year, UBC. That starts at 10 a.m. Eastern time, so we'll see you back here. Now, on behalf of myself and the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
Who wants to fight? Pop steals the image. The Poppy as well. Multiple knock into a multiple man stun. And this could be a game-winning team fight right now.
And it's a level 1.
Bacon Seeker. They hook in. Right away. A 32-minute victory. Well played to the Buckeyes yet again. Sign can do about this engage. Either a tackle into the front door, gonna get hit quite hard. Charm comes through and it still means a kill on Alistair. Or Rocket Oh! Yeah, headbutt on the right, who on the wrong side of this fight plays back to the flash away, trying to... Comes in! Paradox gets caught out, dangerously low, turret shot hits, but he gets out and gets part of the ult again, Indian Mom. And they have taken down the Nexus. 3-1 is...